Hey everybody, this is Jack.
Hi everybody, I'm Maddie, and you're listening to the No Nerds We're Hard podcast. It's a podcast about movies, shows, comic books, and all things nerdy.
Episode number 3, here we go.
This is episode number 3. I'm excited about this episode.
I'm actually shocked that we made it this far, and probably going to be the last episode, so.
No fucking way. This is the most exciting episode because we're talking about one of our favorite things.
The Batman.
The Batman. Not the Batman, but like Batman.
Batman.
We are talking about the Batman, but Batman in general.
Batman.
And this is exciting. To start us off, we have two big announcements. The first announcement. You don't want me to say this name, but I'm gonna say it.
Oh my god.
You had.
I'm just gonna steal. I'm just gonna steal it and just say I had my second child. So.
Yeah, and his name is Jack.
Jack. Just Jack.
They call him Jack.
Nobody calls him that.
It's cute. Allison calls him Jack in text messages all the time.
Okay.
But yes, so you had your.
That's why she lives outside.
And this is why this episode was pushed back a week because the baby came that week and it's hectic.
Yeah.
It's crazy having a baby. So
it is hectic. You do understand that it is hectic to have a second child, right? You have 2 kids.
I do have 2 kids.
So when you were hounding me about doing the podcast...
I wasn't hounding you about doing the podcast. I wanted to know a date. We have a guest here. I wanted to be able to tell him a certain date of, hey, this is when we're going to do it.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest before I come over this table and we start fighting each other? I'm going to choke you out with your own microphone, Corey.
Well, that's fine. Just do it after. So our second announcement is that we have our first guest today. And our first guest is a buddy of mine. I've been blessed to know him since 2010. 2010, Tyler.
Is that
Jesus.
When we first met, we were filming a movie with our friends. His wife is one of those friends that we were filming the movie with. And I've gotten to work on a handful of projects with you, and I would love to work with you again in the future. He's an actor, a writer, co-producer, fellow Batman fanatic, Tyler Burke.
Hello.
It's fucking great to have you here, Tyler.
Thank you for having me on. I love Batman. I love talking Batman. I'm ready to do this.
This episode in particular was pretty hard because I know we all saw the movie, and immediately I wanted to text both of you everything that I felt about this movie. I'm like, no, save it for the podcast.
And I'm really glad you did because I didn't see it until like Wednesday. I saw it Wednesday, and I was like, oh man, everybody was seeing it. Everybody was texting me like, do you see the new Batman? I'm like, if you guys fucking ruin one thing for this movie, I will find you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
And it's funny because as big of a Batman, because this movie has gone through a lot from starting, and I was excited. I was very excited to see it, but like it's been such a long time since I wanted to go to the movies and see this, and then I had the kid, and I was like, shit.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. I mean,
you can't take that back.
No, but I was able to make it, so good thing.
Absolutely. Tyler, I have some questions for you, man. I want to introduce you to the fandom of 25 people that listen to us.
Yep, absolutely.
So, like I said before, Tyler, you're an actor, you're a co-producer, you're a writer. Do you remember what your first role was? What was the first role that you took? What was it?
Well, for film?
Either one. It's the first acting gig you ever had.
I got into theater. It was Hearts and Tarts. It was a Valentine's play. They put me in it because I was a hyperactive kid in class, and I was
high school.
Trouble. No, I was in like 2nd grade.
Oh, okay.
Wow. I was getting in trouble a lot for like just like talking and stuff, and they like moved me next to the teacher, and then I talked to the teacher because I always like hanging out with adults and stuff like that. So I was just like, and all my teachers had issues with me until like 2nd grade. My like 2nd grade teacher, Miss Murphy, was like, "Hey, why don't you throw him in the stage and see what happens?" And like something in my brain figured out like, oh, if I can just do whatever up here and people will clap, and if I behave in class, I won't get yelled at. Like, I'm good.
Okay.
And that's how I got into acting, and then I went from there. My first film gig was called Legit. It's like a B-rate gangster movie shot in Chicago from these dudes that used to put on like dinner and show type performances.
Like a live performance?
Yeah,
like a live performance?
Tommy Guns downtown.
Like a live performance?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they made a movie. They wanted to make a gangster movie.
Okay.
And I was in as like an extra young boy who like stole an apple with the 2 other main characters. Like in a flashback, it was us 3, and that was like my first introduction to like film.
So they made you a criminal.
Yeah, that's my entire. Look at my IMDb.
I was gonna say
Drug addicts and criminals, dude.
Drug addicts and criminals.
Yep. And
That is
a couple murderers.
That's something I'm gonna have later on for a question.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So that was my first role. It's called Legit. I don't even know if I got paid for it. I have no idea. I do remember I got to miss school for the day. That was cool. Going to the premiere was really cool. And then they had like a big after party, and my mom wouldn't let us go because I was like, shit. I was in like 6th grade. So
Okay.
I was like, no, we're going home after the premiere. And I thought
okay.
she ruined my career because she wouldn't let me go like out to a bar at 2 a.m. when I was, you know what I mean? Like,
Now no one's gonna hire me again.
yep, exactly.
Never work in this town ever again.
So would you say Legit is the first?
That's my first film. That
Was
I ever
Legit
did.
your stepping point for yourself then, for saying
That's-
this is where I want to act now. This is what I want to pursue.
I knew I wanted to act from the time I was doing like stage stuff when I was young. Like it was right, like probably, yeah, it was like right away. It was kind of weird. It's one of those things I've always known what I wanted to do once I stepped on the stage. I knew I wanted to be an actor.
That's pretty cool.
It is, but it's also like it sucks because now like some people are like, when most people get in the acting game, they get in the acting game at like 20, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I've been in it since I've been 5. So like, you get what I mean? So like, typically you don't get your break until your 30s, your mid 30s.
It kind of hits. It kind of hits your pride a tiny bit.
It hits your pride, and you see other people who have just gotten into it and only doing it a couple of years, and you're like, man, I've been doing this my whole life. Like maybe I suck, maybe you know. But it's you start to learn just the business and how it goes, and there's so much luck and timing involved. But that's kind of the thing is I feel like I've been in it a long time.
Yeah.
But Legit is where I realized like, oh, I don't have to be on stage. I can do this film thing. And I just prefer film acting so much more.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually going to be a
So
question of
much
mine.
more.
If you prefer film acting or stage acting, but you just answered it.
Totally different beasts, and both have pluses and negatives. And some things you cannot get from film, and some things you cannot get from theater.
Okay.
But I prefer film acting, although I do, and this is a hot take, but like theater actors those are the heavy hitters. Those guys, it's way harder to do.
They both have their pros and cons.
Correct.
Of like, you could do this shit and I can't do that, but opposite as well.
Yeah, it's a whole different beast of internalizing and being subtle versus knowing when to be big and how to be loud without being yelling and that kind of stuff. It's a lot of different things.
I actually got to see you in one theater, and that was in high school, and it's probably one of my favorite performances that you've ever done. I went with some of our friends, and we saw you perform with it was the Anne Frank and Me. Dude, I fucking love that. I saw it twice. I went and saw your play twice, and I fucking loved it.
That was an actual pretty cool play.
The production of it all,
Yeah.
I was thinking, because I think at that point we had made 1 or 2 films together.
Yeah.
So seeing the production that went into it, and then seeing you on a stage doing this shit live, I was like, look at that motherfucker
that
up
was
there.
my junior or senior year because I started making a movie with Kevin after freshman year of high school because I met him in drama club.
Okay.
That's how I met Kevin, and then he just was like, "Yo, you want to make some movies?" You know, like and
Yeah.
that's how that went. Because he was a senior or whatever. He's like 3 or 4 years older than me.
So did he meet you through? He met you through
So-
that, but it was Robert Alanese is something that he may have.
Oh, maybe that too, because that's how I met I knew Britt from drama club because she went to Kevin went to my high school, but Britt I grew up with went to all my middle schools together and all that. She
Okay.
was just a year older, so she was always in drama club with us, and I think she did a lot of Robert Alanese stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then I auditioned in high school and got in with him, and he was the second movie I did.
Okay.
The Robert movie.
Gotcha.
Called The Vision. And that was my first role where I actually auditioned for and had lines and shot multiple days.
Okay.
That was my first real taste of.
You got to see a little bit
work.
more of
Correct.
the process of it all.
Correct.
Okay. Something that's my wife actually, Sam. I think you met her once or twice. I think you met her at the Blink concert. And then at mock premiere.
Yeah.
So
We met at Mott. I know you at
Oh,
Mott.
that's true.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So we had, or I was telling her that we were interviewing you and having you on the show, and something that she really likes and about you is that most times you hear actors who want to get into the business, they fucking pack up everything and they're going to a coast. And you've had some things, you've worked on the coasts.
Oh yeah. Most of my work I've either done like on the East Coast or on the West Coast.
But you're staying in Chicago. Is that something that you just like you're drawn here, you want to stay here?
This is something you wrestle with, I think, every day. And I think any actor, no matter where you're at, you have this idea. Because the idea is, you know, it used to be go to Hollywood. That's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
I went to school on the West Coast. I went to school at Arizona State.
Yes.
So a lot of my buddies stayed on the West Coast or went to California. After college, I spent all my money in college surviving out there. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So I knew if I went to the West Coast right then, like, if I didn't hit something with the first couple months, I was going to be in a bad spot. Because that's the thing, too, is, like, I like to consider myself as someone who does think rationally and kind of, you know, makes educated choices on things. Not to say, like, don't take risks. Like, I went to ASU, didn't know anybody. Like, I was gone. But I think I came back home to kind of build up the funds and just kind of reset a little bit. And also, I really wanted to get in the film market here because I knew that at the time, all the Chicago shows were just starting up. Mm-hmm. And so I knew that it was going to be a lot of work here.
I mean, it seems like an untapped market. If everyone's thinking, oh, I'm going to go to a fucking coast, it's like, okay, well, this is an area that
sounds silly, but it's one of those things where, like, I've always been like, I take a lot of pride in Chicago. I love the city. I love Midwestern. I love the vibes. When I went out to Arizona, everyone made fun of, like, my accent was like, oh, you're from Chicago. People were calling me Chicago. It was like, it just kind of stuck. So I love this city. I love the Midwest. And I want to be part of, like, when the Midwest and Chicago pops off, I want to be part of that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be here for that.
It comes and goes in phases, I think, for the Chicago, at least. I mean, you got fucking John Hughes and, people like that.
And that's the thing is, and I do think strategy-wise, it's a lot easier to stand out in this market than out in L.A. And I had a casting director, John Jackson, who he casted, like, The Descendants. He works with Alexander Payne.
Oh, I just watched that movie for the first time a month ago.
He's from Ohio. Fantastic. He's from Iowa. He's, like, this normal dude from Iowa. He's, like, this older guy, and he went to ASU. And when we shot this movie at ASU Car Dogs, they brought in casting directors and basically used students as, like, free workers as credit to, like, learn how a film set works, and they filmed the movie.
Okay.
So, whatever. But I met him and was talking with him a lot about it. And he kind of told me, like, you know, every asshole can go to Hollywood kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Hollywood to him is somewhere you should go when there's a limo there to pick you up.
Okay.
And he told me that when I was, 22 or whatever, but it kind of stuck with me of him being like, there's no rush, like, to get there because you can burn out and die quick. But you can kind of go home, work on your craft, build it up. And then, we'll come calling, because that's what he was kind of thing is everyone, to him and how he explained it is, once you're in LA for a certain amount of time, a lot of people have that same style, that vibe, that whole California thing starts to change you.
Yeah.
They're not casting for that a lot of times.
Okay.
Once you're a big star, it doesn't matter. But when you're a low trying to break in the market, he's like, we look for people who look Midwestern. We look for people who look this or that.
Okay.
And he said, he's always said, you have such a Midwest vibe, don't fight that, because it'll help you.
Nice.
So, maybe that's why I get a bunch of criminal roles and stuff. I don't know.
Like, we have tons of fucking crime.
Yeah,
I mean...
But that's the thing, I mean, it comes down to money, and having family and friends and girlfriend here.
Yeah.
And just deciding, it's a big move. And, when I was 21... I was ready to pack up my car and just go and try it, but now I see the reality of it, and I realize, like, it's not a joke how expensive it is out there. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If you don't manage your money or get something right away, like, you're in trouble. You're in a bad spot, and then, what do you do kind of thing. So it's a lot of balancing, and lucky I have representation that submits me around the nation, so I don't have to really feel like, oh, damn, I'm not getting any looks out there, because I know I still am. I take the hit because I say I can work locally a lot. So if I book a gig that's not local, most of the time it's on me to get there.
Yes.
You know, so I'll either drive or have to fly myself. They're not every production is putting me up in hotels and paying for travel. I'm not on that level yet. I've had some that do that, which is awesome, but realistically, I'm like, yeah, I'll get there. Don't worry about it. And then I eat the bullet, you know, for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's on me because I'm choosing to live here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
Right, yeah.
I mean, we don't, in our line of work, we don't, it's hard to compare our lines of work to you, but there's been times that they say, oh, you know, work is kind of slow right now, but you're going to work in an area that's a 3-hour drive. And it's like, fuck. I mean, it's not comparable to going to California for work, but if I got to work somewhere that's a 3-hour drive, that's what I got to do in order to get a paycheck in that week. So, so you're going to choose what you got to do.
You do what you got to do.
But I want to stay home, you know, maybe build up that thing. When you are home and you're not working, but you're technically always working, do you give yourself homework? Because I was just wondering, I'm like, I wonder if Tyler finds a movie that he really likes and then he'll try to recreate a scene and film himself and then give himself critiques or notes about that shit.
See, I know a lot of people do that, and I've thought of actually doing this more because maybe like it could make me better at what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I find when I watch myself is when it's really bad for me personally.
Ooh, okay.
I don't like watching movies I'm in. I don't like if I didn't have to go to premieres, I would not go to premieres.
Okay.
I think it's from growing up and learning in the theater because you didn't ever get it taped back then. Maybe one mom, you know, snuck in a camera or something. You know what I mean? But they weren't really taping these things. Even the official productions weren't really taped. So you did your thing. Either people liked it or they didn't like it.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that's what I enjoyed about it. So when I have to rewatch it, I will pick up every little thing I do. I don't like how the lines are being said because they just sound so rehearsed to me because I did rehearse them.
Yeah.
And it just kind of I'm like, I should not be acting. Like,
okay.
It just destroys me. So
You're your worst critic.
Correct. Now, I take direction very well, though. So if someone watches it and then, you know, and I kind of respect them and their notes, I don't mind someone saying, hey, this is good or bad, but, like, you can't be just anybody trying to give me like acting.
We've talked about that, yeah. Like
I mean?
it's you like, can't just come in and just say that shit. Like you don't have not a background, but you don't have
and you certainly can say whatever you want, but I'm not going to take any credit really in what you're telling me because there is so much bullshit in this business that you have to learn really quickly. Of like, oh, okay, that's cool, man, and be like, that guy's what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Like I've helped. I helped Simic when he was directing you for Mock, and I'm like, I know that you do take direction. You know.
Yeah.
If I had a suggestion of like, hey man, try it this way, it's a little bit more like this line, hit this line of fucking different. You're right there for it. Yeah. Do you think that in your career, or not your career, but I guess, but is there through your career in the future, do you think that there's a character, like a genre, or even a role that going forward? If you didn't hit this certain role, you would find your career unfulfilled. For instance, me, if I never make a time travel movie in my life, I will be unfulfilled. I will die an unhappy man. Do you have anything like that? Like, do you want to play a certain role?
Specifically, it's hard. I mean, it's so cliche, especially because it's like the Batman episode.
Oh, fuck, go for it, man.
But it's like, I want to be in a superhero movie really bad. And I specifically want to play like a villain or a hero. And I know every single actor right now, but you guys got to understand, like, I was a nerd way before it was cool to be a nerd.
Fuck, you know we're hitting so many levels of questions that I can't wait to. I have some of these answers right there.
I'm just saying, questions. Like, you know, before any of this shit was cool, I was a Joker guy before anyone was fucking with the Joker.
Yes, you were.
Like, you know, so
I remember.
Like, I've always wanted to be in these worlds, and now it's a blessing and a curse that like they're so popular, but now everyone wants to get in on them because they're big money and all that.
It just makes you so much more educated when you have to have these talks with people. Like, I was talking to somebody and they said, "Oh, you know, does that Joker gonna be is this gonna be Joaquin Phoenix, right?" And I'm like, no, it's not. What the fuck? It's its own thing, and it's hard.
You when you have to explain the timelines and like, hey, this is because especially Batman now, you know, you gotta have Matt Reeves Batman, but also everything that from the Snyder stuff. Like, you know,
Yeah.
they're still going to have stuff that's on that line, and you got to say, hey, this is a whole different thing, and oh no, this isn't, you know, Christian Bale's Batman. This is, you know, this is completely different.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, obviously with DC, you have like Earth 1, Earth 2. You know, we got Michael Keaton returning as Batman. Like I said, that's all off the, you know, Zack Snyder line, let's call it. But you know, you have to explain, like, this is a whole different story.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how can they do that? Well, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
It's not real. Batman's not a real character, but like they can do whatever they want. And, you know, people don't get it. And it's like, well, Batman fans love this because this is all part of the story that they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
So
You hit something where you were talking about, you know, every actor wants to do this. They want to be the lead, or they want to be a villain or a hero. My question is that a lot of actors, they have those goals. They have not saying it's unrealistic, but they have a big goal for themselves. You told us one of these big goals. What is a small goal? What is your small goal? Like, do you have, you know, there's people that I want to work with this director. I want to win an Oscar. What's a small goal that you have for yourself?
And that's what I mean. Like, that's like your typical answer of like, what's the big role? Like, I'd love a big lead role. And I'll say it on the record right now. Like, I would kill Gambit.
He's getting a new comic next month or April. April, I think.
I want that on the record. Like, I get Channing Tatum and all this shit, but like, he's getting old. Like, let's pass that by. Like, you give me a Gambit and Rogue movie, like not even like a X-Men thing, but like a love story type, like criminal type movie.
that would be awesome.
I'll go move to the bayou tomorrow, dude.
Oh, fuck.
Dude, like,
I'll start eating beignets.
I swear to God, dude. I swear to God, like
That would be.
I'm Gambit for everyone. Gambit has been like I've been Joker and Gambit.
He's your Marvel guy.
He's
your Marvel guy.
Correct.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't love Gambit? I mean,
I don't know enough about him. That's why when his comic comes out, I think next month he's going to be starting a new line.
His
I can't wait
individual
for
runs
it.
are usually pretty good too.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty good, like character arcs and stuff.
Good.
have you ever watched X-Men, the animated series? I know you're not a big animated guy.
Vaguely. I vaguely remember. I was more Batman animated
Yeah,
series.
it was big in the 90s, and I believe it's either coming back or is back, because Disney now obviously.
Yeah, those
owns
episodes
X-Men.
are on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Right, so check it out. Awesome. They had a big toy line. I actually got a couple in the closet. I'll show you after the podcast, but awesome. Gambit was one of my favorite characters, and honestly, that's how I was introduced to X-Men, was through the X-Men animated series.
Okay.
And it's, I know you're not big in anime, like I said, but it's awesome.
The OG. If you like the animated Batman like type cartoon, like animated series,
I watched it. I just didn't. I wasn't religious with it.
X-Men's good as well too. But
Saturday morning cartoons.
we keep getting sidetracked though. But
that's what this is. That's what this is all about.
And that's
Hey,
awesome.
we're just having fun and having a conversation.
I'm
That's
cool
all.
with
That's
that.
all I really care
Small
about.
goals wise, I really want to get on one of the Chicago shows.
Okay.
Just because I think that's one of those things that, like, to me, that's not a big deal because I don't really watch the Chicago shows.
Okay.
But everybody I know and all my family does. And, like, so I think to them it would be cooler than for me.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things I would like, because, like, even though it's stupid and I think I've already done things that are quote unquote bigger in my head or my mind than the Chicago shows. But, like, you know, they're an amazing opportunity. It's Chicago.
Yeah.
It's local. And I, like, you know, that's one, like, I know my grandma would be like,
It'd be an easy.
oh, my God, I saw you.
Be an easy commute.
Like,
Easy
I
commute.
actually worked on a Chicago show.
and that's what I'm saying, yeah.
True story.
But the thing with the Chicago shows is the universes are all connected, right?
Yes.
So if you land a role on, like, PD, you can't then work on Fire.
Right, okay.
Because it's the same universe. So if you get cast as a small role, you have to wait like 100 days or whatever until you can like re-audition because they have to cycle you out so people forget
gotcha.
what you look
Okay.
like.
Okay.
Or you have to land a character big enough where
That's gonna
now you're
cross
coming
over.
back
Crossing
or
over,
crossing
yeah.
over. Or
Gotcha.
whatever. So that's I always look at it that way. I haven't landed a Chicago show role yet, but I'm holding out for a bigger role.
Okay.
Because once you get one,
Yeah.
you're kind of done for this year, so to say.
Right, okay.
Because they can't
reuse
and
it,
that's
yeah.
a lot of the work in Chicago is those 4 shows or those 3 shows, whatever they have.
So I worked at an asphalt plant, and they did a crossover episode between Fire and PD.
Yep.
and I was the like they had to have an operator there.
Yeah.
A movie set's a huge union thing, and so I was there, and it was very cool. That's the only movie experience I've ever had. But I was like, this is pretty fucking cool.
No,
Jack's that overly excited person in a machine. Just fucking.
No, I wasn't even doing that. But the best thing about a movie set, and again, I'm not an actor. I have no acting experience, but it was the coolest thing. I thought they shut down like 2 blocks towards our plant because they were doing scenes through the neighborhood and everything. Was the catering? They had like, I'm not kidding you. They had like a 2-block radius just for catering.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is awesome. Like, they're like, yeah, whatever you want. Pulled pork, ribs, eat it all. And it's like, I was out there just stuffing my face. They kept on calling me on the walkie-talkie, and I was like, not even listening to them.
I couldn't hear him over me chewing food.
I was like, yeah, I'm not paying attention.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
One of your later roles that you have right now is something that pertains to what we're talking about. You're Jason Todd.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
We wore it today.
Fuck yeah.
The old Red Hood.
So, Jason Todd, and I just learned this. So, Jason Todd, where's it at?
He's the second Robin.
He's the second Robin, but he's a character that readers hated.
Yes.
I had no idea,
know about
and that
this.
he
That's
was
why.
he was
That's why he was
voted
killed.
he was voted off to be
why
killed
they
in
blew
Death
him
in the
up.
Family. I had fucking no idea. I just thought that was something that
But
was.
did they hate him because he replaced Dick Grayson and Dick Grayson was so popular, or was it
No,
just...
it was a mix of that, and they like felt he was too like moody. Like,
Yeah.
because like back then it was still old, and they just didn't like his like piss poor attitude. Whereas today, like angsty emo kids like us, we're like, oh, we fucking love Jason, wants to beat the fuck out of everybody,
Yes.
hates
Right.
the world. Back then, they were like, this guy's fucking not Robin. He's not G. Willikers Robin. Like,
What do you mean he's not listening to everything Batman says?
exactly.
He's not obeying Batman?
Exactly.
Fuck this guy.
So they were mad about it, and they put a poll up in the back of a comic issue of what will happen to Robin next. Call and vote. So back then, you had to like cut out and submit or vote. You had to do whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm pretty sure it was pretty decisive too. Of like, kill this guy, and they blew his ass up.
Which is crazy because when he comes back, people fucking love him.
Well, that's the thing. I
Love him.
can't remember who, and I should know this. This is so Jordan's gonna be so pissed at me, but I can't remember who was the writer who decided like we're sitting on gold here
To bring him
and
back.
If you let me bring him back, I can bring him back as a villain, and like people will love it. And sure as shit, it's one of the most famous storylines in the Bat canon, arguably.
Yeah, and then the vision that Jordan has for you, and then you have as well that are bringing to this character, is just amazing. So how do you represent of this character? What do you think of his essence or that you bring to this character that you're like, I need to get this right, but I need to put the spin on it? How do you go about playing Jason Todd?
I can tell you a little what me and Jordan decided too, because Batman is exactly, the Nightmare series, which is what we're kind of talking about.
Yeah.
Nightmare, which is our YouTube kind of series, is, we make choices based on things we want and we want to do, and also things that we think is either comic accurate or like that the fans would enjoy because they haven't seen yet. Like that's why we did Blue Batman. Like Jordan loves Blue Batman. My Batman would be black every day if they could. But we knew we haven't seen a Blue Batman. Like fans would kind of like maybe to see
absolutely.
that. And now Blue Batman's kind of been our thing where like people are like, oh, you guys do the Blue Batman.
Okay.
Which is kind of cool. So it's like it's one of those things where not all these choices are necessarily because we think it's the right choice of what we want, but it's the idea of making the right choices that respect the character, but also like fan service and like that nerds will enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Red Hood, the idea behind Red Hood was we always kind of took an idea of like if you kind of mixed like the Terminator's idea of like when the Terminator walks into the room and just knows like I can take everyone in here if I needed to. So it's just if I'm going to.
Yeah.
And then you mix the Terminator with like the Punisher's attitude of like I hate criminals. And then you throw in that classic like Red Hood is still arguably, like a 20-something-year-old cocky
young man.
And you throw all that together where you get this body of this very kind of not stiff, but someone who's just going to kind of fuck you up if it comes down to it, with the quips of, because that's the thing too, is I read a lot of Red Hood comics, a lot of, Red Hood and the Outlaws, things like that. Watched, Under the Red Hood, because there is a lot of content, but there's not compared to a lot of
there's Jason Todd. I feel like
and so
right now Jason
getting
Todd
dialogue and figuring out his dialogue was a little tough because there's not so much. But the video games, the Injustice video games were huge for that, and like the Arkham games and things like that.
Yeah.
You realize that he is kind of a smartass. Like, he does say a lot of quips that are kind of annoying, but he does it on purpose. He's trying to get a rise out of people. It's so casual where he's trying to kind of piss you off to get you even more mad, because at your best, you can't even touch him when he's not even kind of trying.
Okay.
And the idea of, and then obviously he can run into the buzzsaw of a big villain and it's a different story and a different fight. But when you're in a bar of goons, you got no shot. It's like Batman, and now what? He has fun doing this, where Batman doesn't have fun doing this. Like, this is Batman's job. Red Hood loves what he does.
I like that.
That was long, but
fuck no.
so
That's good. Man.
I feel like Red Hood or Jason Todd in general is just getting his.
He's got a vendetta.
He's coming out right now with at least the writers and all the comic books. He's pretty heavy in a lot of the comic books right now.
I think he'll be on screen very soon.
I agree with you. I definitely think, like, obviously just Batman in general, they have so many characters that they can give TV shows to. But Jason Todd alone, you could just start his own TV series, and I like you said, I don't think it's far off.
The thing too is
he'll be on HBO Max, and you'll have a Red Hood series or something like that along those lines.
And like the thing is too is like once you realize the story of Red Hood and I think Jason is one of the biggest elements that shapes things like Batman and what Batman in long term becomes or choices he makes. A lot of it boils down to Red Hood and Under the Red Hood.
Inspired by Jason. Like,
Correct.
I need to start doing this because Jason fucked that up,
Correct.
whether it's good or bad.
Exactly. You're learning, like, I put too much trust, or I did this and that, and, like, learning consequences to, like, a very, very true nature and a hard lesson. Like, Jason brings a lot of that to Batman. And
so you'd say Jason is your favorite Robin for sure, then?
See, and that's tough. I'm not a big Robin guy.
Okay.
When we wanted to do Nightmare, I just wanted to do Red Hood.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jordan Foss is the director, writer, producer, my roommate in college, best friend. So he's a huge Robin guy. Like, he loves Robin.
Do you know who his favorite Robin is?
I believe it's Dick Grayson.
Okay,
And,
wow. Okay.
He even loves, like, shorts, like Boy Robin.
Okay.
He loves, and that was his whole thing. He was like, okay, I'll let you do Red Hood.
You were like, I'm not wearing fucking shorts.
Exactly. He's like, I'll let you do Red Hood, but I need Jason first. I want to show you in Robin, which is why Nightmare Part 1, it's just Robin.
Yeah.
And he basically, I said that I was like, okay, but you're not putting me in fucking. I'm not wearing those like boy.
The Burt Young shorts.
This is also like we weren't 16 at the time. Like we had graduated college. Like I was playing younger. I was like, dude, I'm not. This is like. No, this isn't.
Yeah.
What kind of movie are we making?
Yeah. And so that was like we ended up designing a costume that we were okay with. The second one, Killing Joke, I actually really liked the Robin costume that we got.
It was dope as fuck. Yeah.
I like that, and we even converted a lot of that to the Red Hood costume.
Nice.
So if you like really nerd into it, you can see like Robin took his old gear and turned it into Red Hood type.
That's cool.
Exactly.
Jack, who's your favorite Robin? Do you have a favorite Robin?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Robin, like the whole arc of the Robin character, starting with Dick Grayson. I really like Jason Todd. Jason Todd's cool. I love his arc. But I would have to say I really like how Damian Wayne ends up being Robin.
Damian's my favorite.
And it's just, I think, like I said, we've just said this, that I think in Batman there's so many stories that they could tell. And I think the Robin story is something that hasn't been tapped into its potential. Because like you have Dick Grayson, who ends up becoming Nightwing and ends up becoming a superhero on his own. And then you have Jason Todd, who is the conflicted one, who has the inner demons similar to Batman, and that's what I said earlier. And you wanted to throw something at me. I said I think Jason Todd would be eventually the next Batman, and you were like, get out of here. And then Tim Drake's next, right? Tim Drake,
next.
and he becomes
Red Robin.
Red Robin.
The Tech Man.
Yeah, and he was a good. I like him in the video game. I like him in Arkham Knight, but I wasn't a big Tim Drake.
He works perfect when you pair him like with the love story.
Right.
That's what works really
Right,
well.
with Oracle and everything like
when
that.
They pair their love like a love thing that works really well with that.
But he Bruce Wayne goes through these 3 Robins, and then he ends up with his own son as Robin. I think that's kind of the period at the end of the statement there is that, okay, hey, this is my son now, and I'm going to train him to be the superhero. And obviously he has a lot of conflict. So
the least disciplined Robin of all time.
Of all time. Yeah.
It's the perfect blend of like, okay, Batman's my dad, but my grandpa is fucking Ra's al Ghul.
Right.
So, like, I can kind of do whatever I want.
Right.
He's so good.
And both are in each other's ear at the same time.
Yeah.
You're always trying to pull them.
Have you seen the Batman, the Batman versus Robin, and that like 3 film?
The animated?
Yeah. I thought they did a really good job telling those stories. And,
Yeah. They're some of the best ones. Some of the best animated movies that they've made is the ones that have those recurring ones where it's Batman versus Robin. I think
I forget the one that's the one with the Court of Owls.
That's the one with the Court of Owls.
The Son of Batman, I think, is the first one.
Yes, and then there is one more.
Yeah, there's that's when Dick Grayson Death of Batman. No, because it's one Batman.
Oh, Death in the Family.
No,
They do some type of Red Hood, some weird shit.
That's not what I'm
pick
talking.
Your own fucking
the
path.
third one is when like Batwoman and Bruce Wayne like supposedly dies, but he's actually just being held captive by Talia, and Dick Grayson becomes Batman.
Oh,
he's
that's Justice League versus.
No. It's the third film in the Batman series, like kind of like the third film, and then Damian's like off in exile, and he comes back and realizes Dick Grayson is actually pretending to be Batman.
We'll look it up later. Even if you said it, I fucking wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. I could probably look it up.
Last question, Tyler, I have for you is, what is your favorite movie? Do you have a favorite movie? If you don't,
I do.
You do.
Well, no. What if I don't? I want to hear it.
I was gonna say I'll say if you don't. What are some of your recent movies that you watch that you're like, this is a fucking great movie?
My favorite movie of all time, which is funny because it's actually not even with real people, is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Favorite movie of all time.
I bet you make a good argument for it then.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that there's some people that are just like,
fuck out of that movie.
My wife loves that movie.
I can get deep on that movie. Like, I can hit you with the, like, why is this, like, why should an adult care about this movie? Like, I can hit you with that. I can hit you with the kid. Like, that movie is a solid, fucking movie, man.
This man is afraid, doesn't like horror films. So
I do not like horror films.
No, he doesn't.
Until I worked in a haunted house.
So maybe we meet you halfway and we do Nightmare Before Christmas for October?
I mean, I could probably just quote that movie right now. I've seen it so many times.
So you're saying October we could do Nightmare Before Christmas?
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I mean, we're not even in April yet. You think we're making it to October?
No, but that's a good idea. I didn't even think about it until now for your fucking...
It is, by the way, the film is called Batman Bad Blood. It starts with Son of Batman.
I have seen it. I own it. I don't remember
Batman
it. So it must not have been
Robin,
that great because I only watched it once.
Yeah. They introduce a whole heap of characters in that one. So
okay. Is there any movies that you watched recently that you're like, man, this is a good movie? Because I try to watch like 2 movies a week.
That's the problem.
If I'm busy.
I've been catching up on like TV shows and stuff. And
Okay.
Rewatching a lot of stuff. I haven't been into a lot of like actual movies. I went on a James. I've never been a James Bond fan at all. Really. I was always kind of like, okay, I get it, not my thing. I recently watched all the Daniel Craig Bonds and like I loved them. So,
really?
Yeah, it was. I think just years past and being older, and I just saw the character in a totally different like lens.
I'd have to rewatch
and I got it. I was like, oh my god, like I understand why.
Is he your James Bond?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Like,
wow.
Especially after watching, like
Who's your James Bond?
Gotta go Sean Connery.
Oh, mine's Pierce Brosnan. I don't know.
Pierce
if it was
Brosnan's good too. Yeah.
I don't know if it was just because that was the time that I was introduced to James Bond.
Yeah, same.
Right.
GoldenEye.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously, in my opinion, there isn't a bad James Bond. I mean, obviously, like Sean Connery's probably known for playing James Bond, and now Daniel Craig's obviously like really put like the exclamation point on that role. But I mean, how do you not like James Bond?
Yeah, that's it. Like it just never was my.
It's not my favorite.
That's how I was.
You're like the one person in the world.
But this last
right.
watch through, I don't know, something changed. I saw the character differently, and I was like, this is actually like pretty deep and like.
I'll have to rewatch them.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen the Daniel Craig ones one time, and I was like, fuck this guy.
And that's kind of how.
And now I'm like, okay.
I feel like with the Daniel Craig ones, they gave the character James Bond a little bit more depth.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
And
100%.
And like, when you're seeing like Sean Connery, it's like, okay, how many times can this guy save the world with no problems happening to him? And like Daniel Craig, I'm not.
They do have a recurring thing. Like I believe his sequels are something that you have to have seen the last one to get it. Versus like
exactly there is information.
Versus all the other ones are just, hey, this is the movie,
right?
And this is the
I'm
problem.
Pretty
it's
sure
solved.
the like second movie takes place like 15 minutes after the first movie. Like
okay.
Starts like literally like 15 minutes after the
right.
last one.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'll rewatch them. I'll rewatch them for sure.
There's some not so good ones.
There you go. There is an episode that we could have.
A James Bond
episode.
Hey, we're right here, right now. Don't fucking worry about what we're doing in the future. Who do I sound like? I sound just like Jack right there.
I hate you.
But, all right. That's all I got for your questions for now. We're going to continue this going on, but I want you to chime in for everything. Yep. You're here for the long run.
Cool.
So, this section I have right now is listeners' notes. I only have 2 listeners' notes this time.
Oh, only 2 this time.
Only 2. Okay. One of them is the recurring one where they want to know us a little more personally. But the first listener's note is the only listener note I have. This is from Sam. This is Sam's listener note.
Your wife? She doesn't count.
She does.
No, she doesn't. Sam, you don't count.
She said, Jack breathes heavily into the mic. Back the fuck up.
Oh, man. Wow. That's
Stop.
like you.
She also said, stop touching your mic.
Oh, wow.
How many times do you do this?
I like to fidget, and I'm fat. I breathe heavy. You know what, Sam? Kiss my ass. How about that? I'm gonna breathe heavy into the mic.
I was laughing when she told me this because I was like,
kiss my ass.
I was like, yeah, he touches his mic at least 75 times throughout an episode.
nervous. I'm not used to
You're
doing
nervous.
That. I don't know. I mean, fuck you, and fuck Sam.
The second listener note, they wanted to know in the second episode, they wanted to know us a little more personally. So I tried to think of some questions that that people, when they see us, they'd be like, oh, fuck, I know what he likes or certainness.
I don't want people to see me in public and tell me what I like.
Can you pinpoint when you realize that you guys were geeks or like a nerd? Like, do you know like how young or when, embrace it, I guess?
I mean, I was pretty young.
When do you think?
I mean,
Power Rangers? Batman the Animated Series? Like, when did you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a couple years older than you guys, but yeah, Power Rangers was big, and obviously you're like, okay, that was huge, and you wanted to dress up and, everything Power Rangers back then, and then, like I said, X-Men, that's when I really got into comics, was X-Men and Batman the Animated Series, and then you realize, oh, these are all based off stories, and then you start reading the stories, and yeah, I mean, Star Wars alone, I've been a Star Wars fan, I think, since I've been born. And I was like in prime age when Star Wars got re-released in the 90s. And that was like, I remember going to, and there's a meme on Facebook, and I'm sure you guys seen it, but like the Star Wars aisle now compared to when it was in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, it was like massive. It was like the whole aisle was Star Wars, and like you spent hours going through the action figures and being like, "Oh, I need this guy. I need this guy."
I already have that one. Yeah,
and again, this was back when your mom would like be like, "Okay, I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to go shopping. I'll see you in an hour." And you
don't ask me for anything, and you bring one. Just come, just this one. Yeah.
No, like my mom would come back and she'd be like, "Oh, you got 37 action figures," and I'm like, "Yes, you're buying them all, and the Millennium Falcon." She's like, "Don't you have a Millennium Falcon?" But I need this one in the box. So. Yeah, I was the kid that was like in Star Wars, like I would buy 2 action figures. Like if I had 2 Darth Vaders, one would stay in the box. So, yeah.
Very disciplined.
Yeah, very. But then again, and like, you always bought the one that you opened.
Yeah. How about you, Tyler? Do you know?
Yeah, I think I didn't realize it because I always had, growing up, I had an uncle who like was an artist and like took me to Comic-Con when I was real younger. So like, that like superheroes were always prevalent there, and then my cousin ended up marrying someone who was into art, and he was like more of like he's a plumber and like a normal dude, but he was super into like comic books and all that. So like I never thought like I was like kind of into nerdy things.
Yeah.
Until I like would go to school and like talk to people about like going to like the comic book store, And people would be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like,
Now,
there's a store like,
yeah.
yeah, Amazing Fantasy, dude. And they'd be like, "You just buy," and then that's when I realized, like, oh, not everyone's like on the level that I'm
Right.
at. Where I used to go like every other week. My mom, that would be the thing. If I was,
I'm a
good or
nerd.
whatever,
I'm a nerd.
my
Yeah.
mom would be like, "Okay, we can stop in. You can go get a graphic novel or whatever, you know." And so then I realized, like, oh, like I'm into superheroes like way more than
Yeah.
like
So
my friends and stuff.
we were definitely just talking about that, but like, yeah, when we were upstairs, but like my friends aren't into comics and stuff like that. But whereas like I grew up with this, like I grew up with like, oh my God, Batman Forever came out. That was like when Batman Forever came out. That was like the greatest thing in like the world.
Yeah,
And
same.
and like, you know, you bought all the toys and everything like that, and your
Carrey.
friend, and your friends were like, well, okay, yeah, like Batman movie. You're just like, okay, well, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
And you know, again, I never went to the comic book store growing up. It was always action figures and what you could get at Toys R Us at the time.
Yeah, I didn't go to the comic book stores when I was younger either. I don't think I started going to the comic book store until I was maybe 20.
And
around there.
honestly, obviously now when I go to the I appreciate it a lot more. And it's like, okay, like this is something that you could introduce to your kids to, but like my parents weren't into comics or anything like that. Like they wouldn't know, but like now I feel like, okay, hey, I can bring my kids and be like, okay, this is like an experience. Like
Yeah.
you'll remember this.
Yeah.
And I never went to the comic book store until I was in my 20s either, I don't think.
I've always been a Batman fan from the animated series and everything.
Right.
But when I turned 18 is when I got the Batman emblem tattooed on my body, and I was like, I'm a big fucking nerd.
Yeah.
And so I want to say around 18. I mean, I always knew I was a nerd, but 18 is when I was like, I fucking owned it by putting a mark on my body.
Yeah. I'm
And
down that road. I got like 4 video game / movie / comic book tattoos.
yeah. So I would say 18 is when I absolutely like nail on a coffin. I'm a fucking nerd.
I just like to point out now, Sam's in my fucking head. I'm going to be touching this thing. I'm worried about if I'm breathing too much.
Jack's like breathing all the way back here.
I'm fucking angry at her.
Second question. How do you guys make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? What goes first, the jelly or the peanut butter?
I don't eat peanut butter and jelly.
That's fine. If you had to make a peanut butter and jelly
What
sandwich,
do you mean what goes first?
what do you do first? Do you do the peanut butter or the jelly first?
Does it matter?
Is one goes on one side?
Yeah, I was
No,
just
no. I know that. You're using one knife.
Oh, okay. Good question. Okay. I actually, because I'm a weirdo where I don't like consistencies and things. Even though I'm putting it together, like
Yeah.
the knife, I would never use the same knife for something.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'd be the same way.
So you
No.
fucking make more dishes.
No,
You guys
no.
are assholes.
No.
It's called dishwasher.
Okay.
I go peanut butter first, and then a napkin. I'll wipe the knife with a napkin, and then hit the jelly because I feel that the peanut butter's easier to get off the knife.
Really?
I would just definitely use 2 knives and throw the both of them in
I
the
respect
dishwasher.
that move too, but
Oh my gosh. So I go jelly first, spread it on the bread.
licks it.
No, I don't lick it. But I'll use the end of the bread, like the crust, and I'll wipe it
Okay.
off.
Okay.
And,
So
and
same
it
concept.
looks like a complete. But then I'll go right into the jelly or right into the peanut butter with the same knife,
Okay.
and then I'll spread that, and then I'll just lick the peanut butter and toss it into the sink.
But and that's the same thing. Like if I make a sandwich, I usually put mustard and mayonnaise on it, and I'll do that. Like I'll wipe the knife, or if I'm by the drawer, I'll just take a second knife and.
Well, there's some people who I think are complete lunatics who will just say, "Oh, one single bread, all right." They'll do jelly.
I love this conversation, by the way. This is a good conversation.
They'll take peanut butter, put the peanut butter on top of the jelly on the same piece of bread, and then take a regular plain fucking piece of bread and put it. I'm like,
Who is wrong?
This is
that's just
fucking
wrong.
psychotic.
That's like people that just like bite into string cheese.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Those people are serial killers.
Yeah, I
agree.
I think this is an interesting because I've always said, "Oh, jelly first." So
Love
when
this
the moment
conversation.
I hear people say peanut butter first, I'm like, "What? What?
Yeah.
That's so much harder to get off." But you say you use a napkin.
I do, and like you just pinch it, so you just do the quick like.
I try to use as less because now you're dirtying a napkin, and I
Yeah,
feel
but
like
I take a napkin with my sandwich. I just like that's my napkin I'm using for like my meal.
okay.
So it's just folded in half with some peanut butter now on it.
I see. It's kind of like you could reuse a piece of toilet paper when you wipe, or you could reuse a fucking toilet or
Yeah, maybe
tissue
you're just
paper.
being wasteful with your napkins.
No, I try not to. I try not to use napkins at all. The last question I have is something that I get made fun of by my friend Kelly. because I never believed in this. Not believed in it. I never knew. Do you guys know that narwhals are real animals?
I do.
You knew that?
I knew that.
What do you think? The elf made that up?
No,
I thought it was a fucking make-believe thing.
no I knew that.
Fucking unicorns are made up. How is it far off from a fucking whale with a fucking... It's technically a tooth coming out of the top of its
That's
fucking...
that's Allison's like favorite animal is a narwhal.
I know, but I never knew it was a real thing. It'd be like somebody saying, "Oh, what's your favorite animal?" Unicorn.
I mean,
It's fucking made up.
I'm not gonna lie.
Centaur.
I was as shocked as you.
Can you imagine if a centaur came out of the fucking out of the woods? I'd be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, I'd be like,
No,
oh.
he would be a superhero. He would be like, oh, that's a...
Fucking James McAvoy right there. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no.
Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
So, I think that's wild that you guys even knew that because it took me. I think I found out 2 years ago that narwhals were real animals.
I mean, it
blew my mind.
It was recent. I mean, probably when I started dating AJ, but like, she was like, "Oh yeah, like I love the movie Elf," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've seen Elf," and now I've seen Elf like 10 million times.
Yeah.
And obviously the narwhal thing, and then she's like, "Oh, they're real animals," and I'm like, "No, they're fucking not." And
so this is somewhat recent. Then?
somewhat recent,
Okay,
within the
yeah.
last 7 years. So I mean, like, there was that.
Did
one
it blow
point,
your mind? Like, did you Google the pictures of them and you were like, "What the fuck? This is real?"
I was definitely like, "Wow, yeah, this is real," but it wasn't like, okay, well, yeah, like. Tyler said, like, Elf didn't fucking make this up. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, I went about my day. I did it like life change, like it did.
Do you know how long you've known for, Tyler?
To be fair, another weird fact, like, before I wanted to be an actor, so it was very small.
You wanted to train narwhals?
Yeah. I wanted to be a marine biologist.
Oh, okay.
So I had an encyclopedia of like 50
Shit that lives in the water.
And
yeah.
I would just, when I was younger, that's all I would do was just like flip through and look at pictures of things. So yeah, I feel like I've always kind of known narwhals are real.
Okay.
But I do understand why they're quite mystical.
Yeah, well, they say that. I guess because I was researching them when I found out
like,
maybe
not
2 years
zoos and shit.
No, yeah, I guess they tried to domesticate them, and when they domesticate them, they just fucking die of depression.
They're like
I'm
great
like,
white
what?
sharks.
That's fucking crazy.
Same thing with great whites. They can't do them.
Well, now we know. Well, I'm glad that I know.
No, it's
life changing for you.
I was hoping that I was going to change one of your lives right now by telling you that fucking narwhals are real.
No.
But all
Sorry.
right, to my disappointment, maybe we'll find somebody else
Next
in the future.
question.
Yeah, that was it. That's all. That's all the
Moving
three.
on.
That's all the three. So that's the only three that I have. If anybody who's listening or has a recommendation of a question that I could ask, or if you want to tell people that they breathe heavily into mics, or if they want to say that I know that something that I do that's bad, I use the word all the time. I say a lot, and I fucking hate it, but I can't
think
catch
everybody does.
it. No.
I use like quite a bit.
I was paying
Like,
attention.
yeah.
You don't use the word because I'm aware of my use of and you doing
Try
that.
not to, because I used to, and you get like yelled
I-
at for like things.
Yeah.
you gotta learn like that's actually things they teach you like in theater school. You like have to work on So
People have told me I use and I say I'm
I
sorry.
say like
I just thought me and Sam were friends. I didn't know she was going to throw me out like that, or throw me under the bus like that. I mean, fuck.
Yeah, I'm a big fuck as a filler word too.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is bad. Which
Yeah.
is bad because I can throw that in. I can make that word work anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like
Absolutely.
The bad
We're both like that too.
yeah,
though.
yeah. That's why I'm very happy to be on this podcast. I was like, I can let it go.
We can be free. Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely not peaches.
I feel like oh no, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not gonna say what one word we can't say. I think we all have it in our head already.
Okay.
And from that on, we're gonna go on to nerd news. Nerd news is just some of the hot topics that we've heard throughout since the past episode of nerdy information that we think is interesting. We want to bring it to each other's attention if we already haven't brought it to each other or found it. Do you want to start us off or you want me to start off?
No, I'll start off. I guess I can go first.
Cool.
I think the biggest news is that the release of the trailer of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ooh.
That came out. And I'm very excited. Very excited.
It's very exciting. It looked badass. Like,
It does.
I posted it onto the Facebook page, and I think, you're introduced to this, and it's awesome. And then fucking Duel of the Fates start playing.
Yeah.
All
And you're
right.
like, my dick is hard right now.
They're
hard.
I think there was like two things that everybody talked about during that trailer was Duel of the Fates, and then like everybody was like shitting on like what the Grand Inquisitor looks like and like the Fifth Brother looks like.
I didn't even know who they were. So I texted
Right.
you right away. I was like, who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, yeah. In like
I didn't know if they were made up or if it was already established.
they're
That's why
already
I texted you.
established,
Okay.
but everybody's like, oh, they look like shit, and I'm like, well, they're going from animated to live action.
It's the same with the Cad Bane. It's the same people that had
Right.
an issue with Cad Bane. It's
Right.
like
Have you watched, Tyler? Have you watched all those shows?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck,
I'm a
man.
big Star Wars guy.
I consider myself a big Star Wars guy, but I didn't watch the
you've been
animated
fired.
anything.
You gotta watch. If you don't watch Clone Wars,
I'm not going to do it. There's too many seasons. I can't invest that much time.
It does suck.
But there is a category. If you go to Star Wars on Disney Plus, it will bring you to a little side thing that says must watch episodes of Clone Wars.
Okay.
And it doesn't give you. It's like I forget how many episodes it is.
Because I will say, Clone Wars is. They have at all times 6 fucking storylines going on.
Okay.
Yeah. So one episode, it'll be 3 episodes is this, and then it'll be 6 episodes of things that just do not matter.
Yeah.
It's so.
I'm down for the highlight
way to
episodes.
watch
I'm down for highlight episodes. It's just I'm even overwhelmed with the fact that I've never seen Breaking Bad.
Oh wow.
And people are like, you gotta fucking watch that movie. And I'm like, it's so many seasons. I don't want to invest that much time into it.
That's awesome. Breaking Bad's really good.
You're
You're really fucking up on that one.
But the same thing, Clone Wars is very important. That's where you learn the true characters of Anakin and Obi-Wan. That's
Okay.
That's where you understand
You'll
what
appreciate it a
these
lot
guys
better.
Are,
I can see that.
in my opinion.
It is something that I want to dive into eventually, but not right now.
Yeah.
I like to invest my time with movies. We talked about that before.
Right.
No, that's
where you
fair.
find your free time and you want to watch a show. I find my free time and I watched the West Side Story movie 2 days ago, and I want to watch the Oscar movies that are coming out.
Right.
But that's a good one though. I'm fucking stoked for Obi-Wan.
I'm excited.
I'll be excited
Very
to talk
excited.
about it when it comes out.
Yeah.
My first thing that I have right here is the last episode. I had talked about how all the Marvel shows were leaving Netflix, Punisher and all that shit, and that it was going to be going to Hulu. And I'm going to say that's false. They're not going to Hulu. They're going to Disney Plus.
Disney Plus. But they changed
Yeah.
that. That wasn't false at the time.
No, I guess not. But as of today, that second episode is false. So March 16th, all the Defender shows are going to be on Disney Plus. Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Punisher, Iron Fist, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will all be on there. Have you watched all those?
Yes.
I haven't watched any of them. I've watched the first couple episodes of Daredevil and then the last episode of season 1 Daredevil. And I heard Daredevil and Punisher are amazing.
Daredevil's my favorite thing, my favorite MCU content.
Ooh,
that's
okay.
come out.
Wow.
And I know it's not MCU and they're trying to do it,
Yeah.
but Daredevil, I watched that and I was like, why can't we get a Batman like this? That's how I felt when I watched it, because Daredevil's on another fucking level of and it's so dark. And it was just okay, this is superheroes for adults, finally.
Nice.
Okay, we got the Punisher movie and all that back in the day with Thomas Jane
Yeah.
and all that. But, Daredevil is so well, and then Punisher's, it's just John Bernthal being an animal. You know what I mean?
I've heard it's fantastic, and I do want to. That's something that I'll watch eventually there's probably only, I think there's 2 seasons, 3 seasons?
3 seasons. Well, there's
6 episodes, 8 episodes each.
Is about to start.
Oh shit! Fuck me! I better
about
get
to
started,
do
or I'm never gonna
4.
watch it.
They're starting to film the 4th season of Daredevil now. The big
my
thing
God.
though with all this and Disney putting it on Disney is Disney adding that adult section.
Yeah.
Is actually huge.
Oh yeah.
For them to now open the gates up of okay, now we can do adult content. Not saying they're gonna start blaring out R-rated movies, but we may see an actual decent, scary kind of Blade now, because they don't have to play in these little constructs. It'll be interesting to see what content they actually put out on that adult.
Absolutely, because I've heard that it's already been okayed that Deadpool 3 will be rated R.
And that's the thing,
Right.
is they knew they had to make that, and I always thought they were going to just throw it under some sister company, or all the it would just all come out as FX, because even though Disney owns it, they would just throw it under a different label. But the fact they're kind of committing and just saying yo, we have parental controls now, I kind of fuck with that. I think that's a good move, man. So
They need
I'm
to,
excited.
because if they took that away from Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool,
it's a big,
it wouldn't be as successful. I don't think.
No, God, no. It would get murdered.
Yeah.
It would get murdered.
Speaking of Deadpool, that would be my second nerd news, is that Sean Levy is gonna signed up to direct Deadpool 3.
I saw that. I'm stoked for it.
Yeah.
And then I heard that this will be their 3rd team up as well,
Right. So they just did the Adam Project together.
which came out yesterday.
Right.
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Free Guy. They did Free Guy.
Free Guy, which I enjoyed, but I
Yeah.
didn't overly enjoy.
It was cool. It's no Ready Player One, but it was a good.
Taika Waititi was my favorite thing.
Oh
about it.
yeah.
Oh, he's fucking amazing in it.
He's he's great at small little characters.
Right.
And he just can pop in a movie and do like a voice or play. He's so good at doing
Have you seen What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes.
Oh, he's amazing in that movie as well.
He did.
Allison loves that movie.
I know it's his movie, Jojo Rabbit, but him playing Hitler is like one of the funny.
That was an amazing movie. That was my favorite movie of that year.
He's like, I love him as fucking Kroot or whatever the dude's name.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh no.
In Thor.
In Thor, the Rock guy.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I think he's hysterical.
It'll come to us. He is. He's amazing. Yeah, he's a good actor, and I am excited for that. I'm excited for the fact that Sean Levy's taking over because he also has a hand in fucking Stranger Things. He's a big part of Stranger Things. I don't know if he's a producer or director of some episodes.
I think he's a producer.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a fucking good eye for this shit, and I'm glad that he's taking on Deadpool because that'd be good.
Yeah, and like we just said, it's going to be rated R, so that's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
As long as Ryan Reynolds is happy with the choice, like I'm cool with it because I think he's in a good spot with like understanding, and that's like his baby still. Like, he's fought so much to make that thing work.
But I mean, like, so that was Ryan Reynolds' last 2 movies, Free Guy and the Adam Project. So I'm sure he was probably obviously very comfortable with him.
Oh, yeah, that's how that shit works. If you hit it off, then you just roll that whole crew to the next
right.
and keep going.
That's why Tarantino uses all the same fucking people.
Correct. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. They all do that. Like, you realize, like, everybody has, like, their guy that they are working with and just shot this with. Like, it's like having a group of friends.
Jordan Foss, man.
We got our people.
You're going to stick with Jordan Foss.
We got our people.
Fucking
always,
Seth
man.
Rogen's got his guys. And
That's what I'm saying. You find your people, you find your crews, you try to grow up together. And then once you get that blow up, then
you're all going together.
Yeah, they're all.
You got your entourage.
Exactly.
You liked Entourage, too. I think we talked about Entourage, yeah.
I do like Entourage.
We were talking about that when we first met. A release that's coming out March 30th, Moon Knight. In case some people don't know, March 30th, Moon Knight's coming out. And I knew nothing about this character, and I did a quick Wikipedia. I don't want to bore anybody with the backstory of it or what it's about. But I think everyone should want to check out Moon Knight because it looks badass and it sounds awesome.
I know it's coming out, and I saw the preview and everything, but I didn't. I still don't know anything about the
Me
character.
either, and I'm staying that way because it's very few characters that they do things like movies on and stuff that I know nothing of.
Yeah.
And the last time they did that was Iron Man, and I knew who Iron Man was, but I never read an Iron Man comic.
Fucking Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
Same thing.
You know shit about them.
Every time I know nothing about them, I'm always really blown away. And so
you have that low expectation.
Correct. I'm just staying there.
Moon Knight sounds fucking awesome, and I can't wait for it.
Oscar Isaac's a badass.
He is. He's fucking awesome.
I forget what I was going to say. But.
We were talking about Moon Knight. We were talking about things that we like.
I was
something I recommended.
I was going to say, like, the whole thing is that, like, I hope it's good, but like I hope it's not that good because I don't need to start reading more fucking comics.
You don't read that many comics, anyways.
But like, if I see something like you said, Guardians of the Galaxy, like when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, like a lot of people didn't know about that, and I was like, well, what the fuck is this all about? Now I gotta go read all the comics.
It's like a gateway drug.
Yeah, it is exactly. You're just like, so you're like, do I need to do this? Because then in 3 months something else is gonna come out where you're gonna be like, okay, I gotta go read this shit now, and it's like, on and on and on. So
that's how I get with. I usually wait for the movie to come out and then I'll read the material.
But I do like Oscar Isaac, so it's kind of I'm excited.
It's your Star Wars boy.
Yeah, I don't like the Star Wars season though. So
yeah, you don't. That's right. Do you have another one by chance, or do you want me to hit it? I'll hit another one.
Hit another.
Okay,
one. I do got one more.
Okay, so there's a movie coming out with Robert Zemeckis and Tom Hanks, so they're teaming up again. It's called Here. It's a graphic novel, and this graphic novel takes place in one corner of a room, and it's told from 500 billion BC to 2313 AD. And it started as a comic book. Like I said, it's a graphic novel, but it sounds fucking interesting. That's all I know. That's all I know about it. I was like, okay.
What's it called?
It's called Here, Here. And I was like, this sounds fucking badass. Tom Hanks and Robert Zemeckis. So, I mean, they're teaming up again from, I can't remember what else they did. They do
Forrest Gump, right?
They did Forrest Gump, and I think they did Sully. I think they did Sully together as well.
Did they do? Yeah.
I think they have another one too. I can't think of what it is though. They always work together.
Yeah, they do like to work together. Man, fucking full circle. We're talking about all this right now.
Did you see the live action photos of Tom Hanks playing
Geppetto?
Geppetto?
Yeah.
That's gonna be cool.
I'm all right with it.
You're all right?
I'm stoked for it.
I mean, what do you mean you're all right with it?
I need to see a little bit more. I don't know why Pinocchio is fucking... He's CGI'd. Pinocchio is not a real puppet. He's CGI'd. Even just sitting there on the table, he's fucking CGI. I'm like, why won't they just make a puppet? But whatever. That's neither here or there. We could talk about... I could do a whole episode on Disney shit. Big Disney fan.
Things going live action that don't, or things going fake that don't need to be fake. I could do
Yeah.
a whole episode on.
Like, I'm not going to get into it. We can talk about that later.
Yep.
We'll talk about Lion King. Lion King is something we could talk about. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is a ride that's coming out in Disney World, and it's a big deal because it's been being built since before 2020, and it looks like a fucking awesome ride. And one of the chief corporate affairs officer, I have his name here. I think it's Geoff Morrell. He was on his Twitter and he posted a video of himself, and he posted a video of himself getting off the ride. And when he posted it, he said, check it out Memorial Day weekend. He leaked this information that it was going to be opening Memorial Day weekend. Less than an hour later, he took it down.
Ooh.
And he switched it to saying coming soon. So this motherfucker might have released that it was going to be opening Memorial Day weekend. I think that's a big deal. That's a big deal for Disney. Disney doesn't leak shit like that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Hit me with another one.
You're not a video game guy, but I got some
He's a video game
I'm
guy.
a big video game guy.
So the big anticipated video game for Star Wars was the Star Wars Eclipse, and that is getting pushed back to 2027 or 2028.
When was it supposed to come out?
I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I believe it was supposed to come out next year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's getting pushed back real far. But I do have good news that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order has been greenlit a sequel, and that was actually greenlit in January, which I kind of sad that I missed that.
Do you play all the Star Wars games?
I do. I try to at least.
Okay.
But the Eclipse is like the kind of like off the old Republic, and it's like the new virtual world and everything like that. That's what it's supposed to be. It's going to be like the new big one, but it's getting pushed back for a while.
And Gotham Knights, which is the new Batman video game,
Yeah.
finally got its release date because it's always
when is it?
been. It is 10/25/2022, so this year,
Yeah.
No shit.
which
October.
has been years
I saw the-
in the making.
Because
Right.
what they released a trailer of it, or like last year or something
And
at
they
DC,
released 10 minutes of gameplay, and that's all that they've
and it looked
released.
amazing. They have figures for it coming out. I'm a
Right.
big figure guy, and the fucking figures look amazing. I can't wait.
And that's all off the Arkham Knight series, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It's one of those things where they say it's not because it's different companies, I'm pretty sure, so
Okay.
that they don't have the rights to it. But it's one of those things like, if you know and played those games,
Okay.
like it's kind of like, I don't know if you know what Back 4 Blood is and Left 4 Dead. There's
No.
a zombie game
I know
called
Left 4 Dead, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just came out with, it's been like 10, 15 years since they
The second
produced
one,
a game.
right?
No, they came
Oh,
out with
the
a
same
game
company,
called
gotcha.
Back 4 Blood.
Okay.
Because they couldn't get the Left 4 Dead rights. So they just changed the name, and the characters are called different things now, but it's the exact same. It's a sequel. They just couldn't. So I think there was some of that going on where it's not an Arkham Gotham Knights thing. It's just called Gotham Knights, but I'm pretty sure Arkham events or like the game style is all supposed to feel like that Arkham series.
Okay, cool.
Which I'm excited for because
Yeah.
those are like my favorite games.
Those games are awesome, yeah.
See, I saw the trailer for it when it came out. I was at one of the DC, whatever the fuck it was, event that happened last year. I was like, wow, that looks fucking cool.
Yeah, it's
I don't play video games. I'm like, I might have to buy a PlayStation 4 so I can play this fucking game, or Xbox,
PlayStation
whatever.
5.
PlayStation. That was they're on now?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, they're on
Holy
5, man.
fuck, man! I sound like when your parents are like, "Oh, grab that Nintendo." Like that's how I just sounded. I sounded old as fuck.
I mean, I still rock PlayStation 4. I refuse to buy a 5, but...
I made the switch to PC. So
Oh, wow.
I should have brought this up when you mentioned the Obi-Wan trailer. I had heard somewhere that Liam Neeson is in it,
I've been hearing that, too.
but I haven't.
be
They
awesome.
haven't confirmed if he is a voice or a ghost. If he's going to be showing up in person or if it's
So
his voice.
I heard that he's going to be a ghost. I did hear that. I think it was the same article, but I did hear that.
and we're probably overhyping it. It's probably a fucking.
I think you're going to see.
It's going to be something small.
So I'm definitely going to throw this out there. I definitely think you're going to see a lot of live action or a lot of animated people appear as live action in the Kenobi series. I mean, obviously you already know the Grand Inquisitor and the Fifth Brother are making that jump, but I think you're going to see Calcuttus, right? That's his name from Star Wars Fallen Order. I think you're going to see him. They have the actor that they have, the guy from, I can't even think of his name. This is so bad. But the guy from Shameless, who is the actor that plays him in the video game and everything and took his image, I think he's going to make an appearance. And I think if I'm wrong, I hope I'm right, but I think we're going to see Ezra Bridger in Kenobi. So Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
I mean,
right. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, they need to start bringing these people in if they want people to go back and watch some of the source material. That's the only way they're going to get me. If they keep showing me shit that I don't know, I'm going to be like, fuck, man, I got to go watch these.
I think Favreau and Filoni are going to be producers, but they're not writing anything with Kenobi. They're not doing anything, but I think they're going to have to connect all this to the Ahsoka series.
And I think in Ahsoka, they've already teased that they're going to like bring in Sabine and shit like that.
Well, they have the actress that's already playing
That's what
Sabine.
I'm saying.
And
like, once that starts happening, like...
Right. And you need to bring in...
you got to start bringing everybody in.
Caleb Dune. I think you're going to...
Someone have to watch this fucking show.
I've only seen certain things of like...
That's my recommendation.
Rebels.
I love Rebels. I think I think it's one of my favorites, and I just rewatched it for like the 7th time.
Oh, Jesus.
It's good. It's only 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's a lot smaller.
This is the fucking guy who tells me I'm so busy I can't do anything, but you watched the show 7 fucking times.
I've been between jobs right now, and I just had a baby, so I had a lot of TV time.
Oh, okay.
Just shut the fuck up, Manny. Jesus.
So the last part, or one of the last things I have, talks about there was a lot of changes with the DC movie lineup. I don't know if you've seen any of this, or if you've seen any of this. So I have the original dates that these things are supposed to come out and the new dates that they're coming out now. So, and they're in order as well. So DC Super Pets was supposed to come out in May of this year. So fucking, 2 months from now?
Right.
And they pushed it to July.
Oh, wow.
That's a big difference. And I am excited for that because they did release the trailer for that and it looks fucking awesome.
It does look good, yeah.
Funny.
It was something that when they released it, they were making, and I said, fuck, why?
I'm watching the trailer. I'm like, who the fuck? I'm like, is that The Rock? I'm like, is that Kevin Hart? I'm like, what is going on here? And then Keanu Reeves is Batman.
Reeves, yeah. I was like, what?
Great.
This, I mean, he's great with voice work. I fucking loved him as Duke Kaboom.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Black Adam was supposed to come out in July. It is coming out October 21st.
Jesus, they really pushed that back.
I'm not even going to get started.
Here, let's go with this. Do you want to see it or do you not want to see it? Yes or no question. Ooh, you're gearing up for some more. Do you want to see it or do you not want to see it?
You're like fuming over there.
I think it's bullshit. I think they've built up this movie now to be so big because it's been 10 years of like pushing this off,
right?
Rearrange for this.
Yeah.
Dwayne wants this, Black Adam this and that, and to start with, Black Adam, cool character and all that, but like he's not the fucking anchor of the DC universe.
No.
And it's just like all of this shit has been going on and getting built up and pushed back and all this shit that it better be the best movie. Like that's where I'm at. Where this better be awesome.
I'm going in with low expectations. Let's bring up Guardians of the Galaxy. Like I'm going, like you would say, the more you don't know, the better. I don't know shit about Black Adam.
I don't either.
Anything. So I'm hoping
that helps,
it's going to blow me away.
I also like this. We are talking Marvel versus the DC, MCU versus the DCU.
Yeah,
which is totally different. Fucking sports in terms of understanding like how to roll out big storylines.
Yeah,
and we have talked about this. DC just rushes shit way too much, and like
terrible.
They just have a bad. I mean, Marvel's got Kevin Feige behind it, like saying, "Hey, this is how we're going to release it all. This is the order we're going to go in."
And DC is trying to, like, I always feel like DC's obviously trying to compete with Marvel, and they're like, okay, hey, they did the Avengers, and look what the Avengers did. We talked about this on the last episode, I think. But like, do the introduction movies, do the story, the first stories of these guys. I mean,
they have the playbook in front of them, and they're just refusing to do it. And it's because
they just don't want to say, "Oh, we copied off them." It's like, fuck, just copy off them. Just start yourself off and copy off them.
You got your own characters. You're not copying off of them.
The problem is people go and see these fucking movies no matter what, and just the Snyder fans are some of the most rabid fan bases on the internet, man. And those people they're crazy.
Yeah,
they're crazy super fans. And they like literally like get mountains moved for. They got a movie that was fucking garbage, worked on for 5 years and re-released. Like, what universe are we living in?
Yeah,
that's what the DCU is doing right
now. And I agree with you. And the big thing I have a big problem with is the Flashpoint movie that's coming out.
Let's talk about it when I get to this. Let's talk about it when I get to it.
Sorry,
I got two more.
Told you.
Don't censor me. Don't censor me.
Shazam 2 was supposed to be coming out June 23rd. Or June 2023, sorry. June 2023. It is now coming out December 12th this year.
Yeah,
that's going to be moved
So
because Black Adam's going to be in.
Correct.
He'll make an appearance in that.
So, which I'm fine with. I like Shazam, the first one.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, but that's getting moved.
I guess I'm gonna watch the second one when it comes out.
I agree. Shazam's actually out of the DC movies. That's like one of the better ones. For
Yeah.
sure.
Aquaman was supposed to come out December 2022 this year, so it was taking the place of Shazam. And that's been moved to March 17th next year, 2023. And then the last one, The Flash, was supposed to come out in November this year. It is coming out June 2023.
Why are they pushing that? Isn't that fucking movie done?
I would assume so. I mean, because I think my nerd news for the last one was that DC The World Needs Heroes trailer came out, and it showed you Aquaman, it showed you The Flash, it showed you the Batman, and it showed you
And this is something
Black Adam. And it was fucking awesome. It looked amazing, and now they're pushing it all back.
because Michael Keaton's in the new Flash, but he is going to be in the new Batgirl TV show.
Correct.
I wonder when the fucking Batgirl TV show is coming out.
I haven't looked that up.
No, I mean I should know that.
It's this year. It's the end of this year.
Yeah. So why are you putting Michael Keaton in that?
Because it's a desperate play. It is. They saw what happened with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And they
right.
saw that everyone lost their fucking minds when you bring back someone nostalgia.
Absolutely.
And they know they don't have the story to fix this thing. So it's a play at we're going to guarantee asses in the seats, and maybe we can nostalgia trick these people into be so happy to see Michael Keaton that they'll just bury all the other shit. And that's why this Flashpoint movie is going to be literally a Frankenstein monster of trying to fix things.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to play out well. And I see it, man.
It's gonna be the rise. It's gonna be the rise of Skywalker for DC.
I think
Flush, bro.
I think that it's gonna.
Because the Flashpoint movie could be so good, but they need to bring in so many characters that they're not going to bring in right now, and it's.
I agree. Yeah.
Think of how important the Flashpoint storyline is in comics and canons, and we're gonna start here. Like it's just like what?
I mean, they don't even have like the whole Thomas Wayne thing.
Here. So they haven't called this movie Flashpoint. They said that there's been inspirations. So maybe this is the first part of a 2-part Flash movie, and maybe we are going to get the shit. Which, fuck, man.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
I'm with him.
I know. I'm trying to see the light.
You're trying to put on a fucking Band-Aid.
I'm not defending it. I am defending it, but there's a part of me that I don't want them to fucking make trash out of Flashpoint because it's so good.
What's wrong with just letting this thing die out like it's trending right now and just restarting this shit in a couple years like we should?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
there's nothing wrong with it. They should just do that. Yeah.
Like at this point, if they tomorrow said, "Hey, we canceled the Flash movie, and here's some leaked footage of the Keaton shit," no one would care.
No one would care.
Like people would care, but like people would get the fuck over it real quickly.
Ezra Miller already got paid. So I mean,
that guy's crazy.
But here's the thing: right now in DC, you have 3 fucking Batman.
That's the problem too, and a Batgirl.
And a Batgirl. You have 3. You have 3 Batmans. You have Robert Pattinson, Michael Keaton, and Ben Affleck.
And I didn't read the description or anything in this headline, but I saw this morning that Ben Affleck did say that he's doing more.
See, that's the thing.
That's
and
insane.
I can't.
Why?
It's all insane.
And I'm not shitting on
this
Ben
would be the Earth whatever,
Right.
Earth 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that idea as well because they've established it in fucking Spider-Man that, hey, there's different universes. We have this multiverse, so they're...
But they built it up to Spider-Man. They built it up in Spider-Man. They're not just being like, hey, go to the fucking movie and understand what we're talking about. They made it clear, they built it up. And that's the thing we're saying is that DC just like, hey, like you said, I have no problem that they're copying off Marvel because it's comics. I get it. But like, build up to it. Why are you making one movie to try to make $1 trillion, make 4 movies and make $4 trillion? I don't understand it. Like, give me the origin stories.
I'm not trying to defend it because I'm excited for it. I'm trying to defend it because I'm trying to keep a low expectation.
We need people that believe, because then I can fight somebody. Because I get upset about this stuff, man. This stuff makes me mad.
I'm keeping my low expectations. I hope they don't fuck it up. I know they're gonna fuck it up.
You said it that made me even more mad. You're like, well, they're taking aspects of Flashpoint. Why? Why are you taking a good thing that you can make fucking money off of and destroying it? So you're going to butcher it, and it's not going to make any sense. And obviously, your timeline's not going to make any sense.
Here's the thing, though. It's going to make sense to moviegoers. The only people they're pissing off is people who read comics.
That's not a bad point, too.
But my thing is this, and like I just said, Michael Keaton's big thing is like, okay, I'm returning to Batman. I'm going to be in the Flash movie, but the Flash movie is not going to get released now until after the Batgirl movie on HBO Max.
Yeah, but that's fine because
So Michael Keaton's going to show up in
That's
Batgirl first, and then you're going to go see Flash, and now you're like, well, what the fuck? Now
no, it's fine because the Flash is coming from a different multiverse,
Yeah,
which
he's
means
pulling
that
him in. It's like
which
the-
means that Supergirl show with Michael Keaton is their own universe. That's what's going on with Ezra Miller and fucking
the
Ben
Spider-Man
Affleck.
effect.
It doesn't matter. They don't know anything that's happening. So once Ezra Miller comes into that Supergirl Batman Returns or Batman that Batman universe, then it becomes an issue. But otherwise it's its own entity. It stands on its own. So it's fine.
This all gets fucked up if Batgirl isn't in Tim Burton's universe.
right?
Like, which it seems like that's what they're trying to do. But if
This is
that's
gonna be
where it
fucked
all
up.
is gonna
Which
be screwed
she's
up.
probably. I mean, in a way, Michael Keaton's going to end up being the Batman Beyond Batman,
Correct.
where and
Correct.
she's the Terry McGinnis.
Correct.
So I mean, I could see why some comic book fans are going to be pissed with that, but it's like we just got to accept it for what it is, and hopefully they do a good job.
Right.
Balls in their court. Last thing I got mixes into Batman, and it is that I don't want to talk about it too much because we'll talk about it when we get to the Batman. But HBO Max has ordered Penguin.
I'm
They want
excited.
Penguin.
Yeah.
They
Obviously, we'll talk about it when we get into it.
Yeah.
But
they have been
that was a good
talking
call.
about a Catwoman. Catwoman hasn't been confirmed, but they have, and they're also on the fence. Not on the fence. They are in the midst of confirming an Arkham Asylum / GCPD
Oh
show.
wow. Well, no, the GCPD I thought got canceled.
They were working as it for GCPD, and then they said it kind of developed into an Arkham show, which I'm like,
Okay.
it's kind of this. I think if they made it the same thing, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Give me the GCPD capturing these fucking villains, putting
Right.
them into Arkham Asylum, and then we have our Rogues Gallery coming out.
Right.
Maybe the third movie, but that's all I got for nerd news.
All right.
Now that we're an hour and 21 minutes in, we're finally done with nerd news. We can get on to our first topic, which is we're just going to call this the best Batman. We're going to talk about the Batman movies, but not all the Batman. We're not talking about the movie specifically. We're talking about who has the best, which movie had the best of a certain thing.
And don't forget that we're going to do a lot of spoilers. So go see the movie. Go sit in the movie theater like I did by yourself.
Well, this isn't new Batman talk yet, right?
But it might be.
Unless you pick the
Unless
new
you-
Batman as
yeah.
something.
Well, see, I don't know. I'm gonna eliminate.
Here,
I'm gonna
here.
tell you that. I'm gonna eliminate that from. I'm gonna go all before
Wow.
Why is that?
because we're about to talk. Because everything's gonna come up in the new Batman.
Yeah, but this this won't be a spoiler. Batmobile. Who had the best Batmobile? If you want to say that it was the Batman, then you can. That's not a spoiler. So don't completely rule it
No,
out.
Christian Bale had the best Batmobile.
You liked it?
Oh, yeah.
I think I am a fan. And I even like the Batman Forever Batmobile like
Right.
with the fins
Okay.
on it
Yeah.
and the motor that was blue in the front. Kind
Yeah,
of.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that a lot.
That was a badass toy. I had that toy.
I do think
Wow.
the Tumbler for me is the fact it has an intimidation mode built into it,
Right.
or
Yeah.
something like that. And then it also has the Bat bike in it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
That to me is probably the Batmobile that is most Batman effect.
It is my favorite
And-
as
and
well.
they-
The Tumbler is my favorite.
Which I hated when it first came out too.
Right.
It's one of those things. where I was
okay.
But
Man, what the fuck is this thing?
and again, Batman is a comic book and it's fiction, but they give you a backstory of where the Batmobile came from.
Yep.
It's a bridging vehicle. The military. We built it for the military to build bridges, and they explained to what it was. And then he's like, "Okay, well, nobody's got this. I can convert this into my car." And so,
Second place? You guys have a second place?
I do love the OG '89 Batmobile too.
Yeah.
Armor mode.
That was mine too.
When he hits
That was mine
and
too.
Armor mode fucking goes on and the bombs.
I was gonna say when the hand grenade comes out and it drops off.
That's your second favorite too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck, I feel like we all just touched tips just now. This is amazing. That was mine. But you had said something about the history of the Tumbler, and they do go in to show you that with this new Batman, he's kind of a gearhead.
He's
This is something he built himself. It's kind of
Right,
cool. So they
right.
do show you the history of that, which I love.
And in the original, it's actually Batman Returns. Is that they show Michael Keaton working on the Batmobile, like he knows how to fix the Batmobile.
I'd have to rewatch it. I haven't watched Batman Returns in a long time.
Yeah, really.
In a long time, yeah.
Side note: I just read an article, and it just came out. It was pretty popular that it was a young kid that they reviewed the Batman Returns, and they said that it was like a horror movie for kids because they destroyed like I don't know why clowns in Batman Returns, but like rubber duckies and stuff like that. And it was all over Facebook. I was just like, Batman Returns, like, how is this not getting great reviews from kids?
There was
Doug
clowns.
Jones' first movie. You know Doug Jones?
Yeah.
He's in that movie.
That guy who's always covered in makeup and shit. Yeah.
He's Abraham from
Hellboy.
Hellboy.
Yeah.
He's the clown, the bald clown, like with
How's that moving?
in Batman Returns. He's like the bald clown that like faces off with Batman that gets like with the bombs and shit.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's him. That was like one of his first roles.
Oh, interesting.
Very nice.
Little tidbit.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
Who had the best bat suit?
Ooh.
See, if you like the Batman, you can say he had the best bat suit.
I do really like the bat suit in the new Batman.
Oh.
Is that gonna be your number one?
No,
No. Who is it?
I think it's like the Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
One of those suits. I liked when they
Mine's Bale.
doing
My
that.
Bale suit. The Bale suit. Yeah, that.
That's what I'm saying. So
It's just sleek and sexy. Like
Batman Begins, that one's a little too bulky, but like I said,
Yeah.
the Dark Knight Rises, when they started adding more of the
when he
and
slipped
Yeah.
down
and they
a
make
little bit, I really like that.
and that's why I love the cowl of the new one as well. Like how.
Best cowl in the game to me. I think by far.
I think I'm going to be the odd man out of
That's
this one.
fine. I'm ready to have
Who's
this
the best bat
conversation.
suit?
I'm going to take Val Kilmer's bat suit at the end when Alfred's like all the bat suits are destroyed, only the prototype that you developed, but you haven't tested
Oh
it yet.
fuck! I'd have to rewatch it.
And
I'm gonna put it over this video. I'm gonna have the picture of it over this video. So.
It's because it's the first different from kind
Okay.
of bat suit, and I was like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's still dark and stuff, but it's not
Yeah.
black. It's kind of more like silverish.
Oh, fuck me for not knowing, but hats off to you for having that as your
I think
favorite,
that-
man. Way to go.
I think that was kind of cool. I don't think Batman Forever gets as much love as
It doesn't. It's a good for what it is. It's actually a really good Batman.
I remember seeing it when it first came out.
Well, because it was like
Yeah.
such a blockbuster.
Yeah.
It got so much hype, I think, in the 90s, and obviously with the toy line and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
So you had said Bale. I said Bale.
I said Kilmer.
Kilmer. The Kilmer, yeah.
Yeah, the second
suit,
one,
yeah.
It's not a bad choice. I like that.
Who had the best gadgets or tech out of all of them?
I would go Christian Bale, just because like they, again, they explain everything, like what it originally is designed for and then what he uses it for.
Yeah.
He gets his Gatling gun or what was it for spelunking? He's like,
There's Daddy Longleg on the floor. Oh my god.
damn it, just step on it.
He's gonna get you. I ain't fucking worried about it.
They like, he obviously is a military provider and everything like that, and they like, he's like, oh, I want to borrow it for spelunking.
Yeah.
And Morgan Freeman's like, Lucius Fox is like, well, I don't think they decide market it to the billionaire spelunking
Yeah.
girl.
He definitely had the best gadgets.
I could hit you with the Adam West. That dude had a fucking gadget for everything, bro. He had every spray.
You know what?
Imagine.
You know what? He fucking does.
That's it, like if we're
But-
gonna, it's
Way
corny.
to go.
But that
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
Right.
That guy had a gadget for
Right.
everything.
And honestly, the best gadget he had out of all the movies is how he got to the fucking Batcave.
The fucking road closure shine.
He had the bus. He hit the bus.
Shakespeare head.
The Shakespeare head, yeah.
Oh, the bat. Oh, I thought you meant driving it.
Yeah,
I thought you meant driving
they
it.
drop
Gotcha.
down the fire pole and they drop down in their
Yeah.
the costumes.
Like not campy answer though.
No, yeah.
I think
Any live action Batman.
like I said, like Adam West, that is actually a good pick. He has a lot of gadgets.
He does.
I do think the new Batman had some unique stuff.
He did have some
Yeah.
He
unique
had
stuff.
some unique.
We do have- I do have-
Batman type.
Again, more realistic in the new Batman.
Oh, I agree with that.
And like especially like when he like
I do have a gadget section
when
for
he
the new
base
Batman.
jumps off the top of the police department, and he like zips up his like cape and stuff, and it turns into like the glider
Correct.
suit. That was cool.
Correct.
Who had the best? Who's the best villain out of any of the Batman movies?
Oh man,
I mean, everyone knows what mine is.
You're a fucking
It's tough because
you're a Joker.
Again, it's like
a big
people don't understand. I was on this train way before it was cool to be on this train. Man.
big Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze guy.
Oh, I mean,
We were actually talking about we fucking love Victor Freeze. Like we would love to see a live
yeah,
action.
I love.
I don't think
Freeze
it's
as a
I don't think it's
character.
doable,
No.
especially in Matt Reeves' universe. But
I disagree. I
No,
think if
no,
there's a
it's-
guy to do it. I think Matt Reeves is the one that's about
And
to
they're
figure it out.
they're saying that Mr. Freeze might be the
He
bad
said
guy
he
in the
wants-
second one.
He likes
I
Hush.
hope not.
He likes Hush and he likes Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
I want Michael Fassbender as Victor Freeze.
Oh.
It's not a bad choice.
I like that. You just
a lot of good-
mind fucked me on that one. That would be cool
There's
as
a
shit.
lot of good choices. I think that you could do. Dude, I saw someone even say Leo, which is crazy, but could you imagine if Leo committed and wanted to play
Victor
a villain,
Freeze?
dude?
Yeah.
Dude, it would be...
You could do stuff with Mr.
That's
Freeze.
We could do a
Man.
whole episode of fan casting a fucking Batman movie.
This is
So-
what me and Jordan do every day.
Tyler, who is your pick for the? I didn't.
Joker, Heath Ledger Joker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Joker,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely
blew my mind,
yeah.
man.
He stole the show.
It made me realize it can, because I'm a firm believer of like the Joker is one of the best written characters as far as like
Absolutely,
in
yeah.
fiction. In fiction, I think he's one of the craziest unique characters in
Right.
fictional writing. And you can play the Joker a million different ways, and he can look new every time with still being the Joker.
Yeah.
You can fuck that up very badly, as Jared Leto did, in my opinion.
Right.
But you have dudes like Heath Ledger who come in and give you something you've never seen or thought of before, and it's better than the other two that you think are better.
Yeah,
and
Jack
then they're
Nicholson,
not
you know.
better. You know what I mean? They're all peak performances. You got Hamill Joker. You got all these dudes doing peak performances of different Jokers that are just iconic, and but Heath Ledger blew my mind.
And I agree with you with the Jared Leto thing on one thing is that I wish they would have. Somebody would have been like, "Hey, we're gonna scrap this whole Batman Superman idea. We're gonna let you do the Batman Nightmares thing as a movie."
Yeah.
And I think because it's obviously in the Snyder cut, but when Batman and Joker are kind of on the same side, you're just like, that would be fucking awesome. Hey, Superman's now a dictator, and Batman's got to work with villains to defeat him.
There's a comic line like that. It's called The Last Night on Earth. And it's a really cool futuristic storyline where Batman has to team up with Joker.
Have you ever read Devil's Advocate?
No.
It's about the Joker's on trial for all these crimes, and Batman knows he actually didn't do them. And Batman goes in and basically proves Joker's innocence in the fact of this dude's guilty and terrible, but you can't be just
Throwing him in jail,
for just things he's associated with. It's a short graphic novel, but it's a really good read.
Interesting.
It's all Detective Batman and there's no fighting. It's all that kind of bullshit.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I wrote it down. I'll pick it up at the next time I go to the comic book store.
Highly recommend it.
My favorite villain? Oh, God. It's so hard to say.
There's so many good ones.
It's
too.
so hard
I don't
to...
wanna...
I'm saying villain off the live action, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I think
man.
there are good ones. There's a lot of good villains.
It's so hard. I'm going to go fucking new for this. I'm going to go and say the Riddler was the best villain that we've seen.
Riddler?
Yep.
Wow.
Cool.
Because he really tests Batman.
Over Heath? You over Heath Ledger?
I have problem.
It's that.
So, okay.
I know how he feels. I know this.
Here's the... I don't want to go into this.
I knew this was.
I have a problem with the Dark Knight. Dark Knight's not even my favorite Batman movie.
It's not a Batman movie, right?
It's
Maddie?
not. It is a Joker movie,
I'll agree to that, absolutely.
and that's why.
Absolutely.
There's a pent up aggression that I have toward.
I will agree with you on that.
Did Heath Ledger do amazing? Fuck yeah!
Won an Oscar.
Did he win the? Did he deserve the Oscar? No,
Yes.
he did not.
Yes.
No, he did not.
He got the Oscar nod because of.
His death.
Because he died?
Which rest in peace, but
I think he deserved the nomination 1,000%.
yes,
but
absolutely.
we can never truly say he would have won because of that. It's too much of an Oscar
and
to give it to him.
take your hatred for the movie out of it, but
I don't hate it.
if he didn't die, did you want to see him in the third one?
1,000%. He was going to be in the film.
No,
Right.
I don't. I wanted Two-Face. Oh, we're going. I'm gonna go into.
But Two-Face dies in the second
and it's
one.
bullshit. He's fucking He's Two-Face, man. You don't fucking introduce him in one movie and kill him in the same movie. It's
I
fucking
believe
bullshit.
Right after this happens, this is what James Gordon says is going to happen. He says the people will hate you for it.
Yeah.
The people will hate you for it. But he's the one that can do it.
Yeah.
Fucking
Make the
Two-Face
right
should have been the
choice.
bad guy in the third movie. You don't fucking establish somebody and kill him off in the same movie, especially the caliber of fucking Two-Face. You do that to fucking Holiday or the fucking Calendar Man. Somebody smaller than fucking Zaz. You don't
know.
fucking kill.
I don't disagree with not killing Two-Face, but I do disagree when you're doing a trilogy and know you're doing a trilogy, and these guys aren't. This is way before the Marvel days of 10 movies from now we're gonna be mixing up.
Right.
Like Nolan knew I'm doing 3 of these fuckers and I'm out.
Yeah.
Right.
So at some point you got to start making hard big decisions.
Yeah.
But like you said,
So,
like you
but
know,
again, does it need to be the Two-Face 9? No, but I do think you can axe a main character. You got to start.
and like Heath Ledger did die, and that did change Christopher
Yeah.
Lord of
Nolan's.
the Rings and shit,
Yo.
dude. Like, people catch fucking arrows left and right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if that's kind of the thing is if
We don't
I
speak.
know.
We don't speak about Lord of the Rings on this podcast.
Well,
Why,
There's
you
only
don't
one
like Lord of the Rings?
return, and it's of the Jedi.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. So my favorite villain's gonna be the new Riddler.
I like that pick.
Okay. I'll disagree with it, but
Who's the best Alfred?
ooh,
It's hard to hate OG Alfred.
yeah.
Like, that guy's literally like comic book Alfred. I don't even know his name. I don't even know what actor
No.
that is. But Michael Caine's my favorite.
Michael Caine's favorite.
Okay. What is his name? Michael Golf? Is
The
that-
like old like
yeah,
the
from,
guy
from '89 Batman. Yeah.
yeah, and then who was in the
All four of them. Yeah.
yeah.
I think his name's Michael Golf.
Maybe.
British actor.
Who do you like?
I'll put it on the screen. Michael Caine.
Yeah,
Michael Caine. Yeah,
Michael
Michael
Caine's
Caine's
my
good.
favorite.
Honestly, I haven't had an Alfred where I hate.
I agree. Well,
Like
Do I have an Alfred section in here?
even like the new
I
one.
don't have an Alfred section in the new one, so we can talk about Alfred in this one.
Have you-
I have a note on that too.
Have any of you guys
Yes,
seen?
'cause I told you that he was my least favorite.
Yeah, and
that
I
I had
note on it.
he was my least favorite of the new movie of all the actors in this movie.
Andy?
Andy Serkis was my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to know what's interesting about this whole situation? And you might know this already.
Well, I think you told me that it was a scheduling issue.
Well, he was originally supposed to play Penguin. And
really?
They wanted him to play Penguin because of his background in.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah,
he
yeah.
was really interested, but he already had a movie booked when they were shooting it.
Venom
And
2?
I'm guessing.
Okay.
But I can't remember. I don't know if they even committed to saying what it was.
Okay.
But he basically said, like, I can't be Penguin. Like, I can't do the shooting schedule. Well, Matt Reeves really wanted to work with him still and said, well, what do you think about Alfred? Because and that's why Alfred also is kind of smaller in the movie.
Right, in the
because they
movie.
literally were kind of shooting Alfred for Andy Serkis's schedule.
Okay.
So they only had him a couple days, which
This is
sucked.
fucking bullshit,
Which
man.
sucks.
Like fucking Matt Reeves, get him in the fucking sequel, man.
But and that's the thing.
Don't cut down Alfred.
But
But that's the thing, if you really want, that's like real movies. Like that's how that shit
Yeah,
works.
I
That's
guess.
how Daredevil got made. Like Daredevil's would not have got original Daredevil with Ben Affleck doesn't get made unless Kevin Smith releases him because he was on contract to do a Kevin Smith movie.
Oh, okay.
Kevin
my
Smith
God.
had to allow him to be Batman or to be Daredevil because he was like, so that shit happens. So when you really want to work with someone, I mean,
But my thing with this, have you guys either of you seen Pennyworth on?
I have,
No,
Yeah.
you told me about it. Though.
I have.
So that kind of gives you like a background about Alfred, a little different. Like, hey,
I'm not
Alfred's actually a
super- Yeah,
badass,
he was like a seal.
Yeah.
and that's what I think.
There's
the
been
Duke-
comics. They delved
Yeah.
into that shit in the comics. Like
And
he briefly mentioned it. In this
And I
one.
think this is the Alfred that they're trying to portray in the new Batman. That he's an ex Special Forces guy that ended up working for the Waynes.
Yeah.
And now
It's more,
and they don't say it really. They don't come out, but they do kind of hint at it that Alfred is the one that taught Bruce Wayne how to fight.
he
and
said he
stuff
trained you how to fight,
Oh, yeah.
but I fucking hope that's not the case.
I think they're gonna lean more into that idea versus like trained by the League of Shadows type
Right.
thing.
I hope
like,
not.
But I do think that's
The only reason why I hope not I hope they don't do that is because if this Bruce Wayne didn't go to the League of Shadows, that means we will never get a Damian Wayne, and I'm holding out for a Damian Wayne.
No, I don't.
Not true.
I
I disagree.
But then how would he have met Talia?
But-
he would have had to go to the League of Shadows.
He can still run into the League of Shadows.
Yeah.
He can easily run into the League of Shadows. They're about
Yeah,
about
but
to
that-
get into Court of Owls bullshit, which is gonna coincide with League of Shadows.
Yeah, but it wouldn't. The weight of it all wouldn't hold.
I
the
don't.
weight of it
I
all
don't think
wouldn't be
you're. I
as
don't think
bad.
you're going to see that in this. I think.
do
I
too.
think they'll. I think they'll do 3 movies with this crew.
I hope they do 5.
No, not
But I
happening.
don't think
I'm sick. I'm sick of this fucking automatic trilogy shit. Give me a fucking 5
they're gonna
movies,
do-
or give me 2 movies. It just seems fucking.
I think they will do Court of Owls before they do League of Shadows.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
because
think
it's
you're
so
going to see
fresh.
it. I don't
League
think
of
you're.
Shadows
But
is
they don't even
fresh
have. They don't
from
even have to
Batman.
go into the backstory of League of Shadows. They can. That already happened.
They already did the League of Shadows with the Nolan. Matt Reeves is going to do his own stuff.
Yeah,
You're not going to see it. You're going to see bad guy.
That's fine, but I want Damian Wayne.
But, like,
and that's
that
that's
was-
neither here nor
that
there.
was a
because
big
we can
problem.
argue about it, but doesn't mean it's gonna fucking happen.
I mean, again, I know we're not really reviewing the movie yet, but my big thing with this movie is that why did they bring the Joker in? Like now
Fuck,
now
man.
you're on the hook.
That's
for
a big hit. That's the last thing we're talking about in the fucking Batman.
Well, I mean, Jesus, I don't even know where we're at on your fucking script because you
Oh
don't
my
make
God.
copies.
We're doing Alfred, all right? We're on Alfred right now. Just fucking go off. Okay, who had the best bat voice?
Ooh. I want to say Robert Pattinson. I like Robert Pattinson.
I agree. I think Robert Pattinson did the best.
Yeah.
It wasn't as fucking growly as Bale, which he got shit for in the second ones.
I fuck with Val Kilmer's Batman too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna go Ben Affleck for a second.
Don't get me started. He was perfect for the part, and they fucked him up, man. They fucked him up on the writing, dude. The writing fucked that man so hard.
Yeah.
And it's terrible, so I'm not gonna say like, oh well, if it was, he would have been better if it was this or that.
Yeah.
Like, no, like it was shitty.
Absolutely.
Because
they fucked him, man.
they
It's sad, but whatever.
they did something, an injustice to Ben Affleck that they gave Robert Pattinson. They immediately explained in this movie that Robert Pattinson's only been Batman for 2 years. And they waited so long to explain that Ben Affleck is an old Batman. He's been doing it for so long. And I think everybody was like, oh, we're going to see Ben Affleck be this badass and everything like that. And they never explained it that, like, he's kind of at the end of his rope.
And I think a Batman voice, on paper, a voice changer sounds like a good idea. But then when you see it in film, it doesn't work as well.
No, right.
Like when you do an actual voice change, it's silly on paper. It looks silly, but for some reason it just plays on camera. Whereas like when Batman would get in his suit and then all of a sudden it like had the mechanized voice, like it's still kind of scary, intimidating. But I don't know. It's just like it doesn't hit the same to me.
I can see that for sure. So who was your favorite bat voice then?
Like I said, I did like Pattinson quite a bit.
Okay.
But I like Val Kilmer.
Val okay.
Kilmer as Batman is fucking
That's
pretty
been two.
dope, man.
That's been 2 picks on fucking Kilmer's. I'm gonna have to
he's
go and
not
watch
bad.
it. I'm gonna
He's
have to go.
not bad.
I'll have to go and watch it. It's been a long
It's
time.
definitely underrated.
Who had the best Batcave?
Ooh. I'm going to go Keaton. I'm going to say Michael Keaton.
That's like most classic for sure. Like,
But
dude lives in a goddamn cave.
I'm going Batman v Superman. I really liked his cave. I like that he had fucking the space. I like that he had the Robin suit on display.
Suit,
there's some cool shit about it. I like that there was a work area for Alfred to finish building the fucking craft that I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
But I think that Batman v Superman had a badass Batcave.
I like definitely in Batman Returns when they go down to the cave and
the actual bats in there, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have the whole setup where he like intercepts the penguin signal. I think that was kind of cool and stuff like that. They actually show more of that.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. None of them really have a bad Batcave.
I was gonna say that they actually, and I don't even like Batman vs Superman at all. But like even this, I have problems with things in the Batcave in those movies.
Okay.
I don't like how like the Justice League shit has Wayne Enterprise plastered all over it.
Okay.
I think that's a little bit of a misstep in the design elements, which they took out in the Snyder cut. So someone finally said
somebody's just like this, and they're like, "Fucking Wayne Enterprise is on the side of that shit." Oh, fuck, it's Bruce Wayne.
When the Justice League is flying in their jet plane, and all of a sudden there's a Wayne Enterprise logo on the back fin, that's a little bit like, oh, I wonder who's funding the fucking Justice League.
Yeah, look at that shit.
They
fucking open the doors and they got projectors
and I wish I
on the
was wrong
ground.
about that. Like this is, if you go watch the original Justice League in the Batcave where they all meet up, there's the goddamn Wayne Enterprise.
I don't even remember it
on the ship. And it's
I don't remember it either. I gotta check it out.
You're arguing fucking Wayne Enterprise product placement right now. What's your favorite Batcave?
He caught me. I'm gonna give a hot take, but I really liked Bale's Batcave.
Which one?
When he moved it to when it was
that basement with all the white lights and shit?
which everyone in LA now shoots music videos in, like that kind of thing. It's like a very popular. Everyone uses it to shoot. But I thought the idea of like when it blew up, and he also had a good Batcave at his house in the manor, like built into like this underground railroad and shit, like kind of dope.
Yeah,
but I think when he moved like to the shipping container and like it lowered down and was just open and just had like all his little toys and shit like kind of around, I enjoyed that. I thought that was a pretty cool. I'm leaving. Pretty.
We're moving on to the next thing. We're going to the Batman right now.
No, but I think it's a decent Batcave. I like the new Batman's Batcave too.
Like that.
Like the fact that
bus station or train station or something like that.
As a practical type Batcave, like really cool. Like
it works out.
That Ninja Turtles vibe.
It did, and it works out well because at least in the comics right now, Batman. So like Bruce Wayne lost all of his equity.
Correct. So
now he's in the cave. He's in the tunnels of fucking Gotham, and it's badass.
Yeah. So I didn't mind it. I actually thought it was kind of a cool.
No, I
take
liked it
at,
too.
Like a place, but like you were saying, like Jack said, I mean, there hasn't really been a bad Batcave. Not gonna like
No.
all the Batcaves have been pretty solid. But I mean, it's pretty easy. You put a
They have
big
been.
computer in there, and you like put the Batmobile on display, and that's pretty much all you do.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a tinkle. I'm sorry.
Tinkle. Who's the best Bruce Wayne?
Ooh.
I got some hot takes on this.
I could go really into this because.
Don't go really into it.
Okay, God.
I really want to get to the Batman. I don't even care about the fucking time. I want to get to the Batman. Because we keep drawing everything back to the Batman, so we're like,
That's why I
fuck,
didn't
let's
wanna
just get it
even
right back
mention
to
it.
it.
That's why I didn't want to even mention it, man.
I'm going to say best Bruce Wayne, I think, is Val Kilmer.
I disagree. I think it's Clooney, as crazy as that sounds. I
No,
know.
Clooney is good. Clooney is good.
Is Bruce Wayne. He's
In real life, yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
I'm saying. And Clooney wins Oscars when he plays Clooney. And now I do think Bruce Wayne wise, Bruce Wayne has so much billionaire Bruce Wayne swag. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome. Now, it's not as developed as a character because it's just,
Yeah.
it's campy. I'm not saying he's the fucking but I think like look wise and like pulling off that character, I think Clooney does it extremely well.
He does.
Terrible fucking Batman.
Yeah.
But good Batman.
I'm going Bale.
Bruce Wayne.
Bale's my favorite.
Just a little, I have a little stat on that. Bob Kane actually said that Val Kilmer was the person that he pictured most playing Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne, not Batman, but
Okay.
Bruce Wayne.
See, I like Val Kilmer's Batman a lot. I think he's great as Batman. I don't
Okay.
like him as much as Bruce.
Which I'm going to have that coming up here. Who's the worst Batman?
I would say Clooney.
Yeah, like in the cowl, Clooney's pretty bad.
That was my pick as well.
It's pretty bad. Well, you can tell he hated every moment of it,
Right.
too. So it's just one of those things where it didn't.
I would.
It didn't
I gotta
work.
look. I'd love to look up more research of like interviews at the time and see if he was
I can
fucking
tell you,
stoked for
Do you
it.
have worse Bruce Wayne as your next question?
No, I
'Cause
don't. I
got
didn't
an
care about
opinion
worst
on
Bruce
worst
Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Unless you got a worse Bruce Wayne
Affleck for sure, dude.
as the worst Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Yes, dude. He's like a dumb fucking like piggy. It's not Bruce Wayne. And it's not. And I get the whole like, oh, his persona of like when he gets caught in the server room.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, I was drinking and got lost to the bathroom. Like it's like it was like it's I feel like it's very poorly written Bruce Wayne. It doesn't feel like Bruce Wayne at all. It just feels very.
can't remember the last time I watched that movie either.
uncharacteristic of him. Well,
I was gonna say the Met Gala. He was fine at the Met Gala, but that server room is at the Met Gala. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of moments that just aren't Bruce Wayne at all. Like it's a type of Bruce Wayne character and idea, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hit that like what Bruce Wayne means. Again, I hate those.
I gotta rewatch
so
like everything.
a lot of Snyder
thought
people
I-
are gonna hate me on.
I
this.
thought I did enough by going to watch Batman Begins, but
No, I mean that's like watching like the purest form of it. Like that's tough. That's like for me that's the benchmark.
best Batman.
Oh, man. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to go Robert Pattinson.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, again, we should have just got into the movie.
That's why I didn't want to say it because like before this movie, I would say like Bale all day long.
Uh-huh.
But after this, Robert Pattinson.
Ooh, I'm still going Bale.
That's cool.
Bale's still my favorite.
I feel like this is a perfect, like, we can just go right into the review of the Batman.
Do you guys want to just go into the review of the Batman?
Yeah, because
I had a breakup of it and just talk about the comic book talk.
No, I think we should just go right into the review of the Batman.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. This is just the shit that I've picked up from the comic book store since the last episode. Okay.
I was going to say, we could end it with that.
No, because this. Okay, I got this.
Is that Beast?
This is the Beast.
I have not been to the comic book store
We're
this
big.
time.
Yeah, I know you haven't. I've probably spent.
I
I've
know.
only spent like $100-something. You were keeping tabs of how much I was
I
spending.
was.
This is the Beast Funko Pop. We're big Beauty and the Beast fans. I got this one.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
Wally and Eve.
Wally, yeah.
Zosha wanted it, so
Nice.
I had to get it.
I like things like that. They're like kind of like a little scene.
I got too many of the Disney scenes when I first got into Funko Pops. I can't. I got too
And
many
then-
pops.
I also picked up. So these are the regular comics that I picked up. Well, this is Batman: The Killing Joke or Batman: Killing Time. This is a brand new comic, issue 1 of 6 that are coming out. These are 2 issues that are. This is Batman issue 121.
prequel things.
No, these are. This is just variant covers, variant art covers.
That's so cool, actually.
This is Batman 121, and this is Detective Comics 1056.
Where'd you get those at the store?
Yep, comic book store.
Nice.
Variant covers.
Cool.
Only took me a minute and a half. All done.
And I haven't been to the comic book store this month, so
All right.
I'm actually going on Tuesday to get the new night. So
Yes.
So,
All right. Let's go with the Batman. This movie was released this year. Highly anticipated movie. I'm glad.
spoilers alert.
Like,
Please go see the
glad,
movie.
I am glad that they did
see
not
the
push
movie.
this one back. You know how many people would have been fucking raged if they pushed this movie back?
But think about it. How many times Ben Affleck was originally supposed to star in this. You got to remember that. He
was supposed to get the solo Batman.
Yeah, he was supposed. This was originally supposed to be Ben Affleck's movie. He was supposed to write it, direct it, and the whole thing. And then
That's the thing, though. You don't get Matt Reeves, you don't get this Batman.
No, absolutely.
you don't.
So I mean, it has kind of changed quite a bit.
I'm interested to know what Ben Affleck's take would have been because I admire Ben Affleck's fucking directing.
He's
won an Oscar.
We were bonding off that for sure when The Town came out and even Argo.
That's why I think I'm so hurt by the DCU and Batfleck is like I was Ben Affleck's like biggest like this is Batman, like we've got it right.
Yeah,
this is it. And
finally.
it was not it at all. I was like, wow, I have to just like shut up. Like,
Well, I mean, the bad guy in Affleck's was supposed to be Deathstroke, so
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so first impressions of the Batman after the first watch.
I'm not gonna lie. I loved how the movie started. There's no really like credit scene to roll into it. It just comes up and it just flashes the Batman.
The Batman.
And it's kind of like an old school like logo, where I was like, oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
And really from the start, I was like, holy shit, this is fucking good.
Yeah.
Arguably, probably the best like 15-minute opener of a comic book movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, not only do you get your setup of the villain in that creepy moment, but I'm talking like right from that moment, you go right into the Batman monologuing and setting the scene of like what Gotham is.
Right.
And, like that type of shit together in the first 15 minutes is like, okay, I know what movie I'm about to get into.
And the monologue is fantastic because you get that in the comics where you
That's
get these.
what I'm saying.
You don't get. It's not just a talk bubble of Batman saying what's happening. It's the fucking boxes where it's just his thoughts and Bruce Wayne's. And I love that it's Bruce Wayne's fucking diaries or his journals.
And them like just re-showing like the dark hallway shots and him not there, and like showing how the symbol scares the guy and he steps back into traffic.
Yeah.
It's like little shit like that.
Right.
All adds up to like be like this is the mood and the fear and the
whole
we're
tone
all
that we're
working
going
at.
with, yeah.
And then when he does actually show up, it hits so hard.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
How he comes on the screen, where he comes out of the shadow and he's just slowly walking. I thought that was like, okay, that's awesome. He's not jumping down from the ceiling. He's not doing something crazy. He just comes from the shadows, and they're like, well, who the fuck are you? Blah, blah, blah. And he just beats the shit out of 10 guys. I'm like, okay, this is cool.
The one time that like we've always kind of had that idea of, at least me, is I'm just so preconceived that Batman is this silent mover and watcher and is silent where he walks around everywhere and pops up on people. Mm-hmm. One of the most intimidating things in the world was hearing those heavy fucking boots.
Oh yeah.
Just getting closer from the dark.
Like Western spurs were coming.
Like, and there was nothing you could do about it. And like when he shows up, it's just like, that's what makes Batman terrifying.
Yeah.
Like not always just hanging down like, I'm right here. It's like the impending doom of like, what are we going to do? Because he's coming.
Yes.
Like, that was very scary and very new.
It
like,
was.
It was a very new thing.
And then, like, I'm going to be completely honest, first impression, it was a fucking long movie.
Yeah,
It was.
And I was like, even as a Batman fan, I was like, fuck.
But they didn't
And
try-
that was one of those scenes, because you said when he's walking out, it's intimidating. But so in the first 15 minutes, I was cool with that build-up. But in the other times, I'm like, can he walk a little fucking faster? Like,
See, I disagree with that. I thought the movie didn't drag on for
I didn't think it felt like a 3 hour movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but I could see. I guess when I was watching it, and I knew it was going to be almost 3 hours long. As somebody who edits films, you're sitting there like they could have cut this.
Correct.
They could have.
I give you that 100%.
Yeah,
There's
I'm like,
tons
this could have
of
been
places
gone.
that I was
Yeah.
like, all right, we could have.
Yeah.
Even I love the car chase, but there's even some parts of the car chase that you're like, okay, you could have nicked 10 seconds there. Like,
Right. Yeah.
But I'm
This shit's
totally
gonna add
cool.
up, yeah.
I'm always for long movies because I think the idea of 90-minute movies is what's killing movies today.
Yeah.
Studios are so worried at having things at 90 minutes or a hard 2 hours at 120 because of run times and how many times they can show a 2-hour movie versus a 2-hour and 15 or 2-hour and 30-minute movie just because of times and all that. It really hurts storytelling. It really fucks things up. So when you get a guy that goes, I'm going to make a 3-hour movie and fuck you, dude, just sit through it. that's when you know you're getting actually what his story is.
Which is crazy because the highest grossing films in the world,
Correct.
like top 10, are
It's the people
3 hour long movies.
That's why it's so.
And I think you got a 3 hour movie because the anticipation for this movie was just so overwhelming. I think they just wanted to put it all out there.
Yeah.
Well, and that was Matt Reeves' contract when he signed up. He was like, "Look, I will take the risk. You don't have to pay me a lot and all that, but you're not touching my fucking movie. I'm gonna make because he saw what happened to Snyder. He's you know what happens in the industry if you are a director in the industry.
Yeah.
And he obviously had a vision he wanted to execute, and that was his whole thing was like, I get to make the movie I want to make, and you guys deal with it. And they've made what, $300 million?
Yeah, I know. It's.
I have the number here.
All right.
If you want the number now, I can give you the number now. Okay, so just for reference, Spider-Man No Way Home made $128 million over the weekend. The Batman made $134 million over the weekend.
What did I tell you before Batman came out? Spider-Man's cool. Batman is king.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And people hate to say it, and people are, oh, DC only has Batman. It's like, I understand. Spider-Man is awesome. Marvel is awesome. Everything is really cool. But at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, Batman is king.
100% right. Everybody's going to see Batman.
Absolutely, yeah.
It is, bro.
Everybody's going to see Batman.
And that proves it. You had I don't think Batman had the hype of Spider-Man, but I think more people were geeked out, aware of Spider-Man, what and
absolutely.
It beat it. That's crazy.
So we all loved it. We all loved it after the first impression.
Absolutely.
I don't think any of us were like, "Fuck this movie." Maybe I need another watch because I do have one friend who was like, "Meh."
I've had a couple people say that to me too, and it's like.
I think it's the run. I honestly think it's the runtime that is the hardest thing for people to get around. Is that as a Batman fan, we're like, yes, give me more. Give me more. Exactly. Give me more. Yep. But as a regular moviegoer, I can see that they're like, man, okay, we fucking get it. There's a problem. Let's fucking solve it.
I mean, the one thing I was excited to see Colin Farrell in the movie and things like that. But the one thing I couldn't get behind before seeing the movie was Robert Pattinson, Twilight's gonna be fucking playing Batman.
You've never seen Good Times, my friend.
But
I've never seen Good Times, but I've seen him in other things.
I've seen him in other things too, and I'm like, and again, he was just I can't think of the movie. That's gonna be embarrassing, but he was just in a movie with he plays a preacher that's a creep. But I'm
The Lighthouse?
I can't remember
With Willem Dafoe?
No, that's not it. Oh yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, he's in that
I haven't
too.
seen that movie, but I heard it's amazing.
It's an art movie.
But again,
That's fine.
He's Twilight, and you're like, okay, why are you doing this to Batman?
Listen to me.
Blew my mind. Let me finish. Blew my fucking mind. Honestly, I think he saved the fucking movie. And like you said earlier about Batman, the Dark Knight is that it's a Heath Ledger movie. Yeah. In this movie, it's fucking Robert Pattinson. Yeah. It is the Batman.
It is the Batman,
and
movie.
He steals the fucking show.
And that's my biggest. So one of my biggest problems, everyone's like, oh, fucking Twilight, fucking Edward Diggory is gonna end up playing fucking the Batman. You know how many people were like, the gay cowboy's gonna play the Joker? Yeah. And he was fucking amazing in Brokeback Mountain. If you've watched Brokeback Mountain,
100%.
he's fucking. It's a beautiful film.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but still, it's just the fact that that's what it is, and everybody loves Batman. You're like, oh, come on, and you're coming off Affleck, and Affleck didn't get a good reputation playing Batman. You're like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this again? And again, I'm saying I was fucking wrong. Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, you said he was your best Batman. He
blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
And Batman, too, I was in the camp of Robert Pattinson's about to give us the best Bruce Wayne of all time. That's where I was.
And he gave an excellent Bruce Wayne.
And he wasn't even that much Bruce. There wasn't that much Bruce Wayne.
No, there was. It was one fucking scene.
I don't hate it because we've always gotten so much Bruce Wayne where we finally are getting a Batman where we realize Bruce, and it's always said, but it's literally Bruce Wayne is the cover. He would ditch Bruce Wayne tomorrow if he could.
You don't get the Playboy billionaire Batman.
That's fine.
I hope we get more Bruce Wayne in the sequel.
We will, because I think now you're gonna get. I think Robert Pattinson was an amazing choice because he is. It's much like Clooney being Bruce Wayne. He's young Bruce Wayne. He was this dude who had made all this money, super successful as a young kid, but then was fucking pitted as the Twilight kid.
Right.
And as an actor, and as you see Robert Pattinson being this dude who loves dark, crazy characters, that had to eat him away, being Mr. Twilight. So you have 10 years of being Mr. Twilight, not a serious actor and all that shit. You're basically a pent up, angry Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
in a sense.
he owns the fuck out of it now too.
And
He's like, oh yeah, I was Edward.
Even before this movie, Robert Pattinson in every movie has the best emo brooding stare of all time. He does it in every movie.
Oh,
He
yeah.
does it once a movie. It's his thing, and that's what Bruce Wayne
Even
does.
Twilight, he fucking has it.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Yeah. So you put those two together, and you're like, he's just sitting. I could watch him sit in a chair and just think about things for an hour because it's just the dude knows how to act with his eyes.
He does.
He knows how to just be very little and very, very, very precise with what he's doing and tell you a lot of things.
Yeah,
he's very good.
I want more of his Bruce Wayne. I want to see more of that.
Absolutely.
In the sequel.
But I think you are because, like, in this movie, in the beginning, obviously in this movie, it's the start of telling the story, and you know, he tells you, like, hey, I don't need to be Bruce Wayne. I need to be Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And where, like, other people are like, no, Gotham needs Bruce Wayne. And at the end, he kind of realizes, you know, they not only need Batman, but they need me as Bruce Wayne, like, because Gotham's now underwater.
Yeah, like Gotham could use Bruce Wayne's help now.
Yeah,
Correct.
and I think now, like, again, he's early on as Batman. I think he's now coming into realization, you'll see it in the second movie where he needs to be Bruce Wayne and Batman.
And there is no like Wayne Manor. It's like Arkham. It's all an orphanage that's all desecrated and stuff. So it's like I have a feeling we are going to see that.
Which is interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong. Does he ever live in Wayne Tower outside of the Batman?
In the comics, he does.
Oh, okay.
In year one, I want to say.
I think so.
But it's the same kind of idea of he lives there when he's like, before he realizes, like, okay, I need to actually put some stake back in the Wayne name.
Right.
So it's the same kind of idea of like him not giving attention to any of that. But I think it's the same situation. I think he ends up buying the old whatever and restoring it and making it like Wayne Manor.
Okay.
Something that did have me worried about this movie when it first, even up to like the last 2 weeks before it came out, they kept releasing these fucking posters. Have you like the amount of posters that came out for this movie?
They were so good, though.
They were, but I was like, "Fuck!" They're trying to help. They're trying to hype us up because this movie's not going to be that great. But and we had talked weeks beforehand. I'm like, "This fucking movie's gonna be great because it's gonna kill it. It's gonna be the best Batman movie ever." And I'm like, "Why do they keep releasing shit for this movie? Why do they keep giving us teaser trailers and trailers with more footage?" I'm like, "They want asses in the seats. It's not gonna be a good movie." And man, was I fucking wrong?
I was definitely wrong. I didn't think it was going to be good.
Good at all? You just thought it was gonna be a Batman movie?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I thought it was going to be okay. I thought it was going to be like, okay, they obviously are just trying to get the idea of like Snyder and fucking Affleck out of people's minds. And, you know, they again, start getting this movie started. It just sounded like a clusterfuck. Because, again, it was originally Ben Affleck's movie, and that all changed, and they brought in everybody else. And now, like, everybody's like, okay, well, they're putting Colin Farrell in it. They're putting Jeffrey Wright in it. You know, John, the guy that plays Falcone.
John Turturro?
Yeah, you know, they're putting, you know, Zoe Kravitz is in it. And
Paul Dano's a heavy hitter too. Like,
Paul-
it's not a
Paul-
small name actor.
And again, like, I love how what they did with Paul Dano, like, they don't show his face until the very end of the movie, and, you know, like, he's psychotic. And I like I said, I was dead wrong. I was like, holy shit, like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And, like, again, it was from, I went in there, I was the only one in the movie. But I'm like, the minute the Batman showed up, I was like, oh, I already like this. Like, there's no, like, you know, there's, I know, I mean, like, there's no lion roaring or anything, like, anything. It's just the Batman.
Yeah.
And you're fucking into the movie, and you're like, whoa.
Speaking of the movie opening, were you guys excited that there was no fucking origin story?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was great.
The fact that they showed what happened to Bruce through the eyes of another kid at the scene of the murder, like, of what's happening and starting this Batman story, smartest way they could have done it.
Right.
Him staring at that little kid who's now lost his father,
right,
and is sitting on the bed.
You know why? You know what he's experiencing
Correct.
through his eyes, his
And
fucking eyes, like he was saying.
Is, you have that moment of like Batman, like you know in that moment, this is why Batman's doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes, there's criminals and money and all this, but it's because at one point he was that little kid and it ruined his life, and he wants to make sure it never happens to anyone else again. And then it does happen, and it's like that was the perfect way for me. Now, granted, if you don't know Batman's backstory, you may not be as happy with them just covering it in a little news article.
I would hope.
Like,
I would hope by now people.
but you know what I mean? They've done it in every single movie.
Exactly.
We've always
And
asked
it's-
them, like, we don't need to know. It's like,
And it's the Spider-Man thing too. It's
Correct.
like I don't need to see fucking Uncle Ben die in
I
every
love
goddamn
that,
movie. Yeah,
and I love that in
Yep.
Spider-Man. It's like be fresh with it, and that was perfect. I think you just show it through the eyes of another kid, and
Absolutely.
works.
But and they still do tell the story. They
they
cover it. So I mean, like,
Yes.
if you're not familiar with Batman, which I don't know how you're not.
True.
I mean, like, his parents die.
Yeah.
But they do tweak the story a little bit, and I love it. And again, it's not an original story, but like, hey, the mom's kind of Looney Tunes, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's originally Martha Wayne was kind of crazy, and I'm like, okay, they're putting that in there. I'm like, that's awesome. I'm like, that could lead to something, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they don't beat the dead horse in this in every bat, and then that's what I really liked. I was like, okay,
Do they say that Bruce was there when they died?
yeah,
They say
do.
those words?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, no, he was there.
I was going off of like a rogue theory of
they
mate,
say,
are they dead? Are they
say
dead?
the
Could
mother-
Alfred be his dad?
No.
They said like the mother and were with their child or some shit, the young Bruce Wayne or some shit like that.
That'd be interesting. That'd be a nice little theory of maybe Alfred is his dad. Maybe his dad's still alive and it's Alfred. Just food for thought.
I got some cool Alfred ideas. I'm not. Well, we'll share them off air. We're trying to make some money off these things.
Okay, so PG-13 movie. Can you guys tell? Can you believe
No,
that
I
was
could
fucking
not tell.
PG-13?
It would
Absolutely
have been
not.
better if it was R though.
I mean, they did say fuck one time.
You get your one fuck.
You get your one fuck. I was upset that it was the dude that I can't.
I think
it
they
was,
just wanted to set the tone early because
Okay.
you know what's funny too. I had the second time I saw it. There was two families that walked in with really really small kids.
Ooh, how little? How
The
high?
one-
Just show me how high.
The one was like,
Oh, wow,
small,
okay.
and the other one I was like, Batman fan maybe. Nah, I'm not gonna judge.
Yeah.
But the one I was like, this is not gonna go well. And I was even one that thought like I've seen a lot of people that are like, do not bring your kids, and I didn't think it was like that bad. It's dark and scary, but I didn't think it was that bad. But when I saw this little girl, I was like, this isn't gonna go well.
Yeah.
And like within the first like 10 minutes after the guy finally like as soon as he said fuck, it was like that was the point that like the mom definitely leaned over to her husband and was like, we're leaving. Like,
Oh.
and then they stood up and left. He was kind of pissed though, because he was mad about like you could tell that guy didn't know the movie he just walked into.
Okay.
So, because he was like, what, is that Alfred? Like, what is it? You know, he was
Oh,
like that kind
okay.
of guy. So, like, I don't think he minded leaving too, but he also realized, like, damn, I fucked up bringing my really, really small daughter here.
Well, maybe they were just a family who was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a Batman movie.
And exactly, and that's what I think.
PG-13 though.
And exactly, but
It was. I think
it's good. It's for a PG-13. It's better than I thought it was going to. be.
Absolutely.
It's darker
I
than
mean,
thought it
you didn't
would
bring
be.
your kids to the movie.
No, I did
Yeah,
not.
So I mean,
and I don't think I would bring Amelia to see it. No, I wouldn't bring either of them to see it.
no.
The Riddler's tough, man.
It's really the opening scene as well as the fucking scene with where the fucking guy's got a bomb on his neck, and I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh. And I had told you before because I had texted you. I'm like, do you think Under the Red Hood's too violent to show Zosha? And I'm like, and she watched it, and it's not very violent. There are some violent scenes, but
It's
we
different when
try
it's a
to
cartoon, too, which I like.
we try to stick to no human on human violence. So like the Avengers have like gods or
Right.
monsters or
Yeah,
creatures
I get
fighting
what-
humans,
Right.
But this is
That-
human on human fucking bashing in heads with.
The opening scene,
fucking
yeah, when the Riddler comes in and kills the mayor, like you're just like that's creepy. It's just like
They did such a good job, like that PG-13.
And if you read anything about who Matt Reeves created the Riddler off of, it's the Zodiac. Like it's just like okay, well you shouldn't be bringing your kids. Like
Yeah.
he literally, it's a real serial.
Once you know
killer.
what the inspirations are, like Zodiac, Chinatown, and fucking Seven, you're like, yeah, I'm not gonna.
He built a saw rat contraption.
Yeah.
Right.
That thing, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
This is the type of Riddler I've been waiting for.
he's so good. So this is going to be a conversation more for you guys because you guys are the video game guys. How does the detective skills of this movie compare to the video games of Batman and detectives and shit like that?
I feel like this movie was so close to the Arkham games as far as like fighting and like how Bruce or how Batman like
Right.
moved. And now the video games are a little more comic-y where like you get away with doing a little bit more like crazy shit. Like he has just a cape that he can kind of fly
Okay.
over.
Right.
You dial off any little surface, you can get air and kind of fly around
Okay.
Gotham. Like there's a little bit more of that kind of shit. But like as far as like
When he's fighting large groups,
oh my god, that felt like the video
you were in the game. You were like,
in the
okay,
video game.
that's how he fights large groups in the game. And
Correct. Mixing in your like his little like kind of like his shot glove thing he had,
Okay.
like mixing
Oh,
in your
yeah.
abilities
That was
with
badass.
Right.
your gadgets while you're fighting, and like he got hit, but it wasn't always about getting hit. It was kind of, he had to take a punch to put him positioned to that, like that's the idea of the game.
Like you said, he's got the oh my god, why can't I think of the Gatling gun?
Oh,
and he uses the Gatling
grapple
gun,
gun,
the grapple gun to bring people closer and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and really fuck them up, like that you do in the game. So
Yeah, because just I've never played the game, so
that as a to be honest, I know I've already texted you this, but like as a Batman fan, that is so sad to me because honestly, the games, not even the games playing them, but the stories of the games is some of the best Batman writing in my opinion.
I've heard the Batman games. Their fucking stories are amazing.
They're really good, man. So like I said, even if you don't play video games, go watch the
Here we go. Am I gonna watch? Should I watch these Batman game highlights, or should I go and watch Rebels, the episodes? That are more important?
That's a tough question.
Oh, my vote would. Well, I mean, you're gonna have. It'll blow through the Arkham things in like 3 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when you put all the cutscenes
you
together,
could just watch the you could just watch
the whole game. You can just do the cutscenes.
But and the one thing I will say about the game, especially Arkham Knight, obviously that's like the most recent one. Yeah, the newest one is that Scarecrow is the main bad guy.
True.
And in this one, it's the Riddler. And even though they are big Batman bad guys, they're not the Joker, which I really liked. I was like, okay, this is cool. It's not the Joker taking over Gotham City. It's the Scarecrow. And I thought that was kind of cooler. And, okay, hey, we're not always just Batman versus Joker. He does fight other bad guys.
Yeah.
And you can make, like I said, they copied the Riddler off the Zodiac. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I never even put that together. That's like so close. I'm like, that's fucking creepy. And they made him a creep.
Yeah.
They made him a creep.
And I will say, too, the way that this Batman interacts with the police, at least, like, through most of the movie, where they're, like, cool with the police, kind of. Like, they're iffy about him, but they accept him. That's how the games are. Like, you literally can walk into GCPD and people and, like, have conversations.
That's how some of the newer comics are getting, too.
It's like he's not enemy number. He's, like, the dude who has saved Gotham thousands of fucking times.
Right.
Like, we will give this guy whatever he needs because he's the only one that fixes things. That's how the games kind of are.
I did like how he, like, it's when he's investigating the mayor's death, and they bring him in, and he's just, like, slowly walking around, and they're just like, this is an active crime scene. Like, we just have this guy, like, walking around.
He's wearing gloves.
He's got gloves. He's got gloves. But no, I thought that was really cool, that how he interacted with the cops in this one. They're like, like you said, they're kind of not trusting him, but, like, they know he's not. And they never, like, frame Batman. They're never like,
it's never like hunt Batman like it usually turns into.
They know he's not part of it, and which is cool. I like that a lot too.
Well, that can bring us into, we could talk about Lieutenant Gordon.
Ooh.
Let's talk about Jeffrey Rush.
My favorite Gordon.
Right.
He was fucking amazing.
Jeffrey Wright.
I think, Jeffrey Wright.
Oh,
Jeffrey Wright.
did I say Jeffrey Gordon?
No, you said
Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah,
Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Wright.
Rush. Stupid me.
I liked him in this.
Jeffrey Wright, yeah.
And again, like I said, Robert Pattinson stole the show. I was happy that it wasn't like Gordon, was the bigger name or anybody like that. I was like, okay, he was good.
Yeah.
He was good, but he didn't outshine the star.
Yes.
Which I really liked.
Which was great because like their chemistry was so they were so much fun.
They
Seemed
right.
like
they felt like a Gordon Batman relationship to me.
It seemed like a team up. It did not seem like
they understood each other's humor, but
Right.
they weren't like campy about it. Like even when he's like, "I'm gonna need you to punch me in the face," like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Was so funny.
it was great because the comedy in this movie is not slap in your face fucking
the thumb drive.
thumb drive when he's like the face punch and he's like, I thought you could have pulled that punch back, and he's like, I did. I was like, this is great.
I got
this
you
is
out assaulting an officer. You can make it 3.
yeah.
That kind of shit was awesome.
Their chemistry together was great, and I can't wait to see what they do going forward because they just seem like so much fun.
And I do feel like he was such a good Gordon as far as like you could tell he was an honest cop, but he also like grabbed the respect of a lot of people on the force instantly, which is what you get in the comic books. You have the dirty scumbag police, but like when he walked into the stadium when everyone's freaking out and everyone's yelling and he was just like is like, shut up. And he's like, we need the queen, we need to look, and everyone shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And he was like, we're doing this, this, and this. It's like
because they're like, who's in charge? And he's like,
no one.
I guess it's me, man.
Correct.
Fuck, I'm stepping
and
up.
he's not commissioner yet. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
He's still lieutenant. It's like, that's the shit you see where you're like, that's my Gordon. Like,
Yeah.
that's why this
he was
guy
a great
is
Gordon.
the guy.
And I like when they do, like, he's not the commissioner. Like, they're showing him as, like, hey, he's a detective. He's a lieutenant. He's out in the field right now. He's not the boss. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I definitely, like, you could get the sense that there is a lot of corrupt cops in Gotham. But when they go and arrest Falcone at the end, and he walks, Falcone's like, oh, I own the police. You work for me. And he walks them out, and Gordon's like, well, you don't own all of us.
He's got his crew.
He's got his army of cops. You're like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah, that's.
And it's crazy to say that, like, that's my Gordon. Because it's like.
Well, he's a black Gordon, too.
Well,
like,
that's cool.
That's cool, too.
The bigger thing is, like, Gary Oldman played, and you're like,
and
"Fuck Gary!" Oh, you're like, yes. And now, and we love Gary Oldman. Yeah. We're like, you know what? Maybe he wasn't that great of a fucking Gordon anymore.
Gary Oldman,
he was good. Now watching him, like, he was good.
But like, I would rival that Gary Oldman is a bigger actor than Christian Bale. And I'd be like, and he does steal a little bit of show. Definitely in the Dark Knight. In the Dark Knight, Gary Oldman's a bigger character, and I'm like, man. In my opinion, Gary Oldman's 1,000 times better than Christian Bale in the third movie. And I'm like, in this movie, Jeffrey Wright's
third movie?
Yeah, like, he falls down the sewer, or he gets captured, and, he leads, like, the resistant cops when when Gotham's kind of taken over and everything like that. My opinion, he's better than Batman. And I'm like, how the fuck can you make a Batman movie where Commissioner Gordon's a lot cooler than fucking Batman?
No,
and in this movie, he's good. Jeffrey Wright's good, but, like, still, he doesn't outshine Robert Pattinson.
No, yeah.
I do think there was a lot of people, it was the same thing. It's like, when Jeffrey Wright got cast, there's a lot of people that were like, oh, he's a good actor, but, like, either they don't like him because they can't accept a black Gordon, or they're like, well, I don't see him being this character. And it's like, this guy proved, like, if you just write the character correctly and know what you're playing, you can be whoever you like. There was no doubt in my mind. I was like, this guy's a shoo-in great Gordon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like, honestly, like, people that are bitching about race and stuff like that, I was just like, didn't even.
Which, I mean,
I didn't even notice that.
I would love to know who the casting director was for this movie, and if Matt Reeves. I'm assuming every director has. I'm gonna look to you because I'm not in the business, but I'm assuming most directors have a final say or final word of, like, who gets cast.
Your casting director basically is in charge of getting the people to then get the tapes in front of your eyes. So the director is actually, like, the one that makes the final decision, unless a producer vetoes that.
So your casting director is the person who says,
your casting director here, I went through 17 hours of auditions to get you these 7, which I think are what you're looking for, you've asked for.
Okay.
So they do all the kind of bitch work, hard leg work, so the director is doing a million other things with the movie, doesn't have to sit down and watch 7 hours of auditions kind of thing. Yeah.
Gotcha. And they did a fucking good job.
Yeah.
Because
that's the thing, is your casting director is kind of the one to go, okay, we should go after them, we should go after them, we should go after them. The director went after fucking Paul Dano. Like, Reeves knew he wanted Paul Dano right away.
Mm.
So that's a totally different situation. But, like, most of your cast is your casting director going, like, oh, well, what about them? What about them? And then,
is there anybody in this movie that you guys don't like?
No. I think every single person
main character, no.
Yeah.
Every single person in this movie, I felt, portrayed what needed to be portrayed. They did a good job. They did a great job. Everyone did a great job portraying what they needed to get across, the emotions that they were supposed to feel. I feel like they underused, but to Tyler's story, that, fucking Andy Serkis just wasn't available as often as he could have been. I feel like he was
banking on. Like, if I'm wrong and that isn't the real reason, then I have a totally different take. But if that is the case, like, I understand that from a movie making point of view.
But no, I loved everybody. There's nobody that I could think of that I could replace, because to give a bigger name for, like, the people who end up dying or the mayor would have stolen the show or stolen the scenes for the people who actually do matter. I can't remember the guy who plays the district attorney who died.
Coulson? Well, I don't know his real name.
Yeah, I can't remember his real name. The dude from fucking Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That's immediately what I thought of. And I was like, even
head guy.
to even have him, I was like, oh man, I was like, what the fuck is he doing in this movie? They're not gonna kill him off, and I was like, oh shit, all right.
Well, I mean, look at
Peter Sarsgaard.
Peter Skarsgård. I knew he was a Skarsgård. I didn't know
the kid, the Skull Kid.
Yeah.
He plays fucking Robin in one of the TV shows.
the Titan show. I
That's
think
what I'm
is
saying.
what it
So,
is.
like,
Yeah,
even your little characters were like,
yeah,
you know, this is a big casting
it was.
thing.
While we're talking about cast, then let's just get into the cast. We'll go in specifics of them. Colin Farrell, man.
Yeah.
There's maybe one or two shots you can tell it is Colin Farrell. Other than that, you did not know.
Sam had no idea. She was like,
yeah.
"Where the fuck was Colin Farrell?" When we got in the car, I was like, "Colin Farrell fucking killed it. Every scene he was in, he was amazing." And she's like, "Where the fuck was Colin Farrell?" I was like, Penguin. She's like, "Oh my god, he was great."
Yeah, I mean, again, if you didn't know, I couldn't even tell it was Colin Farrell at all. But like the one thing I will say about him is like they gave him such a good character arc, and I'm glad that like you're gonna see him probably. He's obviously getting his own spinoff series.
He's the only one confirmed for the spinoff series.
Yeah, and like, but like they bring him in the sequel. Obviously now he's probably gonna be in charge of the mob. You know, Falcone's dead.
I hope he's not. If they go with a Penguin for the main villain, I hope it's not till the third movie. I think they need to build him up. I mean, to think that.
No,
I don't think he even needs to ever be the main villain.
Absolutely.
You just have him now.
Yeah,
as this
I'm cool with that too.
impending,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
criminal underboss that you have to deal with because that's
Absolutely.
I think where the Penguin actually serves his best. He's not one to put Batman in these crazy circumstances.
No, he's not.
He's a nuisance. He's a thing of information.
Because I think if you do see the Court of Owls in the second one, he's going to be like an ally and like a kind of an ally that Batman doesn't want to use to fight the Court of Owls because he's going to be the head of the mob.
Well, I think the Cobblepots are part of the issue of the Court of Owls anyways. I think it's like, I believe it's the Arkhams, the fucking Cobblepots. They're like the royalty or the heavy hitters of Gotham.
Yeah, but
but wouldn't that make the Cobblepots like anti Court of Owls because Cobblepots are the ones that get fucked out of all their.
I can't remember because I think the Waynes are the ones that don't want to join the court.
Yeah,
okay.
I just think
I can't remember.
I just think you'll see the Penguin kind of. I mean, it's just a guess, but like I think if the Court of Owls is the main antagonist in the sequel, I think you'll see Cobblepot and Batman not team up, but like Batman will use Cobblepot in a certain way to get.
I can see that.
I think Batman will be going to Cobblepot for a lot of information, like how they sat down and had that talk.
And
like,
that was such a good scene too.
that shit
Such a
happens in
fucking
the
awesome
comics
scene.
all the time when
Yeah.
he rolls up on villains and is like, I'm not going to beat your ass and I'm not going to throw you in jail tonight if you help me with the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Right.
And then tomorrow,
He's play.
we'll pick it back up.
I'm good cop right now, man. Yeah.
And they did it wonderfully.
And I hope that they like. If I had to, I would say, okay, let's put Penguin in the third movie as the main villain. But if not,
I don't think you need to.
I think Court of Owls. Yeah, because I mean, Penguin's getting his own fucking show. Like,
Get
I don't
his own
need,
show. Keep him.
which
keep
is
him as
actually
a secondary character.
This is actually one of the first times that they're giving somebody a show. I'm not against getting shows based off of the movies, but the moment they said, "Oh, we might be doing a Catwoman show," "Oh, we might be doing a fucking Gotham City PD show," I'm like, "What the fuck?" I hate having to watch 3 different things to get this one thing. Although we are coming from the Marvel universe, but I mean, we started with the fucking Marvel universe. We watched them all. We kept up with it, and I could stick with it and watch these Gotham shows. But I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why do I gotta watch more shit to understand more shit? Just give me this movies. But that's just me.
No, I agree.
But no, Colin Farrell was fucking amazing.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Paul Dano. Let's talk
played-
about Paul Dano as the Riddler.
And this, I mean, this in the most non like disrespectful way. Like he did what Paul Dano does best,
Yeah.
and like Paul Dano
Plays
is
a creep.
the best at like being creepy and
Yeah.
just having absolute freak out moments.
Yeah.
And he did when he was screaming lines into other lines. I was like, how do you come up with that as an actor? How do you read, like, he's yelling in a fit and is saying, like, oh, this was the plan all along. How do you go from, this was the, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, that kind of shit is like, oh,
He was fucking
God.
great. He was fucking scary.
Yeah,
Like, I was like, this guy's disturbing. I felt
The fact
chills.
he was like a YouTuber, too. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like a Twitch guy that had, like, 500 followers, not a lot of followers, but, like, dedicated, like...
Right, that was a twist at the end.
Scary.
Like I didn't even see that fucking coming. I was like, holy shit, he's got like
Hey,
a little
guys.
army.
Yeah.
Thanks for the suggestions on the masks and the detonators. Like,
We're still a go, just so you guys know.
dude,
I also like it that Paul Dano doesn't like he's in the whole movie, but like you don't see his face until like the very end, and you're like,
It was
wow.
an interesting. I feel like that was an interesting choice for Matt Reeves because I don't understand the real importance of not showing his face earlier versus showing his face when he's caught. It's
I know that Paul Dano had quite a bit of, since he knew that he wanted Paul Dano was heavily involved. Like the Saran wrap was Paul Dano's idea.
yes.
So like he had a lot of thought into building the character, and Paul Dano said he wanted it to be a lot like his own vigilante. So he felt like he needed a mask and he needed to hide his face when he was like
Okay.
Batman.
Okay.
So to say.
So when he's doing these things,
Correct.
he needs it
And
to
that's
kind
why
of
he
follow
has
through.
That voice that's kind of like weird and all that. Good. And then like so when he's putting on his shows or talking to Batman, he was in a bat suit.
Okay.
So to say.
Okay.
Versus when he's normal or talking to his followers or whatever, he would kind of peel the guy. But that's just how he like said he approached it. He was on like I think Jimmy Fallon the other night, and he was talking about.
Oh, he was on Jimmy Fallon.
I think Jimmy Fallon.
He was on a talk show.
He was on a talk show. And
okay, cool.
And it was just after Batman came out. So now he's talking about
fuck yeah,
Riddler.
stoked.
So
I gotta look it up.
He was talking about the phone call he got when he got the part, kind of thing. That's
Ooh,
how it started.
oh man.
And then he started talking about the costume and shit like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Do you want to see him in the sequel?
Yeah.
No.
I think if we do though, I want it to be like Crane in The Dark Knight.
I want him.
You know, like how he was just there in the opening scene,
right,
doing a drug bust to kind of like, oh, the villains are still kind of thing.
I thought that was so cheap.
No, I'm cool with that.
I
think you should still be in jail though. I don't think you should be out.
Right. That's why I'm cool with not seeing him in the sequel of the movie. I'm cool with if they're going to do this Arkham show, I want him in the Arkham show.
Right.
That's fair.
I don't need to see him in the fucking sequel of the movie. No. I want something.
Well, that does change a lot. The Arkham show, depending on what
if they do it, yeah,
or whatever, changes a lot of shit because it's like they can use this guy here or there. They can bring people from the TV show to the movie and vice versa. So that changes a lot of things if they do that.
Because I think in the sequel, it's not going to be right after this one. I think it's going to be a few years down the road.
I hope not, man. I want to see them dealing with the damage of the city.
You think that'd be important versus just saying, "Hey, we just did this"?
Let me hit you with this.
Okay.
Because I've been thinking about this a lot.
Okay.
If you have a Gotham that's underwater, it's Halloween. You're 2 months away from sub-zero temperatures and Christmas. That city freezes. You have now a city underwater frozen. Tell me that's not the perfect setup for like a freeze storyline to start that off. Without him being like, I'm going to freeze the city as his like plan of always.
Well, yeah.
He's starting with a city that's literally frozen.
Yeah.
I mean, it would
thing is underwater.
It would definitely feed into the realism of like, okay, we're not going to have a guy who has a fucking gun that freezes people. We have a guy who throws people into the harbor when it's freezing cold at night. Now they're icicle.
But it's like I think there's no way they leave the movie on that like, damn, Gotham is actually broken without wanting, because like it loses all the power of that if they just start off like it's been 2 years and Gotham is now better than ever or whatever, and it's nothing's changed from the city literally being underwater when we leave the movie.
Right.
Do you think that any of that could be wrapped up in an episode of this Arkham show?
It could be, but I do think we get in a very slippery slope if you start giving them outs to cover things in TV shows.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things where like you can always go back and do it, and Marvel actually doesn't. Marvel I respect because they don't abuse it. Marvel could be doing that shit left and right with their TV shows, and they don't. They try to take what has already happened and either expand on it or make it less or more important, in my opinion. And I think if you do that with Batman, if you start saying like, they could cover this or that, like, I don't know how much Matt Reeves is going to be into that idea too.
Well.
But I don't think it's a wrong thing.
I think, I mean, you might have some tie-ins from the TV show, but I think you're going to, because I'm pretty sure that they said that it's going to be a trilogy. And I think the trilogy is going to tell its own story, and you're going to have some ties in from the TV shows, but nothing crazy. So.
I like your take for a freeze.
I like it too. It'd be interesting.
I don't know. I don't know if I want it to be like, sitting here right now, I feel like it'd be too soon to make, because they haven't even, I don't know if it's 100% green lit for a sequel.
No, I think it is. I think they're going to make a trilogy.
I don't think it. I think it's one of those things where everyone knows the paperwork is done, but no one has ever.
And that's why I'm like, we're not going to get a sequel for another 3 years probably. And it's like to pick up immediately after this movie might be a little.
I don't know. Bond,
Not
like I
just-
said, James Bond does it so well. It's 15 minutes later. That
Right.
movie's 3 years later.
Is this the last one? No.
If you watch the first Bond, which is
The first
Casino
Daniel
Royale,
Craig.
Casino
Okay.
Royale.
the second one, which I think is
Quantum.
of Silence,
Yeah.
that movie takes place 15 minutes like after the first
Yeah.
one ends.
Okay.
And
They
it
sh-
came out a couple years after.
And Casino Royale's
I did my research.
ending is the start of Quantum.
I'll do my research.
Yeah.
I'm on board with it. I do like that. I do like that idea. We talked briefly about the HBO Max shows. Do you guys want a Catwoman show?
I do not. I would like her to show up in shows, but I think I loved Catwoman as a character.
Yeah, I mean,
I think she works best when she comes in, does her little thing, and then
right.
leaves. Like
I
kind of the comic.
I don't want to see her in the sequel. She left Gotham, like, you know, I like
She's going to Bloodhaven.
Which
And
I
she's
was
at
just gonna-
Bloodhaven. I was like, oh my god.
You don't put that in there unless you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna do something with that. But
So does Nightwing exist?
I don't think.
I don't
so.
think so.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so either. It's just their tie-in of
Right.
Okay.
I mean, like,
Just for
but
another place for villains to go, or for the TV show to kind of.
yeah,
Go.
I did like that they brought in Bloodhaven. That was different. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's you're bringing stuff back that people know, but there's so many other people you can bring in now. Like, why are you going to still use the same characters?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, she was great, so I could definitely see her in the sequel. But as a fan, I'd be like, move on, bring somebody else in.
I agree.
Maybe bring her back for the third one.
But she did great. I fucking love Zoe Kravitz.
She did awesome. Awesome.
Okay. You ready for this? This is the one of my problems that I have
Is
with
this
this.
the big one you're talking that I've been waiting for?
This is the one that I said I audibly gasped in the
Yeah,
theater,
what?
or I audibly scoffed in the
What?
theater when she kisses Batman.
Yeah. What about?
Fucking hated it.
Really?
Why? I was
didn't care.
I was in the theater. I was watching. I was like,
I mean, that kiss is a million times better than like the Rey and Kylo kiss.
I fucking hated that one
Yeah,
too.
that's one that I was like, that made me sick.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that somebody agrees with me with the fucking thing. I mean, I know that you don't like the sequels anyway.
I was just
but-
gonna say I don't like the
you don't
sequels
like
anyways.
sequels in general, but to have somebody else on my side with this kiss,
But I mean, I really
No.
like the Batman and
So-
Catwoman kiss.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
Man, I fucking hated
because
it.
like
I don't
they
mind
end
it,
up
man.
together. Like you know the story of Batman and
that's
Catwoman.
just
Okay.
their thing, man. It's the thing Batman wants, but knows
okay.
he can't have.
Here's the problem.
That's what it is. And it's
Here's the
sexual
problem.
tension. She's a deviant. Man.
The problem I have with it is that, and I read an interview with Zoe Kravitz. So the problem I have with this fucking kiss is that when we're introduced to Selena Kyle, she's talking. Is this a fucking girlfriend? What the fuck is she? She says, "Oh hi, babe," and she talks to this girl, and she's so worried. And the next fucking scene, she's kissing Batman.
Dude,
I'm
she goes both ways.
Well,
There's
that-
nothing
she
wrong
did
with
say
that.
That's
that
fine.
in
If
the
that
interview,
she did
which
say
is-
that she played it,
Which
she
is
won.
fine. She's played it as like a bi character.
Yes, and I love it. I fucking love it. If they would have made her gay or made her bi, I'm all for it. I love that idea. The fact that even if you're bi, she still had somebody. She had a significant other, and
Right.
the fact that she was like willing to kiss Batman so fucking soon. I was like, what the
See,
fuck? Do that at the end of the movie, not the fucking beginning of the movie.
Right.
This is an established thing. You don't just kiss fucking
I don't
dudes.
know,
He
like-
could have had herpes. But
That's the thing, though. Like, that's the thing is like, Catwoman's a character that clearly has used her sex and used all these tools to.
Has
get
she?
All of, yeah.
has this Catwoman?
Yes, if you.
She's not even a cat burglar.
If you.
Yeah, she
of course
is.
Where does she fucking kiss? There's
she
no.
br- she
Did
breaks
you
into the
see her
safe.
room of all of the tools. You can't just
There's-
crack a safe
there is-
and not know how to do that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say she. break-
No, that's
when-
I
when
don't know about
Bro,
that take.
they don't fucking. There's no fucking. All these
breaks
news,
into the safe when she
all
beats
these
Batman for
news,
the first
all
time.
these newspapers on the fucking wall of Riddler's room, and there's nothing of a cat burglars. There's nothing of fucking issues
She's a
going
really
on.
good one. She hasn't been caught.
Bull fucking shit. They should have showcased it more then.
Oh,
at
man.
least Anne
You
Hathaway.
are-
At least Anne Hathaway. We see her breaking into.
So all right,
But
I'll
you-
even give you that then. But so to get more back into like her using her things and all that. So she works at this club
Yeah.
since she was a kid.
Uh-huh.
In and out of this club where her girlfriend works, and
Is it girlfriend or girlfriend? No, wait.
what?
Is it girlfriend or is it her girlfriend?
I think it's like her actual girlfriend.
Okay.
Like lover.
Yes, and I'm cool with that.
And she's also fucking the mayor because that's her job and getting ahead. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, these are
I
the
see
type
it.
of people she's hanging out with. You don't think that she's using her, but you don't think this Catwoman's doing the same shit?
She's trying to, I guess. She's trying to fucking make Batman sway the way that she wants to go. That's, I mean,
That's the whole thing, and I think
she
she
thinks
knows
that
what
she realizes that she's being used. So she's like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking kiss him. I'm gonna try to make him think that maybe
Right.
I got a leg up on him.
Right, and she
That's
is
what I think. I
different
think
because she
all,
does try and
all
kill the cop at the end.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. The fucking kiss is the problem. The kiss is unnecessary. It benefited in no way, shape, or form.
I mean, I want to see you scale a building and break into a safe. I mean,
I'm not talking about the
you know
safe.
what?
I'm
I think
talking
the
about the
problem
fucking
is,
kiss
too,
right now.
I think the problem is too, from my perspective, is a lot of the Arkham video games center around Catwoman, Batman story,
Right.
And like their like relationship.
Yeah.
It's very much like this, but like that's what I'm saying. So for me, this feels so on brand because like this is what it's about: the cat and mouse. The like she knows he wants her, but he can't have her, so she like does that teasing thing, and she has him right where he wants him. And
I mean, Anne
does she
Hathaway's
actually like him,
Catwoman ends
though?
up with Bruce Wayne in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, she's a little minx too.
Yeah, she sets him up.
Yeah. It's too soon. Okay, they didn't establish in Anne Hathaway's Catwoman that she had a lover, and then immediately in the next scene kisses fucking Batman.
So
I have a problem.
I don't think.
I have a problem with
the first kiss is like a "I love you" kiss Batman.
No, but to kiss anybody. Okay, it's the moral it's the moral contemplation. Yeah, it's the moral contemplation.
You're not a 6-year-old growing up in the mobster den of a fucking Gotham, dude.
It's still a fucking it's still a fucking problem, and it was unnecessary. No, they're not.
If
Batman didn't even want this kiss.
I'm talking about if Zoe Kravitz, if Catwoman and Annika are in love and they're dating or whatever, Annika that whole time is fucking the mayor. We have pictures of that. That's why she gets killed. So obviously, her and Zoe have some kind of it's not that big of a deal if physical things are happening.
They have an open relationship.
Think about it.
Open relationship.
Then I need that established.
Oh my God!
Because like I said, like that's her whole downfall.
You're just fucking nitpicking.
And it's
something.
not-
No, that's not a nitpick
That's
at
a
all.
nitpick.
It'd be a different story if Catwoman was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know she was sleeping with the mayor. Like she was cheating on me this whole time." But Catwoman doesn't give a fuck about that. She's like, "Oh damn, your pics got leaked, honey. Like here, take a Xanax. I'm gonna go figure this out, dude." Like that's what happened.
Say then.
But it's fair.
I did like that.
fight you, so.
I did like that fucking Batman does not kiss her back. That she just like she goes 100%
That's
into
the
it,
thing,
and
like-
he's just like,
Yeah.
the fuck are you doing? Like he didn't give her that edge of like, okay, I
at
want it.
the
I
end-
want it to.
At the end, he goes to like he wants to.
Yeah.
She doesn't kiss him back.
And then
She kinda
even-
pulls
and then
back.
she- and then he
That's the
even-
shit I love about Batman and Catwoman.
And then he even throws her off. And then he even throws her off when he goes in to check the fucking contact lens, and she's like, "Ooh, he's gonna get it." Nope, he didn't want it.
No.
I didn't like that. It was one of my problems that
That's
I have with
fine.
this movie is
I
that they
think it's
kiss.
fair. Like I said, I just want to argue with you because
Okay.
we're gonna agree on too much shit. But I don't know.
It's always fun to shit on you.
And we'll go. That's gross. But I'll save the other one that I have. One of my other big problems with it later on.
I gotta pull up my list too. I don't even know all this shit.
How do we like the music? I know that we had spoken. We were sending each other the fucking
Yeah, dude, it was perfect.
Oh, it was so
To me,
good.
That's like.
Michael Giacchino does the score, and he
even
also
when,
did.
like, Nirvana came in.
Yeah.
Like I hope I'm making a difference, but I can't be sure. And then it's just Nirvana, him blaring away on a motorcycle. I was like, dude, this is Batman. He's totally in the cave blaring Nirvana, like thinking, damn, dude.
The cinematographer is Greg Fraser. I don't know if you looked into this. Greg Fraser.
He did The Mandalorian and
all of that shit.
Rogue One, and
One.
Dune.
Yeah.
And I know you get a hard on for Rogue One.
I get a hard on for Rogue One, but awesome. Obviously.
Have you seen Dune, Tyler?
I haven't.
Okay.
I
I haven't
haven't mixed
seen-
reviews.
yeah.
I wasn't a Dune guy back in the day. Like
Neither was
I
I.
seen the original Dune.
I've seen this new movie. That's it.
But I've heard very mixed reviews. Like I've heard people like greatest movie of all time, and I've heard people like this is fucking.
And it's a
garbage.
two-parter, right? They're
Yeah.
gonna
Yes.
release. Okay.
So
It's
I have
good.
not watched
It's
it
good.
yet, so
It's up for Best Picture. Check it out.
yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, bro, you got me on Rogue. I saw that earlier today. I was reading about him that he did The Mandalorian and Rogue One. I was like, oh, okay. Well, now he can add the Batman to his fucking list.
That's like that shit's kind of out of my realm of like what I usually fuck with movies too, like the sci-fi, like that kind of area, like barring Star Wars. Like I really fuck with Star Wars. Like I like it's tough for me. It's just always has been tough for me to kind of get into, and Dune has always been that way. For me.
I had heard that it was like
But it's supposed to be, yeah. Like I said,
yeah.
it's
So I was
either
like, you know
the
what?
best
I'm like, let's check it out. So I watched it with my wife, and we were like, It's good. She read the graphic novels.
I hear the books are and all that is like
She liked them a lot.
Yeah.
These were like prequel graphic novels, and she really liked them. But aside from that, you know what? Let's go into the villains. This movie technically has Falcone, it has Catwoman, Penguin, and Riddler. Did you guys feel like it was overwhelming at all?
No, because obviously the Riddler is the main bad guy, but like he's doing so much more side. There's so much more side story to it. Whereas like I feel like they're putting it all together. Kind of, it's hard to like. I'm trying to explain it, but like the Riddler is the ultimate bad guy, but you got all these little side stories going on that lead to the main story, and like. Again, you get to introduce into the Penguin, introduced into Falcone and Maroni, the whole mob story too, which I think they did a great job. And then Catwoman, are you really considering Catwoman a bad guy in this one, or is she kind of like an anti-hero?
I consider her a villain.
She's a villain character, at least.
Right.
So like someone to like consider. I get you.
I mean, like, and like my thing was like they didn't make Catwoman a bad guy. They, she isn't the the antagonist. Like,
no.
And I thought they did a really good job bringing her in. I mean, I thought her being Falcone's daughter, that was kind of stupid, but
I thought that was at least a fresh like if you're gonna take a fresh spin on something, that's not a terrible.
I was cool with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. It didn't bother me.
Could have been worse. Yeah, I was cool with it.
But I did really like how they brought in Falcone, and he's kind of ultimately the bad guy. And like you're like, okay, this is great. I like this. Something different. Well, obviously, he's battling the Riddler, and you don't really get him battling the mob too much in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he does. They're always, but like in like the Nolan series, the mob's kind of like the secondary character, bad guy. Correct. Whereas this one is like, okay, ultimately they are the bad guy. They are the ones that killed Thomas Wayne and created Batman. So,
see, it almost made me nervous because we come from these comic book movies where they're think Spider-Man 3 where they're like, oh, we got Green Goblin, we got Sandman, we got fucking Venom, and you're like, oh my god, this movie's fucking. But then we got something like Spider-Man No Way Home where we got all these villains and we're like, man, they did this right.
And
then this is one of those movies where they did 4 villains. You're like, oh shit.
But they didn't overload it.
No, it wasn't. It was very well fucking like, hey, this is going to be a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this.
Exactly.
Not overpowering. That's why the Penguin was great because they could have tossed a ton of Penguin in there. And they didn't. And it was just right enough to like him.
And that's why I think you'll see him. I think you'll see him in that capacity in the next movie or whatever. I know they're doing a Penguin series. But if they do a sequel, which they should, I think you'll see him in the sequel.
What did you guys think that there was no fucking I'm Batman?
I was okay with it.
Dude,
I had a slight problem with it.
This is my thing. I think the idea of him never really calling himself Batman, but like calling himself Vengeance as his name.
Yeah.
But then the press or whatever taking it like we do and be like, no, that guy's Batman, and him just having to adopt that identity. So cool.
See, I had a problem with it because he's the only one that says the title. He does say the Batman, but he doesn't say I'm Batman.
But don't they identify him as the Batman?
They do.
Yeah.
He's not Batman. He's the Batman.
But that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like when he's always saying like I'm Vengeance, and like when she calls him Vengeance and all that, like to me, like this guy literally made this character and wasn't like I'm gonna go out being Batman. Like I'm gonna make this scary bat costume and call myself Vengeance.
Yeah.
And then he goes out there and fucking Fox and CNN get some shots of this guy, and they're like, "Look at the Batman." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's how I feel like, and then he's kind of like, "Oh, I got to roll with that."
I do like it. I love that fact. That was just one thing that I was like, the movie ended, and I was like, "Oh, nobody said the Batman," or "I'm Batman." I was like, "Oh,
that's cool."
I was like, "Oh no."
I actually after like the not the first time, but after I watched it the second time, I was kind of like, you know what? And I understand why it's this way, but like I do miss like Wayne Manor. Like, it was cool. Okay. I love the oak room and, like, how it looked. But the fact he was in a building, like a tower, for me, I was like, damn. Like, I do kind of miss, like...
You want to see him in the mansion,
You know, you want the manor and the palisades. You know what I mean? Like, you want that shit kind of out there, and, like... But, again, it worked in the Batcave being underneath. Like, all of that works and is really cool.
Yeah.
But a part of the fan of me was like...
Yes, and that's what it was. It was a fan of me that I was like, "Oh no, I'm Batman."
That's fair.
But he does say, because he says it to Gordon when they finally catch the Riddler, and he's like, "I think I'm the last victim. This is the end." And Gordon's like, "The victim? The end of what?" And he goes, "The Batman." And I'm like, "Okay, you get it kind of there." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of cool." And
See, though, he doesn't say I'm Batman. However, he does say I'm Vengeance. And I thought it was so funny that everyone kept saying, "Oh, that's Vengeance," or "Hey, Vengeance." And I feel like a part of me was sitting there like, in Batman's head is like, "Fuck, guys, I said that one fucking time. Like everyone's got to keep rolling with that." Like,
and I took it the whole opposite way. I took it as like this guy literally calls himself Vengeance,
Yeah.
like, as his name, but like they're like, no, man, you dress up like a bat, bro.
right.
Like you're just gonna be Batman.
And I think though, because like one of the Riddler's like little mob guys, or is it at the end where
yeah, he says, "Who
are you? I'm Vengeance," and he's like, fuck, I should stop calling myself that.
Yeah, that was the
I got some notes on that.
Okay, it got to that one part. I was like, "Do you think he's sitting there like I fucking said it one goddamn time, and everyone's going with it like fuck."
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, I'm in fucking trouble.
Hit us with it, Tyler.
I think that was the true. I mean, it was obvious that was the moment, but that was, to me, that's the whole moment of like the Dark Knight of like what makes you different from us, the hockey pads line,
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was that like when the guy said I'm Vengeance, that's the whole moment of Batman being like, this isn't about vengeance at all, and like the fact that I'm now empowering the wrong people means I now have to elevate what my character is.
Yeah.
Ironically, the next scene is him fucking going and electrocuting himself to save everybody. You know what I mean?
Which
It's
was
like,
fucking lame.
It's like, really?
What?
You
Fuck
think
yeah.
so?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I disagree.
He could have thrown that fucking batarang and it would have been fine. They needed him to fall down there. Script and story wise, they needed him to fall down there so that way he could fucking light the flare and be that symbol of hope.
True.
He could have thrown that fucking batarang and it would have been fine.
Very practical, yes, but tell me,
It is a movie,
fucking
man.
heart didn't.
It is a movie.
Your heart didn't swell when he
Reached his hand.
out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No one wanted to take it except the little kid.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I
Oh
loved it.
my God,
Yeah,
dude.
but it's
The light in the dark.
it's these things that keep me
That's
grounded
called
and
Hollywood,
saying
my guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a fucking movie.
that's me saying okay. I get it, but I gotta look at these things and say, okay, this is something that's gonna knock it down and make it not 100% when I rate these fucking movies.
That.
And to kind of tie it in, but like, how did you feel about the like kind of it's like one of the last scenes where he's coming out of the wreckage and he's carrying somebody, and it's like the first time you see like the Batman in daylight.
Yeah,
And I was like,
Covered in mud.
yeah, he's covered in mud, and like, you know, like again, like everybody's not like, yeah, it's kind of like when he's pulling people out. Oh, they're a little scared of him at this point, but at the end, like, you know, everybody's like, yeah, she like hangs on to him, and like it's in like now he's in the daylight. I was like, oh, that's fucking
hard on, man, hard on.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, whew, I'm like, look at this fucking guy.
Yeah.
You're sexy in the fucking light too. You're not just sexy in the dark. Do we want? Oh, did you have more on that?
No, keep. I
Okay.
got more, but I'm just gonna at the end be like, all right.
Do we want superhero crossovers in this movie? In this universe?
Like DC
Do we want
shit?
Superman?
No,
Do we want
no.
They should leave this shit alone, right?
leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Because look at what they've done. They fucked up everything.
Everything. I
If
already spent 10 minutes explaining how much I don't like everything going on. This is my only hope for anything. Do not fuck this up for me.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
leave me. I'm a little scared they're doing TV shows.
Yeah.
Leave me the fuck alone. Let Batman be Batman, bro.
Here's an idea. Matt Reeves is the Kevin Feige of this universe, and what he says goes.
If they give it to him.
Are you okay with
Then
the
I am.
Superman and everybody coming in?
Matt Reeves really impressed me with Batman. Do I think we should give him the keys to the entire DC franchise?
Not yet.
I don't know, because Kevin Feige kind of proved that, because he came in wanting to do X-Men and they didn't let him.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different beast when he's like, I want to do this, and they're like, nah, you got to do that first, and then he kills everything they do, and he still hasn't gotten to make what he actually wants to make, which is an X-Men movie. That's like crazy. Like, this is... Maybe this guy just knows Batman. We don't know yet. We made this mistake with Zack Snyder. We saw him make 300 and Watchmen and went, oh, he can copy comic books. He'll be good at Batman. And then they were like, well, since you're going to do Batman, why don't you just do Man of Steel and all of Justice League? And
Did you not like Man of Steel?
I actually love Man of Steel.
I love Man of Steel as well.
I think that was a perfect launch point, and everything went awry with Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
But we don't have to go back down that road.
Right.
But, like, yeah.
I don't think you should give him the keys of the kingdom yet.
No.
And definitely, like, do not give him a crossover episode right away. Have him go do another movie outside fucking Batman.
And I don't... don't think that he wants to either. He seems
No.
like he's so smart and wants to tell his own original shit that he doesn't want to.
Yeah,
stick with
it's.
all
I'm
that.
thinking the realm of like Christopher Nolan. Like Christopher Nolan was
Right.
like, I'm gonna do my shit. Leave me alone.
Yep.
I don't want to tie any of that shit in here,
Right.
which is good because what he made in this universe and not universe,
Correct.
but what he made is
Ironically,
fucking
what
great.
they could tie in is the other great thing, which, like, I mean, they can't because they've kind of teased him, but, like, the Joaquin Joker could fit in this universe, no problem. If the
right.
timeline wasn't as kind of weird and how it is and all that, and even
Right.
you could excuse the timeline and make it work,
Mm-hmm.
but, like, feel-wise, look-wise and all that, those two are the most mirrored of, like, being able to fit together and work before you start trying to tie in anything else from DC.
the only reason why it can't work is because Joaquin does visit Bruce Wayne in
As a
that
boy,
timeline, so he
correct.
would be like
Right.
fucking. He'd be the same.
Correct.
He'd be.
That's the like
that'd be
I
the
said,
only.
you'd
That'd be the
have
only
to-
fuck up. Yeah.
You'd have to kind of just do that. Like you'd have to make the choice of either like
Which I don't want them to do anyways because
pretending and then so it's whatever.
I hated Joker. So
Oh really?
yeah,
I like Joker.
I didn't hate it. I didn't like it.
You hated it.
I have a problem with the runtime of that movie.
It's a long.
It's too long of a movie to be just shit on the guy the entire time. But that's
I have
That's-
different
that's-
problems with the movie, but yeah.
Oh,
it's
I would love
different.
to hear your
It's
problems with
different.
let's talk about the Batmobile. Do you guys like this Batmobile?
I did.
Yeah.
Right. When pictures were first released, I was like,
Yeah.
but when that fucker turns on, in
Does
that
it
alley-
fucking stall? Does it?
No, I
what the
think-
fuck? What's that
I
noise? You've
think
seen it
it's-
3 fucking times. So
dude, it's. I literally think like it's first his like regular car like engine type thing starting, and then he kicks on like the big boy engine, and that starts going because then it starts shooting blue and all that shit. starts
Yeah,
going. So I was
right.
like, all right, now it's like firing up because at first it's just like an old kind of startup,
Right, and I think what you're
and he's
talking
hitting that gas.
right, but like he
it
just
makes a noise,
it
right?
just kind of seems like he just built it. And this is like the test run that he brings it out to chase the penguin
Yeah.
down. So he's like, I feel like he's got to work out the
And
kinks.
that actually could be a part. That could actually be
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that's what I was thinking
it-
as well. Is that okay?
because when
this
you
is-
first see it,
this
it's
is the
in-
first time out.
When you first see it, it's on the back cave. It's up in the back cave,
and the
it's
whole motor's deconstructed.
yeah.
on
So
the,
like,
bench next
I think
to it.
he's just like test driving it at this time, and
That's
like,
not a bad idea, actually. That's
No,
kinda cool.
that's what I was assuming, but I was like,
because you got to remember, like he gets around not dressed as Batman.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
he's on that motorcycle.
he's on the motorcycle.
24/7.
Yeah, so I mean, like,
Badass about
so this is kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, I definitely liked how they brought the Batmobile in on this.
I don't believe that his fucking entire suit fits in a backpack, but
No, but I mean,
No,
he
but-
does look like he's bigger when he has that jacket on, though. So he might be wearing.
I was gonna say, I think
ooh,
he,
interesting,
not a full,
interesting.
like,
I'm on board with that.
switch.
I think he, I don't think
he
he
is
keeps a
pretty,
lot of
like-
shit in the backpack. I think he just kind of wears
It's just his cape.
Because
Yeah.
when he gets in that fight with Alfred, and Alfred's like, go shower, that kind of thing, like, he's fucking still, like,
yeah,
bulky, and he's just got his jacket on. So I have a feeling he wears most of that shit.
underneath.
It's like a
yeah.
Spider-Man concept.
That's
versus,
cool. I like
a-
that.
a
I didn't
strut.
I didn't think about that.
And honestly, like, you see it when he does the base jump that he turns his cape into
Yeah,
like
that was
the-
a weird scene.
It is kind of weird, but it's cool in a way.
It is 100%. I'm like,
I-
where the fuck did that come from?
But I think that's kind of what he is. Like his jacket is like part of his bat suit that he's able to transform it a little bit.
Let's talk about the Batsuit and gadgets after this. I was still talking. So I didn't know if you guys knew that the Batmobile, the chassis is like a 70s Plymouth Barracuda. The engine is a Ford V10 engine,
love
and
that.
it has a truck bed
Okay.
as the back
I love
to
that
fit
they
the
just,
the
like,
engine. And I was like,
fucking
they said
mashed
it's
cars
they said
together.
it's a Frankenstein's monster type
I
vehicle,
love
and I was
that.
like,
That's
ooh,
awesome.
I'm like,
That's
look
awesome.
at this shit. I'm like, I like
Dude, when
it.
he does the false start on the Penguin, dude, when he hits that gas and then slams the brake right away, it just kind of stops the car and fucking he runs away, dude. Love that.
You know what
dude.
at the end of the car scene, something that I didn't like. So he fucking hits Penguin. Penguin goes flipping, and then he does that badass walk, right?
Upside
Right.
down flames.
But how fucking lame is it when he's like,
Oh, leave.
No, I loved it.
"Oh hi guy, oh are you okay?" I'm like,
the lean.
They could have cut
I was
it.
not
They
as-
could have cut it right there and
I
went right to
agree.
the interrogation.
Actually, I'm
No,
with you on that.
I loved it. I thought it was kind of like, okay, kind of broke the ice because the Penguin's kind of like a sarcastic character in the movie. You're just like this prick, and I just love it. That like, and he doesn't crack a smile or anything, but it's just kind of like that funny moment that you needed for Batman, just being like, "Yeah, motherfucker, I caught ya."
it took away the badass of it. I was like,
No, I thought it was, I honestly thought it was great. I thought it was like that moment where Batman's being a sarcastic prick too, but he doesn't say it. It's just like, Yeah, I caught you.
It was
you see
one of
my
those-
car and your car. My car's a lot better.
It's the anticipation of knowing that it's going to happen, and then when it happens, you're like,
I agree.
"Ew."
It was kind of a weird. I agree. I remember sitting there going, "This is kind of weird." But whatever.
That's 4 seconds that could have been off Matt Reeves.
I mean, while we're on that, I think one of my favorite Penguin moments was when he was waddling away in the.
Oh, that was such
Oh,
a
yeah.
good
That's
one.
type
Yes.
of shit that I was like,
Yeah.
like we don't need the Penguin always running around.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like
Yeah.
to be the Penguin. Like when he's just like kind of talking shit, waddling away. Like I
Yeah.
was like, that's the Penguin.
You're just going to leave me here like this? Yeah.
And the fact that he's the one that cracks the case because he's like, "What, you guys did never learn fucking Spanish, you idiots?" Like that kind of shit. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like Batman's so smart and so dumb at the same time.
Right.
sometimes.
No, that was a good
That's
thing.
a note of mine.
He's still
actually, too.
juvenile. He's still young.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the idea too is this movie never hit on so well that most of Batman's downfalls or things he overlooks is his what did I say? It's the ignorance of like the real world. Like something real and tragic really happened to him and shaped his life, but the fact he did grow up a billionaire and did grow up with all these things makes him kind of ignorant to a lot of normal situations, just like when he's like the carpet tucker, like, and he had no idea what the fuck that was because
Right.
he'd never seen a tool like that.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
he's a billionaire, he's never gonna do that.
The
or the
fuck
fact
is
when
this
he's
shit?
like
I don't
lecturing
work.
Catwoman on like, well, maybe you should think about your choices, and she was like, bro, I grew up in this. I didn't have a fucking choice.
Yeah,
Like,
and
the
she-
choices I have to make are to survive. Not the
She
choice
even
of
calls.
good or
She's like,
evil.
"Oh, you must have grown up rich."
Correct, and like it's like, yeah, it's kind of funny to say it out loud, but it's the first time in a Batman movie we've really seen like Bruce overlook shit because it's just things that have never crossed his mind because he grew up with Alfred and Amanda. Even though he's sad little Bruce, he grew up with a fucking maid staff
Yeah.
and all of this shit, and I think that was great. There were so many little things that like he missed the mark on because he just wasn't culturally or social status on the same level, and that's what's cool is Batman now has to learn to think like these criminals.
He does.
He didn't grow up that way.
It's definitely giving him a leg down, I guess.
Exactly, that's what I
And
mean.
it's cool because
Really cool.
I don't need to see Batman perfect. We need to have Batman with flaws.
It's the best time.
It's,
Batman is.
it's
As long as
fucking
he's not killing people.
yes. That was something that I read beforehand.
So
that
happy that he didn't kill anyone.
I like when he walks in and he goes, "No guns," and he's like, "That's your thing."
Yeah, and just that, dude. When he shot the first grapple gun through the dude's leg, I was like, "Yep, we're not gonna get any killing because he's just gonna be maiming dudes."
Yeah.
I'm cool with this. Like,
I'm so cool with that. Let's go back to the suit.
I like the
Suit and gadgets. We'll do suits and
Okay,
gadgets.
I like the suit. I did not like the helmet. I did not like the face mask.
Oh, you don't like the cowl?
I think that's
I don't.
the
I don't.
best cowl yet.
No, I think because like it's so high up on his face.
The exposed jawline.
I just really like
Yeah,
it's
like
like
comes like right here.
it's like right under his eyes. But I'm like, you could have made it a little lower down on his cheekbones, just a tad. I did not. I like the suit. The suit was cool. I was cool with it. The coolest thing is that his batarang comes out of his chest.
Were you disappointed with it all? I feel like the internet did like a thing where we all got super hyped because you're like, oh, it's the gun that killed his parents.
Well, and they
Like,
don't-
we heard that shit, and then we're like, oh, it's a fucking knife. Oh,
No, but like it could still be the gun. They don't need to explain that.
And
Leave something up for the imagination.
and then he uses it to cut fucking plastic. I'm like, just rip that shit
Well,
down. What the
was
fuck
kinda
are you
silly.
doing?
That was kind of silly. Him cutting the thing was dope. Him like, well, I know you don't like that at all, but
Which one? Which part?
him cutting the electrical thing.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Actually taking it out and seeing him like take it out. I think him cutting it was cool him popping it back in, but it was like, dude, this whole movie we've seen you like just blowing through the doors and shit.
Yeah.
Like, and now like you're
now
Yeah.
you're at a crime
Okay.
scene.
I mean,
That's a-
I guess he's trying to be quiet because
Yeah.
they do reveal that one
cops
dude is
there,
downstairs. So like,
yeah.
No,
No,
but I feel like
I thought the batarang thing was the coolest thing.
it was cool. I liked it. I like that it was a
disappointed we didn't
practical
get an
thing.
actual batarang though. We never really got a like.
No, like one
a-
that he could just throw and
like a
leave.
throw, yeah, and
Which-
that is one of my favorite gadgets. So
Okay.
I was a little disappointed we
Okay.
didn't get an actual like throw
Yeah.
fucking through someone's hand or some shit,
Yeah.
classic. I do really like that in Batman.
I said that was a
But I'm
cool
okay,
part.
It's whatever.
Yeah, I enjoyed the batarang, if that's what we're
But
gonna
yeah,
call it.
I do.
Bat symbol.
I think the cowl it's my favorite.
I enjoyed it as well.
I think the leather versus rubber just
I
played
like that it looks
so well.
right.
I like that it looks beat up by the end of the movie too. Like there's cuts out of it or like gashes out of the rubber. I was like, ooh.
And I loved
Torn, yeah.
I love the exposed like face up here. I fucking
Yes,
love that.
I've always liked that. Like the new 52, the one that's in like the Court of Owls. That's always been one of my favorite cowls and suits that they've had throughout the series.
The only thing I didn't like about the mask, the nose is like a little square.
Yeah.
I think the nose is a little square, which kind of.
I think it's the stitching up here as well. If the stitching wasn't there and it was like a smooth one, I'd be like, all right, cool.
So I do think that's a little weird, but I do think it's also kind of like. It's so stylistically like, kind of like that like BDSM
steampunk
like,
type
kinky,
fucking
like that dark, like Matrix. Matrix. Everyone was in fucking like leather and buckles and shit like that. It just feels like he probably went to like some like sex store and bought a mask and like converted it. You know what I mean? But like this is the type of shit he's doing, like, and it works because it's kind of creepy and scary. Like,
see, I really like the cowl. I liked that the pants were like a Captain America type pants where they were like I had that pocket on the side. I love that he used things in his fucking belt.
Yeah. Can
we talk about that gadget?
The Venom or
is it Venom toxin?
Yeah. I'm on board for it, dude.
You can't get that mad off of a adrenaline shot because that's what I was like, okay, adrenaline. Either way, the idea of Batman being handicapped and realizing like I'm going to level this playing field real quick. Let me shoot myself up with this. All for it.
Yeah.
And just after seeing, because I've seen it 3 times, so after seeing it the 3rd time, he's just so specifically like angry that it's like it has to be Venom toxin. You know what I mean? Like it's green. He's like not just rage and like full of energy. Woke up like how people
like an adrenaline. Like it would
this dude is pissed.
Yes,
and we know what Bane is like when he's on.
And I would love to be a fucking fly on the wall when Matt Reeves was like, "Hey, that's Venom, just so you know." Ooh, man, his fucking Robert Pattinson's like.
Also,
were you new Bane?
A great way to tease Venom if you ever are gonna like now go into like a Bane or something like that, which they've already been like, oh, Batista this and all this shit.
Oh, right.
It's like. Now you've already kind of set up like, hey, remember in the first movie that little drop that I'm doing? This guy's drinking gallons of it.
Yeah,
Like that kind of shit helps set up so much
Because
things down
when he takes the shot, doesn't he like open like a little port on his suit?
So he can penetrate his skin, which was dope as fuck too.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
He can't just stab through his suit because we've already shown his suit is like bulletproof.
Yeah.
So the fact he has to have a little size of the little thing to flip open so he can hit his skin. Awesome, man. Like
I was pretty impressed by that.
Super cool.
It's something that I really liked about the suit as well is that most iterations that we've seen and you watch the makings or behind the scenes of, you see that they have like 5 different capes. One of them that looks good with the wind, one of them that looks good with this. It was a consistent cape pretty much the entire time. I don't remember it being like a fucking long ass dramatic looking cape. I was like, I like this cape. I like that it's just above his boot line.
And it always fucks him.
Yeah.
He gets dragged away by that thing.
Yeah.
You got and also remember like he doesn't use the it's not like he can't fly with the cape.
It's intimidation solely.
Yeah, he doesn't he can't use the cape.
Because he puts a suit on to glide. And I was like, oh, okay, I like that. I didn't like the gliding suit though. Like I love that it was cool that how he got away was a gliding suit, but I didn't like But you got where the fuck did this come from?
Exactly, but
again,
he's a billionaire. That's not, every time I get in that, I'm like, guys, Bruce Wayne will figure it out, man.
He'll figure it. Yeah, I mean, he's also not an idiot.
No, I just feel like there's been a lot that Matt Reeves was like, okay, we're gonna give this explanation, and then he just pulls this out of his ass, and I'm like, literally pulls this out of his ass.
Well, you got to remember,
what
you got to remember that's more realistic. Like for. If you are going to jump off a building like that, you're not going to use a cape.
No, it's cool.
You're going to have some type of flight suit. I agree with you.
I like it, but yeah, I just.
Where does it come from? But like that's how he's getting off.
Being Bat fans, we've never had that really. They've never done that with Batman doing that. Like we've seen Bruce Wayne pull shit off like that. So the idea when he just did that and converted it, I think is us being like hardcore fans, we were kind of like, oh, like okay, this is how he's flying. Like this is how he flies because we're so used to just writing him a pass of like, yeah, he can just fly with his cape. He'll glide around. Like,
yes.
Matt Reeves was like, no, that's not how that would work. We got to give him like a fucking stealth flying suit.
Which is cool. And like I said, I loved it.
I agree.
I love that when he does get to the top of that building, he's about to jump off. Oh, you see that hesitation?
Yeah.
Oh, because he's never done this before. When the fuck have you ever been at the top of this building to jump off?
The jump is fine, but the landing goes awful.
And that's another one of those scenes where the cinematography is just like that fucking downward view of like the top. I don't even know what it's considered. It's not a POV, but it is a POV in a way. of like the top view of him looking down, but it's stationary to his. It's almost like they had it on a shoulder cam on him.
Did you notice that the Gotham City is Chicago, right?
Some of it.
Some of it is.
Yeah.
Some of
It's
it's
like a mixed
it's like
match of
England
3 different
and
cities and New York. They have some New York
yes.
in there.
And I love the scenes where I do pinpoint. I'm like,
Yeah, like the
As-
Thompson
as-
Center's the stadium.
as Chicagoans, you're like, yeah. It's like every time I watch The Dark Knight and I see fucking Lower Wabat or Lower Wacker, I'm like,
when he says we're on 50-50 and Cicero.
yeah, like
I know where that's at.
I'm standing here right now. Yeah, I love right before he jumps. With that said, I have 2 more things on the Batman. One of them is let's show some fucking love for Robert Pattinson.
Like I said, mind blow. It was a fucking mind fuck for me. I really went in there just being like, this guy's not going to be as good. Like, I'm hoping that the other characters can carry him. And I was fucking blown away. Like, unbelievable. First of all, I know we talked about our favorite Bruce Wayne and everything, but how he portrayed like a dark Bruce Wayne, kind of reclusive. Well, he is reclusive. He's not kind of really reclusive. But like, one of my favorite scenes is when he goes to the funeral of the mayor and he's walking up the stairs and like, they stop, like Falcone's bodyguards stop him. And like Falcone turns around, and they're like, "Don't you know who this is? This is Bruce Wayne." And he's just
The
like
Prince of Gotham.
Yeah, and he just has that look like, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a fuck who you are. I was seeing if this was Selena kind of thing, like why she was walking with you, and he's just kind of got that like dark persona around him. I'm like, this is fucking good. Like he's really fucking taking this home. And I mean, obviously playing a young Batman, I don't think anyone could have done a better job.
Yeah,
He made me eat my words, which I don't like.
See, so I had picked Christian Bale as my favorite Batman, and it's not by a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Christian has 3 movies. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
like I think when it's said and done, if we get 3 movies of Robert Pattinson, it's gonna be hard for anyone else to have that crown. Because
No,
with one
So
movie,
even with
Yeah.
one more movie, he doesn't
Look
even
what
need
I'm
3.
saying.
I think with one more movie, he's
there's
taking
a
it.
lot
Yeah,
where like I'm like, God damn, this is like
Because look what happened.
crazy.
Christian Bale does Batman Begins, which is unbelievable. Like, hey, this is awesome. This is the new fresh take on Batman. And then he goes and does Dark Knight, and you're like, well, fucking Heath Ledger stole the show.
Mm-hmm.
So if Robert Pattinson could follow this up, and it's Robert Pattinson's fucking movies, all 3 of them, or just the next 2, you're like, fuck yeah, easily he takes the title,
yes,
easily.
Yeah, he's. I mean, like I said, the way he can subtly act and just capture and convey things as Bruce Wayne. And this is the first time I've truly felt that it's not fun to be Batman.
yeah.
It's not fun to be Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And like, even though we know Batman's this mad brooding character, he has cool gadgets. He's always winning. He's always saving the day. Like, he's still a superhero. This version of Batman literally was like, this guy, there is zero fun in what Robert Pattinson is doing right now, but it's his duty and he's going to fulfill it because that's what the Batman kind of
Yes.
does. And that they've never really hit that much on it. It's always, I'm just sad about my parents dying. And this went
Right.
way beyond that of like, this guy's life is just, he doesn't have a life.
Right.
His life is this purpose that he's kind of created in his head.
We touched on it earlier a little bit, but the one thing I will definitely say about the whole situation with his parents is they don't make his parents aren't as good as in the other movies. They're not. They're not bad people, but they do explain that his mom was in Arkham. And
They have a dark side to
They
it,
have a
They're
dark
starting to
side,
chip away at the
and
which is why the Court of Owls is going to be
yeah.
They've
Right.
got to, and it's
Well, they've
such a
been
good
building
story.
it up in video games. They've been building
Right.
everything. Every Batman thing in general is starting to bring more and more Court of Owls,
Which is good because
I agree.
the Court of Owls is a newer storyline
And it
that more
works
people don't
really
know.
well.
Yeah,
And it's a fresh take, and it's actually a legit like a good story.
Yes.
Like it's like a Harley Quinn. Like
It is
when
so
you
good.
get it right, you kind of know like, okay, this can work.
yeah. And then my last thing,
I have one more thing on.
Oh, go ahead.
Bruce Wayne. While we're there.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Bruce wearing sunglasses inside.
Eating.
Awesome, dude.
If I ate breakfast, I would definitely wear sunglasses going forward, just so I could be as cool as him.
Dude, like, as stupid as that is, the fact, like, this dude is nocturnal as fuck. Like, it's that
Yeah.
Lego Batman movie where the sun comes and he's like...
But
like,
and he does say that, doesn't he? That like fighting crime at night's
well,
really
yeah,
like
he's
fucked
like,
with.
he's like two years of nights has turned me into a nocturnal animal.
Yeah.
Like it's so as soon as he wakes up and like Alfred's like, here, look at this. He's like, I need to fucking put glasses on because I'm not used to this at all.
Right.
Like, it's little shit like that. It's
Yeah.
like, I love this, and it shows you he never goes out as Bruce.
Yeah.
See, we didn't talk about this Alfred, but I do like that Andy Serkis's Alfred was like, hey, just so you know, I solved this cipher.
Right.
He's
It
definitely
was pretty
the dude
cool.
in the chair.
He was pretty cool. I enjoyed that part. Which is why I was like, oh man, he was the weakest for me in this movie because I wanted more of him.
And I'm the same boat. I think it's not to anyone's fault that the Alfred is the way he is. I think if he's to get like a full like sequel and come in, I think he's gonna do service to the character just fine.
Right.
Yes, and I hope that he realizes it too when he watches this movie. That Andy's like, you know what, I gotta fucking make some time. Like,
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, I'm sure that's the thing too, is because like Andy Serkis is part of every big franchise ever. He's in Lord of the Rings, he's in
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Star
He's
Wars.
literally in everything. So like, I'm sure he views these movies differently than like we do and these opportunities. So like, I'm sure he probably watched Batman after it came out and was
Right.
like, okay, we could probably do something a little more.
Yeah.
This Batman shit. Like,
but can I wear a CGI suit, please?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, stay out of the suit, dude. We just want you as a human. Last thing I have on this movie is Barry Keoghan as the Joker. I liked him as Druig in Eternals.
see, I didn't see Eternals.
He was great.
I
in
like
Eternals.
his story of like being the kid to tweet at Stan Lee and say, "Hey, put me in a movie" when he was a no-name actor, and then like 5 years later, ending up in a Marvel movie. Like that's really cool. And the actor nerd in me is like, "Hey, man, that would be dope."
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I was a Joker fan before Joker's cool, so I think the Joker character, you can do him as many times as you want. And
Really?
come up with something new. I do. I think you can overplay him if you don't. Now, if you don't write it well,
Okay.
like Justice League, and you get Jared Leto, you do too many of those, you're gonna fuck the character up and kill it. But just talking face value on the Joker, there's so much there and so much that hasn't been explored.
Yeah.
That I think this version, like when he started talking, like was that the Joker voice I normally hear? Not at all. But the shit he was saying and kind of the vernacular he was using to like say it, it's like this is so Joker. It's not even funny. Like,
I love that they
that's
didn't
the
do-
shit that I love because I'm like, okay, this is a new spin on a classic character.
I love that it wasn't white-faced Joker, that it was like fucking
Yeah, you
scarred,
just saw him
nasty.
get scarred.
I almost thought it was Two-Face when I was like, oh shit, I'm like, it's
and
fucking
It was
Two-Face?
just like the shit you could tell, and it wasn't like he was speaking like that Shakespearean sort of Joker, Batsy, that kind of shit. Like it was just more like, I understand the world in a way different lens than you guys do. And
yeah.
And you can tell he's had talks with Batman before, and that's the thing. like
He's in there because Batman caught
correct.
him in his first year.
100%.
They're
Like,
both young and
correct.
fucking. This
Correct.
is a young Joker. This isn't a fucking established Joker.
No.
It might not even be an established criminal. He just might be somebody who is.
In Arkham, yeah.
Which is why they're smart of making him the unnamed Joker patient or the unnamed Arkham patient.
Arkham patient, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like in reality, if they wanted to, which everyone would be like, "Oh, bullshit," but tomorrow they could recast Joker. They could Barry Keoghan can never come back. They
Right.
could just act like that was just, and everyone will go nuts and be like, "We knew you were gonna do Joker," which they were. But at the end of the day, they didn't show his face. They didn't give him any distinct like big details other than you could see he had scars and they were laughing and shit like that. Where they actually wrote themselves a good out to leave.
That was him. That's your computer.
No.
No,
fault.
I hope that they bring him into the Arkham show. If they do an Arkham show, I don't want to see him in a sequel.
Yeah,
I just,
I was
I
gonna say,
get, I
don't
get, I
bring him
get
in.
hurt by Joker because I'm like, I'm tired of seeing Joker.
I am
Yeah.
too, and I'm a big Joker guy, but I'm at
Yeah.
the same thing too. There's so many.
And then people say the same thing about me about Batman. They're
There's
like, oh,
so
just
many
because you're
Batman
Batman. I'm like,
villains.
yeah,
They can do
they're-
more shit too. So it's like
I think that's the thing that it's more. It's not that I don't want to see Joker. I just want to see the other guys.
like-
there's a ton of Batman
there's
villains that are
tons.
great.
Move, move on from the Joker. Do something else.
and especially if you can do it like if you're an established big franchise like they are, like you're gonna get views no matter what. Like I understand fan films and shit like that have to cater and like put Joker in or something like that because you want it. You have to have something to grab people in, and that's
Right.
the Joker Batman storyline. But when you're a juggernaut like this, dude, you could fucking put Clayface in there if you wanted to
Right.
start going. You know what I mean? Like
I would love. I love Clayface, and I would love to see him. I would love to see how they do
that's
it.
what I'm saying.
Like
Like,
grounded
you could-
reality.
Like
yeah.
you take any of those big like no name type villains, like if people are gonna go see it, like even Hush. Like Hush is a big name, but
Yeah.
he's not really. But like if you put Hush on screen, people would be fucking mind blown.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're talking about Hush for maybe the sequel.
Yeah,
But so,
Matt Reeves says
Yeah.
he really likes the character.
Yeah.
I have one question for you guys.
Yeah, for sure, man.
This has been a very hot topic online. I have
Okay.
my own opinion on it. Mm-hmm. Does the Riddler know Bruce Wayne is Batman?
No.
No, I don't think so.
See, I disagree with you guys.
Ooh.
I disagree.
why would you fucking blow up? Why would you send a fucking explosive to Bruce Wayne's house knowing that it was him?
Because
Yeah, and then you're trying to say you're on the same time.
I'll say, all right, I can give my opinion on why.
For sure.
So, and this is after seeing it, like, every time I went in this movie, I was like, this is all I'm going to look for, because I want the answer to this question. And I think they purposely write it kind of this way to be ambiguous. The whole idea, if you look at the idea of, and then when Paul Dano said him trying to be a vigilante thing, the Riddler is a character who found all of his power in Solstice when he put on the mask. That idea, right? Mm-hmm. I think the Riddler does know who Batman is. The Riddler is obsessed because he thinks Batman is the same as him, and that Batman wants to ditch his identity just like Riddler wanted to get rid of Edward Nashton. The issue is Batman's a hero and not a psychopath. So he realizes, even though Batman doesn't like his identity, he still realizes that, Bruce Wayne has to exist. I'm not just this guy in the suit. Riddler can't cope with that. And he's a psychopath. And all the times he's talking about Batman and we almost had him and all that, I think he's talking in like conversations of we in third person. And he's truly like fighting of like, he had this vision and idea of kill Bruce Wayne and all that shit. But it's the idea of killing Bruce Wayne figuratively, not killing him actually, but just Batman becoming Batman fully almost, which the Riddler thought he was going to do. And then they were going to, because he thought they were like on the same like level. But he's like, you're nothing like me. Again, that's my take. After watching it and like listening to I'm always like, no, he doesn't know until I get to that interrogation scene, and then I'm like, this guy.
It is a hot topic, and he fucking Paul Dano fucking kills him in that scene
and
too.
I do think that they kind of like, if you were to ask Matt Reeves, does Riddler know or not? I think he'd give you the Christopher Nolan like, I don't know, does he? You know what I mean? Like I think that they kind of wrote it that way.
I hope not. I don't think it would benefit for him to know.
Why? He's the one character that always knows.
Because it's just in the first movie to have people already knowing who the fuck Batman is, it would just be it would be too much for me.
And honestly, I think that's
cool with it later on, but in the first movie, like what the fuck is stopping this guy from
telling everybody.
He's not the Joker where the Joker wants to have fun with it. He's the Riddler. The Riddler should
Rachel finds out about Bruce and Batman Begins, which I think is crazy for a girl.
Yeah, but she's not going to use that against him.
Yeah, because it's a childhood friend, and he tells her.
Yeah,
and so does fucking.
But if you know the Riddler's never going to use it against him either. He holds it over him like a treat, but he's never going to give that answer away because then he exposes the greatest riddle of all time, and that's what he always holds on to. That's like his whole crux of his character is like he knows who Batman is, but won't say it because then he's not the greatest Riddler.
I see that as a Joker stance. I could see it both ways. I'd accept it either way. I don't think he knows. Do you think Doris knows?
Doris was a weird character because I was just like, I searched my brain real quick. I was like, all right, let me think real quick. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's not like just like a classic always old lady that's
no, there's not.
So I was kind of like,
does Doris know?
I don't know.
Because when he calls, she's like, oh, that happened an hour ago.
Yeah, all casually. It's like, what?
I don't know.
Right, she should have been like, Master Wayne, I've been trying to fucking call you for the last hour and a half.
That's actually a great question.
Also, why do they let her in the house like there was an explosion and she's just answering the telephone?
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing? There should be fucking smoking firefighters everywhere. What are you doing answering the house fucking phone?
Yeah,
I think she knows. I think she knows.
I don't know.
She would have to.
That, or she's literally like the one they keep in the dark on purpose, because if they're like, if shit goes south, you can just say you had no idea what was going on.
Doris is like, oh, Master Wayne's been upstairs.
Yeah, like, I don't know, if you're a billionaire secretary, like, they kind of just say, hey, I'm going to pay you, sit in this room and answer phone calls. Like,
it was almost like almost like she was Alfred's Alfred. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, like, exactly. Like his mom or sister or some shit. Like, hey, can I bring her with me? Like,
or like I said, that hot take is that Alfred is actually Thomas Wayne and Doris is Martha Wayne.
No way. No, that would be
that
would be just
that's
the craziest.
Completely left field, but that's what I'm throwing out there.
They would destroy that movie.
They erase everything.
Yeah, they would destroy that.
Say Thomas and Martha Wayne that were killed in the alley were actually his aunt and uncle.
Oh God.
And their names are actually
that would be terrible.
And their actual names are Uncle Ben and
Aunt May.
Aunt May. No, so was that your last thing on the
That
Batman?
was like my big last like question
Okay.
I wanted to pose was the Riddler.
So I have 2 behind the scenes things. One of them is that scene where Batman is talking to Riddler on the phone when it's attached to dude's hand, the DA's hand, was 200 takes.
Yeah.
Did you read that
and
shit?
that was because of Paul Dano.
Paul Dano
He
was
kept saying,
choice.
like,
He's like, I could do
"Nah,
this. I want to do it this way. I want to do it with my mask off. I want to do it.
Motherfucker.
I'm like, this fucking guy. Like, Paul Dano is a very underrated actor, and I've watched him since The Girl Next Door when he was
Right.
Klitz.
Yeah, Klitz. Yeah, and you're just like, man, this fucking guy. And then he
Right.
was in
Eternal Sunshine. of the
Eternal
Spotless- or
Sunshine.
not
No,
Eternal,
Little Miss Sunshine. And he's amazing
he's
in the Little
actually
Miss
really funny
Sunshine.
in that
Oh man, he's so good in it. And then fucking There Will Be Blood. He's great.
Plays 2 characters in that movie.
Yes. He's a fantastic actor, but I thought that was very interesting. It was 200 takes on the fucking actors, on the actors call, and that Matt Reeves was like, yeah, man, let's go for it.
It is kind of funny though, because like when you see how much footage he has, they probably shot him maybe a week, not even, because he shoots those YouTube
Yeah.
videos, and then he only has like the one interrogation scene, and the jail scenes. They definitely shot those on the same day, like no doubt in my mind. So like it's him filming a couple of YouTube videos, and the 2 jail scenes essentially is like what you got him at, and the diner.
And the
diner,
murder.
yeah.
And the murder. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but like I'm saying, you got that in a week. So like,
Yeah.
I have a feeling too. Like, it makes sense when you hear him say like, I used 200 takes on that, because like the guy knew like this is the scene. Like I have to. This is where I can make the impact on the character
Yes.
and the scene. And
This is going to be a
it's
scene that
pretty
people
good scene.
remember me for.
Correct. Which is the scene where he first like starts screaming and going
Yes.
crazy.
And it reminded me of the scene where Joker's on TV and he's like, he's talking to Matt Engel's character. Look at me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that scene that I was like, ooh,
Yes.
this leaves an impact on me. It's creepy.
Cool.
So that was 200 takes. Over 200 takes,
That
I
makes
think
me
you
sick
said.
to my stomach. Dude.
My other behind the scene is that the scene in the hallway where Batman's coming through. I don't know if you read this, where it's completely dark.
Practical.
It's practical. It's fucking all practical.
I can't believe they admitted that, man.
So the scene where Batman comes out of the elevator,
Okay.
and it's completely dark, and he starts fucking up everybody.
Yeah.
and they're all
Start
shooting him
getting
with the guns, and the
Right,
only
right.
light that you see is from the gunshot muzzles.
Right.
It's all practical effect. There was no like.
They used real muzzle flare.
Oh wow.
Which I can't believe in this climate after like all that
After
shit
Alec
that
Baldwin?
happened. I can't believe he
Well, it was
fucking said that out loud. No, like
Oh, yeah.
I don't doubt that they did it, because I've seen some crazy shit happen on.
I was gonna
sets.
say they probably did it before the Alec Baldwin.
No,
thing.
100%.
You know,
But the fact that he
They said-
came out and said that is mind blowing.
Yeah.
They probably weren't real. They probably couldn't shoot anything. They were probably like
it's
the
gotta be
trigger
like
was made like a light effect
something,
or like a
because-
flashlight. Bam, bam,
because
bam.
a blanket that close will fuck you up.
Yeah,
like he's
absolutely.
getting shot point blank. Essentially,
Right.
like a blank will fuck you up, and I guarantee you, he's not in a metal suit. He's in a plastic,
Yeah.
styrofoam. That's what those suits are made out of, type shit. You know what I mean?
See
Like,
the
so,
no, so
but that's crazily impressive, and I don't even want to know how many times that took to figure that out.
They said it was broken up into 3 different takes. So there are cuts of I think Falcone or somebody's watching it happen. And so there are cutaways. So they measured it down and they they set up the choreography to be exact every time they filmed it. So they did the first section X amount of times until they said, okay, we got it. Now let's do the second section. Now let's do the third section. And then the only thing that they didn't, the only thing that they made in post was the ricochets off of the suit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking incredible.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It was because it was such a cool scene. Even
is
when
a
you
cool
saw, even when you saw it in the trailer, you're like, damn, look at him.
scene.
Because there is that one type of scene that's in The Dark Knight Rises when he's in the tunnels and he's walking towards somebody. They do the same type of thing, but it's
Yeah, but he's doing the we do it in Nightmare. It's like the crouch run to the side real quick.
Yes.
like he does
Right.
that like little Batman
Yeah.
move thing. Yeah,
but it was
it'll hit
cool.
the cape. That's what you always say. Is it hit the cape? It's a bulletproof cape.
Okay, so now that we've talked about the Batman, let's rank the Batman. We're gonna letter grade this movie.
Ooh. I'm gonna go A. Solid A.
Solid A.
Yeah, it's easy in the A category.
I'm going A minus.
Okay.
Going A minus.
Because of the kiss.
Yeah.
The kiss. Oh shit! I didn't even touch on the other part that bothered me.
yeah.
Oh God.
Oh
Other kiss,
fuck!
the second kiss.
Fuck you. No. So we have this scene that we're talking about renewal, and we're talking about how fucking Thomas Wayne is the problem. So Bruce Wayne goes to Falcone, and Falcone's like, yeah, your dad's not as great as he is. It's a really good scene.
It was cool, too, the idea of, like, him telling, Maroney was pissed at your parents. Maroney fucking got your parents killed. It wasn't just a random.
Yeah.
Because we're always like, oh, Joe, chill.
This scene was great.
Cool.
The next scene, the very next scene, is where it all falls apart. That Bruce goes directly to fucking Alfred, and Alfred's like, no, that's not how it happened. Your dad's a cool guy. And Batman's like, oh, okay, I guess he is. You're right. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? You were just all against it. If they would have showed that scene at the end of the movie, and Batman or Bruce Wayne did everything he did to stop and keep it all together, and then at the end of the movie he reveals that no, your dad actually was a good guy, he'd have been like, okay, well, I guess I stood up for everything I do. It was a misplaced scene. It was, to be directly after that scene fucked me up. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
The whole idea is, I do think it's a little rushed right into that. But, like, that whole scene is just to get you the idea to show you how much of a snake Falcone is.
Right.
Because he's the one that actually got his parents killed. And that was the whole point of it, was just like, yo, I know he just told you this, but, like, he's actually the one that pulled the trigger. He's the fucking scumbag. So, and then that propels him when Catwoman calls him and is like, yo, are we doing this? Yes or no? And he's like, yeah, your dad's a scumbag.
I'm cool with it all. It's the fact that it's directly after that scene.
I'll give you that. That's not a terrible note.
I don't think there is 7 words sent between those two scenes, and you're automatically like,
yeah,
oh, he's good.
No,
okay. So if it should have been the last scene of the movie, because then you would have ended it with seeing the bat signal, and that would have been your send off to this movie. Is I gotta go. I gotta do my thing. Almost like a Spider-Man 2 where he hears the sirens and he's like, I gotta go do my shit, man.
You didn't like the bikes going different ways, dude?
It was good.
I love that, man.
It was good.
Even Fast and Furious and the way but like, dude, it is. When they both just stop and it's like they have that moment of like,
are you looking?
Just go,
are you looking? Because I'm looking? Because I'm looking.
Dude. And he's like checking her out in the rearview mirror. You're just like, okay.
Yeah, no, but that was another problem I had.
Batman shit, dude.
I do have a problem as well with the fact that Batman doesn't catch the bad guy.
He loses. He straight up loses. I think that's why my hot take.
And I'm fine with him losing. He doesn't catch the bad guy though.
The Batman, he turned himself in. Like he doesn't do that, and he doesn't do any, like, Falcone gets like killed arguably.
Right.
Riddler turns himself in.
Yeah.
And like. Well, we knew Catwoman he was never going to put her
away.
Which
is fine.
It's just like, he doesn't really do anything. He saves people, but a lot of people die. I think why a lot of Marvel fans are trying to, like, eat at this movie is they're not used to catching losses in their movies.
Yeah.
They really aren't. They're used to Disney is perfect at giving you a feel-good ending without it being, like, sunshines and rainbows.
Yeah, I was going to say a cut and dry,
And this movie, Batman straight up loses. Which is that idea of, like, I lost, but I'm going to keep going because this is what the city needs. And, like, that's the hero that we all know as Batman. But Marvel, they're not used to that, man. They're used to the world now being a good place until the next thing comes up. And that's just not what you got here.
See, I
loved it.
I feel like, no, I like that he didn't. It was one of those fan things again that I were like, oh, man. But I feel like Batman was walking up to the window of that diner and he was like, fuck. Yeah. Why did I get it, man? Like, damn it. I was fucking right there. And the fact he missed,
dude, when the Joker's like, or when the Riddler's like, man, you just are not as smart as I thought you were. You missed everything. And it's like, dude, you missed all the bombs, bro. You missed the most important part.
I will say, definitely like that scene at the end when they catch the Riddler, it's kind of like half-assed because, like, they don't, like, nobody catches them. They're like, oh, we got a witness saying we saw a guy run down the fire escape. No, and then they, like, send him this. It's like, that's how you catch him?
Because he's a fucking psycho.
Which is fine, because he had that plan of like, okay.
I wanted to watch it together safely from afar. Yeah. Like, that was his whole thing, was like, the city's going to drown and we'll be okay.
If Batman didn't find the fucking password, then he would have never sent the video out to the people saying that, hey, we got to... Or it would have never blown up the fucking...
Right.
I can't tell. Is Batman the one? Because Batman's played into everything the Riddler has going on. So did Batman putting in the code in that computer?
No, because he's already
set the thing that triggers the cars to explode?
He already parked the vans.
Correct.
Okay, so if Batman didn't find that video, they would have just...
It would have just blown up.
It would have blown up anyway.
But the Joker... because he likes him answering the riddles. The Joker thought he was going to be able to figure it out. He likes to give him
Riddler.
a chance.
The Riddler.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
The Riddler
Okay.
likes to give him a chance to win
Okay.
Yeah.
or figure the riddle. But
Because he says he's like, oh, you're not as smart as.
He cocked teased.
Because that's the whole thing. He kind of thought the jig was all up, and he goes all crazy. And then when Batman's like, "What are you talking about?" and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah, you didn't figure
you didn't figure it out.
You're not as
Like,
smart as I
yeah,"
thought you
and
were.
He's like,
So.
"You missed the biggest part." And then that's when he's like, we're gonna watch the finale.
Is this? Give me your top 3 Batman movies. Live action. Live action.
Number 1 is still Dark Knight for me.
Okay.
This one, number 2,
Okay.
which is a very close one. Like I had a moment, I had to sit down and I'm like, how much do I like the Joker? I really did. But it's Joker. Dark Knight just means too much to me personally. Third one, I'm gonna go with Batman Forever.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I like Batman Forever. That's a good one. But I'm gonna say the Batman replaced Batman Forever on my list. I'll go with the Dark Knight and then the original Batman 89.
So what was your order?
The Bat in no specific order. The Batman.
Oh, I need specific order.
Specific order?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I lost sleep over finding out which one was my number 1.
Fair,
So I need
fair.
I need to know.
I've thought about this a
You
lot.
need professional help. I would say Batman 89, the Batman, and then Dark Knight.
Okay.
What's yours?
Mine is Batman Begins number 1, The Batman is number 2, and Batman 89 is my number 3.
Okay.
That's a fair list. I think that's all solid.
Yeah. But that was I had watched this movie Thursday night, and then Friday I was like, is this my number 1?
Yeah,
like it's fucking close. Like you said, like it's fucking
it is
close.
Very, very close. I think it's just I was younger. The whole midnight showing was a big deal for the Dark Knight. Like there was so much shit that made the Dark Knight like a big event almost that like it's just I was too young where it's just the nostalgia is always gonna win.
Right.
For sure. I like our.
This is a good fucking. This is the best I think like complete Batman movie we've ever gotten in all like aspects. Like as far as like covering characters and what Batman is and giving you a taste of it all. I think this did this the best.
I think that with a good sequel, this could be. It could make this movie better to replace it to be number 1.
I agree with that.
So
Right. Yeah.
I agree with
it's
that.
quite possible that
It will
by
be
the
definitely
next-
interesting to see where they go from this.
I
So.
agree.
I do leave this section available for recommendations. I don't know if you guys have recommendations. I have a recommendation
Yeah.
of anything. Fucking
Like I said, I've been pretty busy with the kid and everything
Yeah.
like that, but I did rewatch Star Wars Rebels, and I know all the Star Wars fans out there need to check out Rebels. If you haven't, Maddie, you need to watch Rebels. I would say you need to watch Rebels more than you need to watch Clone Wars.
I will watch Rebels the highlights, like you said.
No, I didn't say highlights. I said watch the whole series. It's only
that's-
4 seasons.
That's not going to happen. Is there more than 10 episodes per season?
Yes.
Then I'm not going to watch it.
But I watched Rebels again. Check it out. That's all I got.
I am going to recommend a company called Groove Life. This is my ring. It's a rubber ring. It doesn't sweat. It doesn't stink. It's an amazing ring. I love this ring. I use it. I wear it every day. They have ones that can be made for your favorite superheroes. They have every member of the Justice League. They even have the new ones for the Batman, which I will probably be purchasing pretty soon because I enjoy it enough to wear it on my ring every day. It's an all black one. It's got a red Batman logo. Looks fucking awesome. Red's my favorite color. But they're super comfortable. They have a lifetime warranty on them. If you can fucking break it yourself, you snap it in half, they're going to send you a new one. Groove Life. Check it out. GrooveLife.com. I wish they were a sponsor because that would make sense.
Yeah. I was going to say, are they sponsoring us?
I've listened to podcasts where they do Groove Life.
Oh, do they? I got to get them out of here, man.
They do podcast sponsorships.
I just did a free fucking sponsor.
did.
I just did a fucking free ad
ads,
for them.
bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick on more of the comic books, and this is kind of a pick that I know Maddie knows and everything. It's very common now, but the Joker graphic novel. I think arguably, especially if you go and watch The Batman and you enjoy The Batman and the feel of it, The Joker graphic novel by Brian Azzarello
Yeah.
is one of the best, like, not Batman stories being a Batman story
Yeah.
that you can read. It's just a deep dive into the psyche of what the Joker is, and it's not a Joker that you would expect.
The fucking art's amazing.
The art's cool.
Fucking Lieber Miho does all the art.
There's so many villains and shout-outs and little things. It's not really a Batman book. If
No,
you're
it's
looking
not.
for a Batman book, it's not, but it's one of the best graphic novels I can recommend. And it's also, there's a counterpart to it, Luthor. The same guys did Luthor, which it's about Lex Luthor. It's the same. Also, same thing. I am not a Superman guy at all. I think I do not like him as a hero, really. He's just not my guy. Luthor was one of those books where I read and I was like, oh my God, this is actually makes me like fuck with the Superman universe.
I'm down with it.
It's cool. Same artwork, same kind of story, same thing. It's just Luthor instead of Joker. So both of those are high recommendations on the comic book world.
Check them out for sure. That being said, next episode.
Spider-Man. Are we doing Spider-Man, or did you decide? Or are you?
We're going to do Spider-Man. We're going to do Spider-Man because next month it comes out on Blu-ray. No Way Home. So we're going to check that out. Well, I've already seen it, but you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Jack is not a big Spider-Man fan, which is fine.
That's fair. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea.
I think that you're going to enjoy this last movie. This movie's great, the Batman was great, but I think Spider-Man No Way Home is the best movie theater experience I've ever had in my entire life.
Ooh, wow.
It was just so much.
Interesting.
It was so much fun.
I don't know.
It is cool.
I had a blast. I don't know if you saw it opening night or okay.
I did.
Did you have a good time for it?
I did. My most recent favorite theater experience was Endgame.
Okay.
Or not Endgame.
Infinity War.
Okay. Infinity War was like that in the movies.
That crowd.
Like,
oh yeah.
Everybody that was the most alive I've been in a movie for a long time. But No Way Home was. No
No Way Home
was awesome. It was
fantastic. It was a great theater experience. Yeah. So we're gonna be doing probably mid-April, I think. We said we're probably a month from now. Then, I'm looking forward to this. We're gonna do the full franchise. We're gonna talk about the full franchise.
Right.
I do think you need to watch Into the Spider-Verse as well, though.
I would.
We'll see.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Into the Spider-Verse is my number one Spider-Man movie I've ever seen.
Correct. I agree. I think Into the Spider-Verse is probably better than all the live-action movies.
Yeah. That's why. You got two people sitting in front of you telling you this movie.
It's awesome.
I would rather.
We'll see. We'll check it out.
I would rather you watch Into the Spider-Verse and fuck off with No Way Home.
I'm just not a Spider-Man fan at all.
If anything, Into the Spider-Verse will make you a fan.
Do you like comic books?
Yeah, I did.
then Into the Spider-Verse should be all right.
It's just.
Do you like walking? Do you like air?
Nah.
Yeah. You'll like this.
Do you like living? Yeah.
It's like watching a live comic book. It's cool.
It's fucking awesome. Yeah.
It's cool.
But we'll save that. Aside from that, Tyler, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me. No, it was a lot of fun.
It was. I can't believe.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Good.
I can't believe
whenever, dude. That
we're
was
at
so fun.
3.5 hours.
It
didn't feel like 3. We could have watched the Batman in this time.
We're gonna have to cut this up, and it's gonna have to be
Fuck
2 episodes.
that. Fuck that.
No, you just put timestamps in it.
Yes, that's what I need to learn how to do that. But yeah. What does the future hold for Tyler Burke? What's going on? What's going forward? What's coming out?
What's out? I mean, we just did release. I know you guys gave it a shout out on the last episode, which super appreciative. But we did release our 3rd episode of our own Batman fan film, Nightmare Man or Bat. It's Nightmare with a K. It's on YouTube, social media. I think Twitter and stuff. It's Bat's Nightmare, I believe, is the tag. So that was kind of fan ways that's going. I'm in a movie called Wolfhound. That's a World War II movie. That should be coming to theaters at the end of the year.
Sweet.
So that's pretty cool. Small role, but I play Sergeant Tommy Pace. I'm a rear gunner in a Big B, 17.
Fuck yeah.
B-17. No, that makes me look bad. I'm a gunner in an old plane in World War II.
There you go. That's all I fucking needed, man.
It's cool.
I got it.
Yeah, so I think that's the big one that I'm waiting to come out at the moment.
Fuck yeah. What does the future hold for Nightmare going forward?
Nightmare's interesting. I think me and Jordan both have discussed it quite a bit. We do have at least 2 or 3 more films we could easily do. As
Okay.
far as the scripts aren't necessarily written, but we've always known the complete story of Nightmare we want to tell.
Okay.
And that hasn't changed much from what we've added and things like that. So we have a full overarching kind of story that could be another couple, probably 2, 3, 4 episodes.
Oh, nice.
It really, at this point, though, comes to fall on like the fans and
Okay.
like you guys. It's all.
Need the love.
The more you guys like it, the more you share it, the more views you get. We do have like a website set up where you can even like donate if you wanted to see. Because the hard reality is it's a fan film. We can't make money off Batman.
Yeah.
We just aren't allowed to. And we've kind of gotten to the point too where we want to make movies we can make money off of.
Yeah.
So putting resources.
You don't want to keep making things for free?
Right? Putting resources towards fans.
We do this for free.
We love is awesome, but at the same time, you can only do it so much for so long. So and without the outpouring, I mean, even the third one we were kind of iffy about, but so many people were like, "When are we doing Man Bat? When are you doing Man Bat?"
We want more. We want more.
That eventually it's like, okay, let's do it. So it's really the best thing anyone could do is if you just like it, share it with people, just kind of to raise awareness for it.
Yeah.
Because I do think I'm biased, but I do think it's one of the better fan films on YouTube and series-wise, and that it just doesn't have the love that it should have yet.
Okay.
So I'd like to see it get there.
I'm sure with this the new Batman coming out and everything that
Exactly.
it's gotten a lot of YouTube fan films,
and
some shit like that.
Exactly. So that's the
Oh,
idea.
yeah, right off that, and-
So, but that's kind of what holds the future. Who knows? I mean, we shot the second one. I didn't think we were going to do a second one, and it was over probably about 2 weeks where Jordan decided, like, okay, we're doing it. And then within 2 weeks, we had the script ready, and we were planning to shoot. So
Nice.
you never know when they're going to pop up. We need the support.
Hopefully you guys get it. I'm here for you guys.
Thank you.
I love it. So people could find you particularly on social medias as well.
Yeah, Twitter. I'm or on Instagram. I'm Tyler Burke Actor. That's kind of my big platform if you want to follow what's going on in my acting career. That's where I post everything. Facebook, I'm not very active on other than like messaging friends and stuff like that. Twitter, and actually I stream on Twitch when I'm not filming and stuff. I play a lot of Batman shit, ironically. Big
No
surprise
way.
there. But on Twitter and Twitch, I'm Gambit the Goon.
Gambit the Goon.
Yeah.
Spelled regular.
Yeah, Gambit the Goon.
Gotcha.
G-O-N. Yep. So I'm on that on Twitter and Twitch. You can come hang out and we can talk Batman and shit.
Dope. Well, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you. No, seriously, thank you for having me. This was awesome.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
Awesome episode.
So at all during listening to any of this, if anybody was like, "What the fuck are they talking about?" Like, this is being filmed right now. We're filming this right now. We're gonna have it up on YouTube. I'm gonna put everything that we're talking about. I'm gonna have cutaways with like pictures that we're whatever the hell we're talking about, gadgets that we're talking about, Batman. So check us out on YouTube. Just search No Nerds Were Harmed. Hit the subscribe button. We're on Facebook. I'm on Facebook because
You're on
Jack doesn't like to use it. I think it's a generational thing that he doesn't know how to work technology in his old age.
Yeah.
But yeah, search for us on No Nerds Were Harmed. I like to post the trailers of things that we're talking about. I'll post updates of what's going on and what movies are coming out and some of the nerd news that we talk about. And then the last thing I got is that if you're listening to us right now, you know that we're a podcast and that we can be found on Apple Podcasts, we can be found on Spotify, we can be found on SoundCloud. If you like us, give us a thumbs up, write us a review. If you don't like us, then fuck you. My name is Maddie.
This is Jack.
I'm Tyler.
Thanks for listening.